Exciting, rule-breaking, shaping who we are.
When the song was released, it was banned.
Inspiring arts in When the War is Over. Take 5 with Zan Rowe and the new season of The Piano.
It's fabulous.
Creativity and so much more on ABC iView.
ABC Sport.
You're listening to AFL Saturday on your radio, ABC Sport Digital and ABC Listen. This is AFL Saturday.
AFL Saturday on ABC Sport with Craig McRae, the Premiership coach of the Collingwood Football Club, our feature guest. Outside of that, plenty to discuss. The Pies win, unearthing a new big man in Oscar Steen. What did the injuries mean for the Pies with both Scott Pendlebury and Darcy Moore hurt in last night's win over the Giants? And a bit of late-game controversy between the Cats and the Crows. The AFL admit they got it wrong. What is the way around it? Plus, a big night tonight for the Essendon Football Club as Brad Scott fails to swing the selection axe. All of that to come right here on AFL Saturday through ABC Sport.
He lets rip from 49 out. Hasn't got the distance. It's been marked on the line.
He's done it again.
Steen, if you don't mind. He dabs it through for his first goal. Welcome to the Magpie Army, Oscar.
This is AFL Saturday on ABC Sport. Corbin Middlemans with you in commentary. And the game day's fast upon us, so we're about 30 minutes away from the start of the game between the Brisbane Lions and St Kilda under the roof here at Docklands. Shortened version of AFL Saturday, but plenty of meat in it to be able to work our way through the major topics in the game. Luke Ball, the Collingwood Premiership players, alongside me. Hello, Bally.
Hi, Corby. Plenty of meat. You're right. Always stuff to talk about, isn't there, out of the Thursday and Friday night games, and we've got a couple of juicy encounters today here under the roof. Thank God for the roof. Goodness, a little early taste of winter here in Melbourne, and let's see how the Lions, who probably aren't used to this sort of weather at this time of year, or if at all, cope with it today. Let alone the pressure that the Saints, you would think, have been eyeing this contest for a few weeks now. So looking forward to this one. But as you said, plenty to talk about, albeit in a shortened version of AFL Saturday.
Double dipper in Docklands
Double
Stadium.
dipper. I was trying to remember what the word was. The double, not a double header, a double dipper.
No, that's our man Fitzy used that expression. So two games on the same day here at Docklands with North and the Dons later tonight. In between, of course, it'll be Fremantle and Richmond with 35 mil of rain expected over in Perth. Adam Ramanauskas is here on AFL Saturday on ABC Sport. Hello, Ram.
Yes, good afternoon to everybody. The perfect time to close the roof today in Melbourne. No doubt about that. It's been a horrible couple of days here, but actually looking forward to this. I think it's a good test for the Saints, just to see where they're at. Obviously, they've had a couple of runs in season 2026 now, so coming up against the reigning premier will be the best test possible for them.
So Pies win last night did come at some cost. So 33-point victory. They unearthed a new big man in Oscar Steen. What a feel-good story. It showcased his tap work, kicked a goal, as you heard in the highlight there, caught by Kelly Underwood. So he comes in, he starts at the centre bounce, and their reigning best and fairest winner is pushed out of the middle. Basically, Darcy Cameron has to go forward. They lose Pendlebury on the run, so he had the Achilles soreness, which obviously for all of us in the press, we look on the knock-on effect and what that means for his potential record-breaking game, which is 5 away. And Darcy Moore had this weird sort of hamstring issue, which he sort of struggled with throughout the night. What did you make of Oscar Steen in particular, who was sort of the new Collingwood hero we learned about last night?
Love that they threw him into the centre bounce to start. Having Darcy Cameron in there is the easy option. You've got a young kid who's been on a list for, I think, 3 or 4 years now at the Pies. Give him the first opportunity. Clearly, he's got the athleticism to jump over the top with the centre bounce rules. So throw him in there. He acquitted himself incredibly well, even around the ground. Kicks a goal. So I really enjoyed that. The Darcy Moore one was fascinating. It looked like a neural, nerve sort of. To put him back out, if he even had a slight strain in that hamstring, they're not going to put him back out on the ground. But they've already ruled him out and Pendlebury out of the big Easter Thursday game up in Brisbane. So obviously two of their most experienced leaders won't be there. But just watching how the Darcy Moore thing played out last night, you just wonder. Yeah, I really wonder. Sort of where was he at before the game? To go, okay, he's ready to play. Happened so early in the game. One of his first kicks of the contest where it happened. So, you're hopeful for Collingwood fans that there's no more damage there, that it might be only a week or a 2-weeker, boy.
Yeah, he's a concern, isn't he? And just, obviously had a really interrupted off and pre-season as well. So when you put all that together, the calf injury, and he's rounded 30, we know that. So he's the watch. I think, Pendles, I think you back him to be able to manage whatever niggle it was. And I think he mentioned after the game, and you take him at his word that he tweaked an ankle last week, and so he was managing that through the week, and the way the game was heading, they were able to, with the 5 on the bench, they were able to put him on ice, and he probably doesn't travel off a short break, you're right, next week to Brisbane, but he was always going to be managed that way throughout the year. But Moore's the one, and when you consider this team at the moment really is building itself, whilst they sort out what's happening ahead of the ball, behind a rock-solid defence, and Darcy Moore, as we know, is very much a strong foundation, or a strong a cog in that defence. That's the concern for me. And then the roll-on effect, you saw the confidence it gives Jeremy Howe to play the way he does, Billy Frampton. I mean, in the end, they just strangled the Giants last night, who we know like to play that run-and-gun sort of game, and they did that at times. But
they did it. Just Collingwood defended
so well.
so well.
Yeah. They forced them wide and really didn't give up too many easy shots at goal. So as Fly said after the game, yes, the focus is how we're a bit stodgy forward of the ball, and our connection's not quite there, and memory bobbed up last night. It was good. I thought McStay took a bit of a positive step last night, and whether they can make something of the Cameron Steen thing as well. But if you can at least stand up and be rock solid behind the ball while you're working all that out, you're going to be in most games. As he said, you don't have to kick 100 points if the opposition are only kicking 50.
Giants kicked the first goal of the second half. They got within 3, and from that point on, Collingwood put their foot down. They kicked 7 of the next 8 and killed off the contest. Here is Adam Kingsley about how many of his injured Giants he's going to get back after the bye.
Bye week, would have got Richmond and Gather Round at the Barossa, so I'd expect Daniels, Bedford, Buckley certainly, Cadman, maybe Taylor, but probably maybe one more week with him. I'll sit here and say our issues aren't personnel based. It's great to have those guys in, and they're really good players, yep, but we're good enough to be better than what we're showing at the moment, and we're not quite getting our connection done, and we're not quite getting a full game of centre bounce. We've got a half a game last week. We need a full game out of centre bounce, and so they're our issues, not personnel.
Well, the frustration was evident last night. There was a number of times on the broadcast that they went to the box with Adam Kingsley and just, hands over the face, getting up and walking around the box. Just little errors. I think they're just driving him crazy at the moment. So it's rare that a coach shows so much emotion, and Adam Kingsley is a very, very level coach. But he was clearly frustrated in his troops last night.
Well, you mentioned it then, 4 goals, 3 from centre bounce to nothing. And it's interesting. So the personnel, I think that is a real thing. Of
course it is.
Yes, every team wants to build a deep squad, and I think we're seeing a little bit from some of those players that have been given opportunity. But you need those players back. You need Sam Taylor. We talk about defence behind the ball. Forward of the ball, Cadman's, really important player. Daniels as well. The interesting thing has been over the last 3 weeks,
Bedford probably runs.
I was about to say, Adams, and I think I consider him one of, if not the most tactically astute coaches in the comp. So 3 weeks ago, he lets Bontempelli run around and be best on ground here. Wanganeen Miller last week, and Dacos last night. 3 of the top 5-6 players in the comp. Now, first choice run with player not there, but that's what surprised me a little bit, that he was happy just to keep going head to head. And look, all their midfielders got plenty of the footy, but they're never going to be as damaging as those 3 players that I meant. So some stuff to tighten up. I'm glad he's saying that, and behind closed doors you get the sense that there'll be some honest conversations about the way that they're playing. It's not just who's not there.
It's a good line to trot out to the rest of the team and everything else, but when you're missing 8 of your best 23...
And
there's a critical mass.
Yeah, there is.
Every team has got a critical mass of players that they can carry or can't carry. Now, GWS are way over that. Way over that. Like Sam Taylor, Brent Daniels, absolute gun players for...
Well, Tom Green doesn't get mentioned at the moment, does he? Yeah. We're not going to see him this year, but Green, Kelly,
Cadman, the way he's been... The way Cadman and Hogan were playing and the combination they were starting to gain was terrific.
No late change here at Docklands for St Kilda and the Brisbane Lions. First game for broadcast, early start. So it starts in 20 minutes from now, so 12:35 Australian Eastern Daylight Time. Corbin Middlemass alongside Adam Ramanaskas and Luke Ball. This is AFL Saturday on ABC Sport. We are crunched for time today, but I did have the opportunity this morning to catch up with the premiership winning coach of the Collingwood Football Club, Craig McRae, and I started by congratulating him on last night's victory.
Good morning, Corbin. Yeah, I was just... it makes for a nice weekend when you can perform on a Friday night. So yeah, good to be on your show.
What was the best bit about it when you reflect on the 4 quarters last night against the Giants?
Well, I came home and watched the game again late last night, and I just thought some of our stuff in the last quarter was really exciting. You can see Tim Embry and Dan McStay do some stuff late and connect and their pressure, but I think fundamentally, keeping the Giants to 54 points is something that we're pretty proud of, and it shows our defensive part of our game's in good order. And as long as we can defend the ground well, then we can still get to work on other parts of connecting a little bit better and a few other things. So, I was really pleased with that.
We love Oscar Steen. He's all of a sudden sort of cult status straight away. You had to move out your reigning best and fairest winner as the starting ruckman, Darcy Cameron, who obviously goes forward. Steen starts in the ruck. Obviously, they both got chances to ruck and play forward at different times. How did that conversation go down when you've got a guy as decorated as Darcy Cameron is and Origin representative and all the rest of it? How was that conversation to say, hey, by the way, Darcy, you're going to start forward and we've got this young man coming in to ruck the opening centre bounce?
Yeah, no, it's look, I had Choco Williams as a coach when I was growing up in Adelaide and SANFL, and Choco came to me, really pretty much the first day of pre-season in his first day, and he said, I'm going to play young kids and you're going to be the first one. And can you imagine a 19-year-old just going, what? And so I have that lessons learned and what can happen when someone believes in you, and Choco sort of installed that in me. And funny enough, he presented the jumper last night to Oscar, former number 21 for Collingwood, and it made me realise that sometimes you just believe in people, and so just, hey, you're playing your first game, Oscar, and you're going to do the first centre bounce, and the energy that created just in his face, and the players around him was like, yeah, here we go, boys, and just to Darcy Cameron, we think he's got weapons for the ball, so we think it was a win-win. And again, it's just a starting point. It's not going to be like that every week, but really pleased for Oscar. 4 years of toil with injury and then not getting on the paddock. He probably missed 2 years of pretty much the whole year in his first and second years through foot and other injuries, and to see him perform on the big stage and do what he did was really proud of him and happy for his family.
Nick Dacos, your sensational superstar, of course, and what a start to the year. So he's had 41 in the opening round, 33 and 2 goals, 2 in round 1. Then you have the bye, comes out last night, has 36, and again, 4 scoring shots, 2 goals, 2. You spoke about the best and fairest and the fact that you've had to sort of tweak some of the mechanisms to be able to reward extreme games. Was last night an extreme game for Nick Dacos?
Well, watching it back in the third quarter, he said his third highest sort of rated game in his career. Kicks 2 goals, and he runs hard. If you're a football follower or you're a young person that wants to aspire to be an AFL player, just go come watch him train. Come watch him train, and then to see the high intensity of the way he runs, and then watch him match day. It's actually next level. His running capacity is like not many, and you get what you get. And I said that in my press conference after the game. This guy's prepared so well, and no coincidence that you perform really well. And the best and fairest will be the best and fairest. But certainly he's playing at a level that not many can.
So I think the old voting, it was sort of each player awarded sort of 0 to 4. Can you give us any insight as to what that would look like? Is it is there 5 and 6s up for grabs, for example, on certain occasions, or what does the actual process look like when you put pen to paper on the votes?
Yeah, we've changed the system, but I'm not going to announce it to the world, and it'll be announced on best and fairest night, and I think that's where it needs to be kept at this stage. But respectfully, I think I'll leave it at that. But there's certainly rewarding consistency and other things is always what it's been about. But can I leave it at that for now? Thanks, Gordon.
No, I completely understand. Just on Nick's and the conversation around him and the commentary really around, obviously, Tasmania coming into the competition. And certainly for me, as someone that works in the press, it feels noisy for someone that's got multiple years to run on his contract. And I'm sure there's part of you, like everyone else, that thinks, where's that noise coming from? Is that coming from the Dacos camp, his management? Is it Tasmania agitating? Is it just media figures? As the senior coach of the football club, have you felt the need or have you spoken to Nick at any stage to basically say, hey, mate, do you feel valued here? Are you happy here, even though he's got the long contract, just to make sure that he feels like he's valued as the premier player at the biggest club in the land?
Well, I said midweek in my press conference, he's got a 4-year contract. It is quite surprising that we're talking about it. It's 4 years to go. And so it's sort of narrative around it. Maybe he's out next year or whatever it is, but he's got a smart manager. Like, let's be honest, his manager's very good at what he does, and so he's promoting opportunities. Maybe, I'm not sure. I don't live in that space. I don't live in list management. I live in coaching this group. In regards to Nick, I had a fantastic chat to Nick just in the new year about how we support him and set things up. A really productive meeting with him, a long meeting. There's some really good conversations. We got Nick and Josh are thriving in our environment, and you can only look at their performances, the way they're both performing. And I mentioned their training standards; they're great role models for our group. Just keep promoting an environment where these guys just can be the absolute best and lead from the front and set them up to be the best versions of themselves. So that's all we can control.
He did speak last night on Fox Footy about the role that Scott Pendlebury played with the forwards during the week, and he said that Pendlebury ran a masterclass on our forwards about leading patterns. Can you take us a little insight as to what that looks like?
It was so good. It was so good, Corbin. We train, and he comes into the coaches and says, "Can you get that footage up of that drill? I just need to have a look at it." And grabs Tyson Goldsack and goes over the footage. He goes, and then we do an opposition where we look at opportunities and whatever, and he just gets up and presents, and I sat there just in awe. I was in awe of this incredible, player and role model, and he just spoke about, certain, it's subtle stuff, but it was important to us, and what a fortunate position we're in when we have players like him that just lead and promote where we need to be, and he's got an aura. There's no doubt he's got an aura, and I think I'm just biding time until he's ready to coach the Collingwood Footy Club.
Craig McRae with us, the current coach, the premiership coach of the Collingwood Football Club, with me on AFL Saturday on ABC Sport across the country. You did mention last night, given the fact he didn't play the last quarter, he had sort of Achilles soreness, it came off the ground, and he basically indicated, look, it's unlikely he's going to play on a 6-day break going to Brisbane next week. Yep. Does it matter when and where he reaches the milestone? Obviously, we're obsessed about it. From the outside, he's only 5 games away from this magical record in the game's history. Does it matter to you sort of what the venue is and what the stage is for him to actually get to 4-3-3?
Not to me, but I know internally that there's been a lot of work done on setting things up where they need to be, and Pennells doesn't want to worry about any of that stuff, and I don't want to worry about that. So, but there's things been put in place. Clearly, there needs to be. And it's just ideally, celebrating this. We want to celebrate Pendles for everything he is. So there needs to be work done. But I'm respectful of, ideally, it's done in Melbourne. But again, that doesn't guarantee. You just never know. So I have constant conversation with the Pendles that. And I spoke to him, funny enough, on Tuesday about the next period, because we got a couple of travels and 6-day breaks, 6 into a 7 into a 6 type things we travel. And we're going to miss this game. That was the intention. So the Brisbane game, and then we'll see where we're at. So I don't know the level of soreness or how his injury is this morning, or whether it's an injury or just tightness. We'll soon find out. But the intention was not to play this week.
But if, say, the next game, say it maps out and he's fit and available and everything, and it just so happens that it's out of Victoria, would you think about holding him out to make sure that milestone happens in Melbourne, or if he's fit and available, he's playing?
Yeah, look, there's what the team needs, and then there's clearly the milestone's a significant one. So I'll just have those conversations with the Pendles when we get to that, if that was the case. If he didn't want to play, I don't know. I listen. This guy deserves to be listened to. He's such an incredible role model for our footy club, and we want to celebrate it. We want to create an environment where, I say openly how lucky we are that we're playing, and I'm coaching this guy, and maybe because of foresight in my career went so quick, and I didn't realise I played with Jonathan Brown and Jason Economidis and Michael Voss and all these greats, and then you blink, it's done. I want to, we've got Scott Pendlebury's in our building. Wow. Oscar Steen, you played with Scott Pendlebury. what an incredible, you'll tell your grandkids. And so we want to live in that space. So those conversations rightly should be had with Pendles at the appropriate time.
Just a morning after sort of update on Darcy Moore and Scott Pendlebury. Do you know any more than what we learnt last night?
Not as yet, but I'm keen to get, I'm sure our medical team, high performance team will let me know as soon as there is something to report. So, we'll find that out shortly.
Craig, your time's always appreciated. You're so generous with us in the press. Good luck for not just next week against the Lions up in Brisbane, but the rest of the way in season 2026. Appreciate your time.
Thanks, Corbin. Have a great day, mate.
Craig McRae with me a little earlier today on ABC Sport. Great to have him with us, the Collingwood Premiership coach on the back of their win last night. Does it matter, Luke Ball, where Scott Pendlebury goes past Brent Harvey and breaks the all-time games record?
Well, I mean, as a ex-teammate and a mate, then you'd love to be able to coordinate it so it suits you nicely. We were just, as you were chatting there, we were just going through the next block of games, and if he doesn't miss a game, he could, which it sounds like there's no chance of that. He's going to rest this week regardless by the sounds of it. But if he didn't miss a game, he'd equal it on Anzac Day, which would be obviously pretty special. An extra. I mean, look, maybe that occasion needs to stand by itself. So that's a good result, perhaps, for the milestone that he misses that. Then the week after that is Hawthorn on a Thursday night.
Yeah, Geelong. Yeah, that would be the record-breaking game, Hawthorn. So say it misses this week, record-breaking game now becomes Geelong. Round 9.
Yeah, which is their home game on a Saturday night.
But that would mean he also plays every game, barring this week. There's another 6-day break and another 5-day break to come. Yeah. If he misses 2 games, all of a sudden we're looking at Sydney away.
Yeah, I've got one. I've just get a sense. I know you said that they won't consider broadcasting like that, but round 11, West Coast at the MCG, a twilight fixture, home game. I think that'd be a perfect one. They'd go in as heavy favourite. It'd be nice to commemorate the occasion with a win. Now, of course, I'm not suggesting that's a lay down by any stretch. The Eagles might get on a roll by then, but they would go in heavy favourites to that game. You would think that that'd be another incentive to get even more people to that game. There's a bit of the 2018 grand final. There's a bit of that about it too. Eddie would like that. So anyway, it's a good little subplot, isn't it, to the early part of the season?
It's a Collingwood home game at the MCG.
Yeah,
that's what it is.
Yeah.
The issue is,
so I think it's the Eagles then.
The Sydney one will be a fascinating conversation if he's fit and ready to go. And it is the record-breaking game. Whether they hold him out, he's still probably in the top 8 players in the team.
Top 8, yeah. Jeez. I hope they're not relying on him be a top 8 player by that time of the season, but look, he's still playing a role, clearly. He's still playing good footy.
Just out of Thursday night, the AFL admitted that the free kick was incorrectly awarded for last disposal out of bounds to Tom Atkins. It came off Zach Taylor's foot. Basically, the ARC has the power to overturn these things. They had almost 16 seconds to make a decision. They decided not to, or they didn't overrule, despite having used their interventionist powers earlier in the game. Big deal, no big deal, Ram?
Big deal if they had 16 seconds, I think. They got it wrong. If they're unsure, throw the ball in.
Throw it in,
yeah. So
I think we're comfortable with that, aren't we?
But this is the part I actually find interesting in the conversation. I don't think the umpire had any doubt. I just think he got it wrong. Because the boundary umpire immediately signals free kick for Geelong.
Yeah, okay.
So I don't think if there was some indecision and they thought, hang on, who's it's come off, then they should have gone to the arc. But if the umpire's just made a blue and he thinks that it was off the Geelong player,
which happens.
I don't know what you do about that.
You explaining that to me this morning, you're saying the ARC has the power to overrule straight away in the umpire's earpiece?
Which they did earlier for a more marginal call.
But 16 seconds would allow more than enough
for that to happen. Absolutely. Yeah. So, that time of the game, they should be all over that.
Yes.
And I don't mind the umpire making a call.
No, correct.
Same as the goal umpires.
That's fine.
Make a call, even if you think it's 60-40.
But if you've got the technology.
We've got the technology and the time to turn it around. So, I think that's where that's where that went wrong in that scenario.
Best 30 seconds on the Bombers ahead of tonight. Rama, Brad Scott fails to swing the selection axe.
Yeah, look, I'm not surprised about that because, look, you're making 5 changes anyway, already within the team. Look, they're getting scored heavily against and a lot of uncontested marks against. Their entire defence is sitting on its heels, so want to see a really improved defensive effort tonight.
They're going to win?
Oh, chance. I couldn't get over the odds and gamble responsibly. I can't get over how the favour and North coming back from Perth. So 50-50 game for mine.
You can catch up on this through ABC AFL Daily. This has been AFL Saturday. If you want to listen to the full interview with the Collingwood coach, Craig McRae. Stick around. The game coverage is next. The footy's only 5 minutes away.
You meet the most interesting people on Sunday morning.
Driving through this hot land full of dust and smoke, this little Tommy fella feels like a true blue Aussie bloke.
Join the rest of Australia right here on Sunday morning.
Australia All Over, Sunday mornings on ABC Radio.
ABC Sport.
On ABC Sport, this is the
A
AFL.
well-trodden path. Lockett, Hall, Franklin, and now Curnow. The grass is greener at the SCG.
Back, relax, witness the greatest. Don't get better than this.
On his left, he couldn't bang through a third, can he? You bet he can!
Kicks from 45 on the run. And they've made it 6 in a row. What a goal.
Nick Dacos takes the advantage, eyes the goals and kicks it. DNA doesn't lie.
Want it down.
Socket off the ground by Will Ashcroft.
He's a freak.
That is just that. Freakish.
Welcome to the 2026 AFL Premiership season on ABC Sport. On radio, on digital, and ABC Listen.
You take a seat because it don't get better than this.
St Kilda versus Brisbane under the roof at Docklands to start Saturday footy in round 3. Is it one of the game's budding rivalries? It certainly lives with the coaches. Ross Lyon has criticised the Northern Academies, taken some shots at the Lions, and they have been returned, with Chris Fagan critical of the Saints inflating the player market after their hefty contracts doled out to Nasiah Wanganeen Millera and Tom De Koning. What will we get when their teams come together this afternoon? The Saints 1-2 on the season. The Brisbane Lions 0-2. The two-time reigning defending premiers. Can they get their campaign underway under the roof this afternoon? It's an early start. The bounce is only a few minutes away. Corbin Middlemass with you in commentary on ABC Sport. Alongside me to call the footy, Ben Cameron. Good afternoon, Ben.
Good afternoon, Corbin. It is certainly a grudge match between these two teams. I was interested to hear Ross Lyon during the week say, it's not personal, it's business. So he doesn't think so, but it seems a little bit personal between these two clubs at the moment for mine.
Well, the Brisbane Lions, they're in the business of winning premierships. Chris Fagan's won 2 in 2 years, more than St Kilda have won in their club's entire history, going back to 1897. Luke Hall is a former St Kilda captain and a Collingwood premiership player, and he's with us again on ABC Sport. Hello, Bawley.
Yeah, hi, Corby. Yeah, so with my old Saints hat, I'm not sure how advised it is to enter into a grudge match with the reigning premiers who have won 2 in a row. But anyway, I think the issues that have been discussed have been a bit more broad. I think the president put it on the map, didn't he? It was more around just the fairness element and the fact that, clearly the Lions, and I think one thing that people forget is that 8 years ago the Lions were in the doldrums and they had people fleeing to come back home, and we're going to have pretty short memories. So they went right to the bottom, did it the right way, brought in groups of players, had a really good strategy around that, and now, yes, of course, they've been the beneficiary of the Northern Academy. So, I think, and then even Chris Fagan's comments, I think, around salaries for players had a more broader competition lens. But having said that, I think any way you can build up a game and add a bit of spice to it is good. So, looking forward to today's game. I think the Lions, probably fair to say, more than most, would have appreciated the long break. It feels like an eternity ago since they went up and got a bit of a hiding from the Swans. So they'll be looking to atone from that.
No late change here at Docklands. Adam Ramanaskas, whose side of the argument are you on?
Well, I think it's certainly an off-field rivalry rather than an on-field rivalry. So clearly the Lions have been the better on-field team. Look, I'm probably on Brisbane's side to be honest with you. I think the argument what St Kilda are trying to make around father, sons and academy, I think that swings and roundabouts, to be honest with you. So, St Kilda have got a couple of kids in their academy that are coming through at the moment. What are they going to say? No, we don't want them.
They haven't turned away Machito Owens or Marcus Windhager.
No, Kai Fincher as well from last year's draft. So,
what about Brisbane's beef, though, that they've inflated the player market?
Well, look, you've got a salary cap, so you can spend that money any way you want.
Yep.
That's up to any individual club. But I think the draft and the academy stuff, St Kilda may be a little bit off the mark, but in terms of how St Kilda want to spend their salary, go for your life.
Tim Hodges is on the boundary in place of Razor Ray this afternoon. Good afternoon, Hodgie.
Hey, Corbin. Hey, crew. Nice to be with you. Jack Sinclair won the toss. The Saints will kick to the Footscray end of the stadium. That's the left of screen if you're at home watching on the tally, listening to us. A very wet Saturday outside, so thankfully the roof is closed. And I must say, the crowd is decent. The Saints hoping to top 30,000 today. I reckon we're already there. It's a great turnout, especially for this early game.
Masai Wanganeen Miller are already banging bodies with Jared Berry, who hit the deck. We're ready to go. The Saints and the Lions. You with Ben Cameron on ABC Sport.
The Koning, the opening tap, gets it away to Wanganeen Miller. A 1-2 with Hall. Runs inside 50 for the dream start. It's well offline. He misses left. That was special.
That was quickest goal of all time. Sort of stuff that was. Wow-wee.
And that would have been exciting for St Kilda fans.
Yeah, sorry, Benny. No, but then again, just highlighting what we've seen over the course of the first 3 weeks. Tom de Koning's ability to get up and belt the ball into space. It's exciting.
The Lions quickly work it up to the wing. Coleman away to Gardner. Hand pass over to Will Ashcroft, who measures a kick down the wing and finds Reville, who marks. Handball away towards Neal. Gives it to Berry, to Cameron. Slick hands down to half forward. Kicks the Lions across the 50. Collected by Lohman, trying to wrong foot Sinclair. Bad idea. Got a hand pass away. Back towards Cameron against the boundary line. Hand pass back looking for Lohman. Not to be. Coleman goes in, collects. Ball back into dispute. Forward pocket for Brisbane. And after all that, we'll have... we got a ball up? Yes, we do. Forward pocket here for the Lions. They're in the old Fitzroy jumper today. It's been 30 years since the merger. So in the old maroon with the FFC monogram and the blue chest with the white shorts.
Looking resplendent in it as well as Wanganeen Malera clears the defensive 50. Intercept mark by Gardner for the Lions. His kick a turnover. Wilson marks on the wing for St Kilda. Holds it up momentarily, slips over, drops the ball. Time to recover, gets rid of it away to Sharman. And then Zorko worries them out of it, knocks it out of play. Thrown on the wing, city side of the ground.
Darcy Gardner breathes a sigh of relief. Good scrambling there from Dane Zorko to at least cause the stoppage on the wing. Big matchup, isn't it? Draper de Koning. Young Ty Gallop has gone back.
Yeah.
So no Harris Andrews again, obviously. And the Saints tall forward you'd think would be able to stretch the Lions defence, but Ty Gallop's gone back to full back.
St Kilda leading by a point. That opening point of the game to Wanganeen Malera. Berry gets a clearance, tumbles it up towards half forward. Rayner's down there, fighting after the footy. Tackled by Silvani. Dispossessed, holding the ball. Free kick to St Kilda, right half back. The umpires out there today, Daniel Hansen, Jamie Broadbent, Simon Meredith and Cameron Dorr. And Silvani kicks around the wing and Draper spoils it away.
Looks for the safety to boundary line, doesn't get there. Wanganeen Miller had a fresh air swat, trying to soccer it back inside the field of play. Lester collects for Brisbane. Handball away to Gardner. He gives it to Answorth, back flank. Kicks Brisbane down the wing, city side, floating through, and de Koning plucks it. Takes the intercept mark for St Kilda. TDK, pump it back down to half forward, still on the city side of the ground. Owens floats across, can't complete the intercept mark. Gardner collects, gives it away by hand, wanting Berry, stolen by Higgins. Off his knees, got a hand pass out to Sharman. Critical touch to Wanganeen Miller. He was taken high. And a free kick for Naz. He's going to get it here.
Got to say, Corby, I love the jumper, but I'm not sure it's the right one today, is it?
There is a lot of...
too much white.
Yep, there's a lot of white. And
I'm not going to use the clash word, but...
it's in the neighbourhood, though, isn't it?
Yeah, not ideal.
Two really dark jumpers, side by side.
Naz goes short to Flanders, who marks against the boundary line at right half forward.
Much better with the... we're much better off with the actual, or the more recent Fitzroy jumper, with the bright red and yellow and blue. Anyway... good luck, commentators.
Flanders against the boundary line. Tough spot from out there on the junction of the 50 and the boundary, and he misses to the right, up behind. So St Kilda 2 behinds. Brisbane yet to score. No late change. Saints in their home jumper, so more in black with the red, white and black columns. And the dark base for Brisbane, as we touched on, with the heavy maroon and blue.
Zorko short to the pocket for Will Ashcroft. Comes back central, away towards Wilmot, under pressure. He's tackled close to the boundary line, handballs it out, and the umpire takes pity on him, or a little bit of sympathy, and a boundary throw in right forward pocket for St Kilda.
A few sloppy sort of errors from the Lions. We know they're a kick mark team, but he telegraphed that, Ashcroft, didn't he? Allowed Darcy Wilson to close that space, and stoppage inside 50.
All St Kilda to begin in this game. Draper taking it out of the ruck, handball for Will Ashcroft. Answorth under the pump, kicks it straight up and down the chute. Will come down inside 50. Dunkley goes up, Flanders hands on it, Lohman away to Zorko and thumps a kick up to the wing, a bouncing ball. Wilkie there for St Kilda.
Wilkie collects and retreats back with the kick to Silvani. Of course, still with daylight savings in effect at the moment, so it is technically a morning game for the Brisbane Lions on their body clock. Not quite as bad as the Eagles are in for tomorrow. It wasn't clean, but the Saints got it over halfway. Stocker to Sinclair, kicks out wide to left half forward. Sharman marks, pokes it into the pocket, wanted Higgins, and Answorth breaks it up illegally. Gee, thought he had a fair bit of the ball there. He returns it to Higgins, who almost weaved out of the way trying to draw a 50.
Yeah.
But Higgins will get up left half forward for the Saints.
Yeah, my first thought was it was ball, but certainly got the arms.
Higgins runs around to his right and has hit it skinny, trying to hook it across the body, so misses on the snap near side. Saints 3 behinds, Brisbane yet to score. Of course, the Lions trying to open their account in the young season. They led for large periods but lost to the Bulldogs in opening round. And then a defeat, obviously, in heavily depleted team to Sydney in round 1.
Kick in, a turnover. Marshall marks it, sends the Saints inside 50 onto the chest of Hall, 45 metres out, 30-degree angle right of centre.
Well, it's the horror kick from Dane Zorko.
Even the target that he was going for in Oscar Allen.
To watch this jumper thing, I'm not sure whether he thought that was his ruckman purely into smashing the kick out, but he couldn't have picked him out any better.
It's not easy to pick them apart from our vantage point. Max Hall, third-rated player in the comp. Since late last year, his drop punt is wide left, a behind. So 4 behinds to begin for St Kilda. The inside 50s, 5-1 the way of the Saints. Tim Hodges down on the boundary. How's the viewing experience for you?
No, just on that, Ben. I mean, the players on the bench here right in front of me, it's a dark back for both jumpers with white numbers. Yep. So it's immediately confusing, so you can see how the players will be confused, and I feel more for the fans and the viewers at home. Like, it's how did the AFL tick off on this? I mean, they're probably wowed by the special jumper, but this is just a bad decision.
I'm with you, Hodgie. We love a jumper storyline here on ABC Sport, where we're all over it as the Lions have quickly moved it inside 50, and Oscar Allen takes the mark against the boundary right forward pocket here for Brisbane, as Lohman with a nice delivery there onto the chest of his new teammate.
Yeah, and looking forward to watching him in person today also. Great to see him out there first and foremost, and it'll take a little while for him to settle into these new colours, but gets an opportunity here. It's an inside 50, albeit a tough shot.
Played in 1 win last year, Balling, against the Saints.
Well, hasn't played in 1 yet for the Lions, so he'll be keen to get on the board today.
Kicks from a tight angle. Again, he's missed near side, so trying to kick on the outside of the right boot on the check side, and just got it a little skinny. So 4 behinds plays 1 behind. 1 behind, plural, single.
Tom watched the AM game for mine, my theory.
Yep.
They've got to capitalise here. The Lions are half asleep. 11:30 game.
7 minutes in, Saints by 3.
Sinclair, long kick in. Lester with hands to it. Wanganeen Malira down at the front of the pack. Picking it up, Gardner for the Lions. Shoveling out a handball. Reveal. Gets rid of it to Lohman. He'll handball over his head inside 50 the Lions. Off to Berry by hand. Looking for Lohman again. Close to the boundary line. Garcia's got him front on. Good tackle. Carries him out. Throw in coming. Now, Corbin, you are very passionate about the jumper clashes. You've campaigned to make it your role at AFL House. You've even offered to fulfil the role for free. So this doesn't cut the mustard today.
No. So I feel like it could be my future calling, gentlemen. That maybe one day I could fulfil that role at AFL House and line the jumpers up side by side, half a day a week. And the boundary throw in, quick handball from Berry, feeds it out to Dunkley, snaps goalward but misses.
He is our resident fashionista.
Yeah.
He certainly
run it.
Stop short of calling him a fashion icon, ABC, but certainly
the new casual sneaker on today.
Yeah.
It's very sharp.
Runner behinds continues, 4 behinds to 2 behinds. Saints by a couple of points.
Brisbane
9 minutes in.
Just working their way into the game here, the Lions. Wood off the halfback flank, turns it over. Kitty Coleman bobs up and marks for the Lions. Pokes a pass wide out. Morris just accepts it, skips back off his mark. 9 minutes in, he kicks back infield to Coleman. He'll set it up to the pocket, looking for a marker. Up goes Rayner, he's got it. Nearly banging his head on the roof as he climbed in the pack to drag in the mark, right forward pocket, 15 metres out, tight angle.
Well, it's a beautiful kick from Coleman. He just pulled it and took a little bit of speed off it, and he started forward, and I think that's why they like him forward of the ball, because of that that left leg that he's got and that ability to hit targets, with the money kick, the hardest kick in footy, that inside 50 kick, and that time he just pulled it enough to give Rayner a run and jump at it.
Left foot snap, Rayner hits it poorly. Misses the set, out of bounds on the full on the far side. So right across the goal mouth. So it still remains a 2-point ball game. 4 behinds to 2. St Kilda lead at nearly 10 played.
The Saints out of defence. Wilkie to Silvani. Not a great kick. Trying to link up with Stocker. Intercepted by Levi Ashcroft. Knocks it away to Neal. Handball out to Bailey. He's tackled out of bounds. Nice work, Silvani. Makes up for the error.
Yeah, great tackle. That's 3 already for Jack Silvani. Being a really good physical presence back there. Lions just being a little bit cute with the footy at the moment.
And then just balks his way around Bailey. Drew him on the mark. Kicks down the boundary line and flying for it, Taru, who's up forward again today. Ball spills out of bounds, and that's part of his moniker, to fly through the air.
Looks like Berry's got the job on Wanganeen Miller, and who had the opportunity, didn't he? Mate, if he kicks that goal in the first 10 seconds, he's off to a flyer. He's had 4 or 5 kicks already, but the rest of them have been behind the footy, so he's come off and Berry comes off with him.
He's got Gallup too for company, by the way, Taru. That could have been a match-up at the other end of the ground last year. From the boundary throw-in, Dunkley hands it to Will Ashcroft. He gives it away towards Fletcher, kicks inside 50, turns it over. Stocker the intercept mark. 2 points, St Kilda's lead after 11 minutes.
Switches it to Hill, who moves it out wide for Wilson. City wing, Docklands, good crowd in attendance. St Kilda by a couple of points.
The other one is Garcia and Lockie Neal.
Wilson kicks around the wing. And Gardner just works his man underneath it, takes the mark. No free kick paid.
Be important today, Gardner. With no Harris. He'll be the experienced head down there behind the footy for the Lions.
Gardner kicking back around that City wing. Leading up, Morris doesn't quite get to the contest, and Owens comes up with the mark for St Kilda. Plays on, works himself into trouble. Handball away to Silvani. He's carried out. And a throw in between wing and left half forward for Brisbane. Still 2 points. The difference, the way of the Saints, 4 behinds to 2. 12 play.
Saturday footy on ABC Sport. No late change coming in. And a boatload of behinds to get us going. And the boundary throwing, Will Ashcroft got a hand pass away to Reville, who drives it deep down towards Morris. 1-on-1 with Wilkie. Wilkie does well. Inadvertently socked away by McCarthy and out of bounds. Link McCarthy, part of a very unfortunate club. The Brisbane Lions have been able to hand out essentially premiership medals to 29 different players over the last 2 years. So they had 17 that played in both, and then 6 unique players across the last 2 flags. There were only 3 gentlemen that played in one of the last 3 grand finals that didn't get a premiership medal, and he's one of them. Link McCarthy, having featured in 2023, so 3 straight grand finals for the Lions. From the boundary throwing, we got a ball up. And the other 2, Dev Robertson, who's now at West Coast, and Jared Lyons, the 3rd. Ball up forward pocket for Brisbane. Marshall grabs it out of the ruck. Got it away to Garcia. His hand pass picked off. Reville's got it again. Pulls the kick back to full forward. Wood leaps up. Punches it away. Punches it out of bounds. We'll have a throw in. 13 minutes in. 4 behinds to 2 behinds. St Kilda lead.
So Coleman's missed out on the 2 as well. Is that right?
Yes.
Coleman, yeah. So, I mean, and that's what they need, this Lions team. You're going for 3 in a row. You need those players who are still that hungry, and the carrot's still there for them to drive the group.
Dunkley doing the ruck work, takes it out of the ruck, gets rid of it away towards Will Ashcroft, who soccers on goal. Doesn't quite make the distance and knock through. So 1 point, St Kilda's lead. 4 behinds to 3. An uninspiring start to this modern-day grudge match between St Kilda and Brisbane.
Saints work it out. Flanders to Sinclair, then out to Howard. Kicks out of the defensive 50 for Flanders. Short. Sorry, Wilson off the back flank. Just dabs a kick short. Mark taken on the wing by Filippo. He goes long down the City side. Taru throws his body at it in from the side. Didn't get close to the footy. Fletcher collects, dumps a kick forward for Brisbane. Bouncing back down the City wing. Bailey and Stocker both there. Stocker clever, just taps it into the path of Windhager. Short kick, retreating back to Wood. Wood spears it to Sinclair. And dual All-Australian, the co-captain at centre-half back for the Saints.
Shorts it away to Flanders. St Kilda at centre-half back. Gives it to Wood, running through the corridor. Sweeping handball. Sinclair spikes it on. Not sure about that decision. And Lester mops up across half-back. Gives it away towards Zorko, his brother-in-law. The Lions out to the wing. Rayner, clever slap on. Away towards Levi Ashcroft. Now to Lockie Neal. Caught by Wood holding the ball. Fain to give the handball. Turned back into Mason Wood. Lockie Neal thought it was high. The umpire didn't. Saints by a point. Mason Wood free kick on the wing.
Take us inside the mind of Jack Silvani there.
Just get the ball forward. Like to see him take possession there. He started the game well. Back yourself in. Take possession of the footy.
Woods kick smothered. Ricochets out towards Dunkley. Gives it to Lester. Hand pass over to Levi Ashcroft. He's clipped high. Free kick. Ryan Lester, by the way, hardcore St Kilda fan growing up against his childhood team today. As Levi gives it to brother Will. Short kick to Rayner. Rayner down to half forward. He turns it over too.
The mistakes in this game. Brisbane's kicking efficiency to start this game just at 50%. So they've had 33 kicks. Half of those have been turned over.
15 minutes in, Wilkie the intercept mark across the half back line. 4 behinds to 3 behinds. St Kilda by a point. Windhager short kick finds Hill. He goes up over halfway. Sharman takes the mark. He's had a couple of almost games to start his season. Cooper Sharman dabs the kick into the path of Wilson. And marks it right half forward. He looks inside the attacking arc, and this is Higgins. I mentioned Ryan Lester, by the way. That's part of the reason why he wears number 35. So he's a big Robert Harvey fan as a kid. Obviously, Jill Brownlow medalist and won those medals in his childhood. Decided to don the 35. And he's worn it throughout his career so far. Now a 2-time premiership winner with Brisbane. Higgins is going to have to kick from about 52 metres out. His drop punt sails goalward. It's right to the line and leaping up. Darcy Fort got fingertips to it, knocked it through for a rush behind. That is 8 consecutive behinds to start this game. So 5 points to 3 points. The scoreline, St Kilda by 2, 16 minutes in.
Might as well open the roof, Corp.
Yep. Yeah.
Playing outside.
Fletcher short to Levi Ashcroft, who goes back to Bruce Reville, and now to Lester. Left back pocket, kicks back across the goal mouth. It'll bounce between Fletcher and Levi Ashcroft. They work it out by hand. And then again, back to Fletcher now, who exits the D50. A good kick for Berry. We spoke to Craig McRae on AFL Saturday. You can find that under the ABC AFL Daily podcast, wherever you get your podcasts as well. And I can see Craig McRae about 4 boxes over, just past the press centre, watching on. He told us he was coming along to watch his old team, and he's sitting there keeping an eye on the Brisbane Lions. They play them next Thursday night. Series of short kicks here for the Lions, and Reveal in the middle of the ground.
Oh, that's a good kick.
Opens it up the middle to Berry at centre half forward. Goes short, and Lohman on the end of it, 40 out directly in front.
That's vintage Lions, remember, isn't it? They don't want to kick the ball long. That's going to be that's an indicator today for the Saints. If there to be any chance at all, they have to force a long kick. And a lot of the times, you can see, they wait until the 5th or 6th second, don't they? And then they still hit one late, the Lions. They look early and then they look late. They play keepings off so well. It's held them in such good stead over the last couple of years, and they get themselves a shot at goal.
Kyle Lohman, to show them how it's done, he can't. That is a shocker. It was low, it was wide, and it snuck through for a behind. 5 behinds to 4. Nearly travelled 18 minutes in this opening term. St Kilda by a point.
Too low, man, you reckon?
It's here all day.
Yeah.
Blue ball.
I do. Betty, you find the smallest things amusing.
Messiah Wanganeen Miller on the kick-out duty. Goes along out towards Sharman, who's clunking them today. Get his hands around this. Marks on that city wing. So 5 behinds to 4 behinds. 18 minutes in. Saints by a point. Sharman contest kick down the line. The big men are down there. Draper knocks it out of play. Off the SMS pen from Fitzroy. High grandstand team. I'm listening to the game live at the stadium and can confirm that the jumper clash is really hard, especially with the white numbers for both sides. The Fitzroy Maroon is really hard to distinguish from the black. I prefer to watch this on TV, sadly. Ben from Fitzroy.
Thrown on the wing, De Koning taking it out of the ruck for the Saints. Dispossessed. Whistle on the play, was there? Yes, it'll come back. Who will it go to? Marcus Windhager, the recipient. Playing off a half-back flank this year. Drives the Saints inside 50. Looking for a marker. Higgins goes up, brings it down. Butler, his kick smothered. Gallup doing the smothering. Out to Hall. Gets rid of it to Filippo. Goes back to Hall. Outside of the right boot. Bending away. Another behind. Another behind. 6 behinds to 4. 10 behinds to begin this game. St Kilda lead by 2 points. We're nearly in time on in the first.
It's one way to shorten the quarters. That's what the AFL had hoped for.
They were hoping for more goals, though.
Fletcher takes some ground, kicks along up to the wing. That's a beautiful mark. Link McCarthy. Linky leaping up and ripping it down. He's got that knee heavily strapped, his right knee. And the bright yellow boots on, defensive side of the wing. Kicks towards the big man Draper. Hand on it from De Koning, and then he's going to follow up De Koning. Collects for St Kilda. Oh, good follow-up tackle there. Winning possession, Leicester.
Yeah.
Creeping forward and chase down tackle on De Koning. Wins it for the Lions 60 metres out. Kicks towards Draper. Hands on it, not to be. Falls through to Rayner. Tumbles a kick goalward. You wouldn't believe it. He's missed. 6 behinds to 5 behinds. 20 minutes in. 11 consecutive behinds to begin this game. Saints by 1.
What's the number? How many behinds before the first goal?
This is it. Next one's a goal.
Yep.
4 minutes to play before quarter time.
Wilkie taking the kick in. Adventurous goes for a little gallop. Pokes the kick just over the top to Windhager. Crosses the arc of 50. Driving ball to the wing. Up they go. Good mark. Sharman has dropped a few. Clunked that one. Kicks inside 50. Ryan Marks, 48 out. Steps his man. Chips it short. No. Higgins is in the pocket. No. It overshoots him and tumbles through. Accidentally on purpose. It doesn't matter. Finally a major. 1-6-12 plays 5 behind. St Kilda by 7 points. 21 minutes into their first. Adam Romanascus, Luke Ball.
I think St Kilda looked the more likely to kick the first goal of this game. You look at the numbers at the moment. It's 14 tackles to St Kilda, only 5 to Brisbane. So Brisbane just aren't applying that pressure through the middle of the ground. That's allowing St Kilda to move ball inside 50s, 9-8 in St Kilda's favour. But there's just not enough pressure from the Lions through the middle part of the ground, allowing then St Kilda to go inside forward 50. Higgins was all on his own. It was an accidentally on purpose, probably won by Liam Ryan. But someone had to kick a goal at some stage. Hopefully now there's a few more coming.
Both rucks miss it in the middle. Free kick. Draper, the infringing party. Flanders takes the advantage inside 50. And Machito Owens, a sprawling mark, 40 out, slightly right of centre.
Well, centre bounce again. So we've only had a look at 2 centre bounces, of course. And the Saints have just gone bang, bang. And it's a bit of a concern with De Koning's dominance there. Sam Draper just finding his feet again, getting back into the rhythm of things. Second game back. He's going to have to really find a way to just nullify, at the very least, to halve that centre bounce contest.
Mitch Owens, his drop punt is wide right. Just sneaking through for a minor score. St Kilda lead by 8. Won the Lenny Hayes trademark award last year for St Kilda. Mitch Owens, free kick, or the kick in rather, from Dane Zorko. Kicks up to the wing. McCarthy a little ambitious on the attempted hanger. Gives away a free kick to Jack Sinclair. So St Kilda ball again. Just controlling it inside their forward half at the moment. St Kilda looking for Rowan Marshall. Hands to it, doesn't mark. Handsworth roves to the lines, dragged down. All up, 30 out from the attacking goal for the Saints.
That's the one. You just love him to clunk one of those, Rowan Marshall. He's going to rest forward there. He gets a mismatch today, or an inexperienced defender without Harris Andrews. Got to impact the scoreboard today, the resting ruck for the Saints.
Marshall palms it down. Higgins tried to go out of the air. Falls down towards Fletcher. He's tackled, taken to ground. Saints fans wanted a free, not to be. Well, there's a bit going on too, as there's a little mellow that's broken out in all of that. And Sai Wangane, Miller and Berry, who have been at it really since before the opening ball up. Draper grabs it out of the ruck as the umpire chucks it up to try and sort things out. Hurried kick out of defence for Brisbane. Punch back inside 50 for the Saints. Dunkley's got it, lost it. Handball goes straight to Wood. Hand pass away towards Garcia. Hands it out wide looking for Hall, and it's knocked out of play. Nice work, Levi Ashcroft. Finds his safety at the boundary line.
He caught it, Rammer. Saints pressure's good at the moment. 17 tackles to 5. Keeping the ball in the front half here at the moment. They've got to capitalise on this momentum and dominance in this first quarter.
Throw in half forward. Marshall and Draper both with hands on it. Marshall looking to soccer it. Coming through. Will Ashcroft picks it up. Tackled to ground. Coaching staff for St Kilda have made their way down to the bench. Ross Lyon sitting on there, moving magnets. Draper palming at boundary side. Nowhere to go. Bruce Reveal with the footy. Another ball up. St Kilda by 8 points. Draper palming it down. Levi Ashcroft onto the footy. Squeezing a kick beyond the defensive arc. Sinclair parries it cleverly this time. Away to Wood. Kicks the Saints to full forward. Up they go. Gallup marks at fullback for Brisbane. Saints still by 8.
Young man who won a premiership in his 6th game, Ty Gallup, and tore apart that prelim, didn't he, against the Pies in game number 5. He comes out wide with the kick towards Answorth, who shares it back on the inside to Will Ashcroft to Fletcher, who kicks long down to half forward, and there's going to be a free kick here as Dougal Howard involved in the marking contest with Allen gives away the free. So Allen to take it for Brisbane. 8-point advantage for the Saints. Kicks into a crowded forward 50. Draper threw himself across the side of the pack. Had a fair bit of it. Couldn't complete the mark. Ball comes out and the ump says ball up. There's a bunch of players jump on top of it. How about that for a ride from Big Sammy? The former Bomber does the ruck work at the restart. Won it down, tackled with it. And all of that is Garcia, and now the pack forms behind him. Umpire says I'll have it. Ball up forward pocket here for the Lions. St Kilda by 8 points, 26 minutes in.
Up it goes. Draper over to Koenig, but palms it to Wilkie. Spiral beyond the defensive arc for St Kilda, chopped off by Gardner. So the Lions with it, just beyond their arc. Comes back infield. Towards centre half forward, and Noah Ransworth. He kicks inside 50. Not his best effort off hands at the back. Wilkie again. He is a safe pair of hands, and he kicks laterally. Calm amongst the chaos. Away to Marshall. St Kilda repel.
Sinclair takes the mark, chips it short to Butler. 1-7-5 behind. So that's the score under the roof at Docklands on plain surface, which looks really as good as we've seen it early in a new season. As Butler goes long down the line. Flying in the air is Sharman. Spills down towards Wanganeen Miller. Hand pass meant for Garcia. Broken up. Spills to Zorko. Hurried kick down to half forward. Trickles out of play. So last disposal out of bounds. Free kick St Kilda. Brings it straight back in. Wilkie to Silvani. Off the SMS, Paul from Torquay. Jumper clash. First world problems, gents. But loving the call from Paul. Thanks, Paul. I'm sorry if you got it mixed up, if you thought we were putting it on par with the events in Iran or anything like that. I don't think that was what we were getting at. But they certainly do look more alike than what we're used to for a game of footy. The Saints 1-7-13. Brisbane 5 behinds. The goal kickers, Liam Ryan. That's it. So just the 1 goal and 12 behinds in that opening quarter of footy. Tim Hodges is on the boundary. Hodgie.
Corbin, just keeping an eye on Mitch Owens from the Saints. He dislocated a finger on his left hand midway through that term. I think he was just trying to deal with it out on the field. The pain just got too much for him. He spent the last few minutes on the bench. He's had it heavily strapped. He's had some medication. The doctors are still spending some time with him. Lenny Hayes has just come over to check on him right in front of me here. So he will return to the field in the second term, but it will be in a degree of pain. And Bawley, I know Ross is a good friend of yours, former coach of yours. He's really reached that dorky dad stage with the clothes, baggy jeans and sneakers with the tongue hanging out in both sneakers. So I'm sure his kids have been looking at him shaking their heads.
I really appreciate that feedback too, Hodgie. Just let him know
I sense he would take it well, Bawley.
I was also going to say it takes one to know one, Hodgie.
Oh, wow. I wasn't going to go there.
That's hurtful, Ben.
No, look, fair call, re the jumpers. Just an observation. I think in an otherwise pretty lacklustre first quarter, we were trying to find something to talk about, to be honest, Ben.
Can I just say as well, I actually, on a serious note, a few of the St Kilda coaches with their shirts untucked.
Tuck 'em in.
And it's a tuck-in job, isn't it? It just looks sloppy, presents poorly. Have them tucked in.
Jack in Clifton Hill. Interesting fact, the reason Fitzroy changed from the maroon to the red back in the 70s was to make the team more distinguishable on colour TV. From Jack. Thanks, Jack. Appreciate that. It's also why coloured shorts came in. So up until that point, it was black shorts at home, white shorts away. But the coloured shorts were an advent of colour TV in the 70s. Thanks, Jack. And from Ed in Devonport, just close your ears if you're a little sensitive to the jumper talk. Hi, lads, talking about jumpers. Did you see the Giants jumper from last night? How boring. A white outlined orange G.
Agree. Terrible.
On an orange coloured jumper.
They've tried to replicate the charcoal.
Yeah, I didn't mind it.
It looked like a training jumper, that one.
It had a few training jumper vibes. It's better than anything all white, though. I'll put it in that category. P.S. Go the Devils. Now, there's a jumper from Ed. Thank you, Ed. Appreciate that. The Devils, they're on today. They're playing Coburg, I think.
No, it was Coburg last week. Or are they playing him again?
No, that can't be right. They're playing someone else. I'll get back to that. Stand by. They're on at the moment at York Park in Launceston in the VFL. There's also VFL coverage, of course, available through iView. Game today between Sandringham and Werribee. I know that for sure. So that's available through ABC TV in Victoria and iView. Saints by 8 points. The thoughts of our premiership pair coming up in just a moment. This is Saturday Footy on ABC Sport.
Stay up to date with the latest news in less than 2 minutes with the ABC News Top Stories podcast. The biggest breaking news stories of the day and why they matter. The ABC News Top Stories podcast on ABC Listen or wherever you get your podcast.
Get your footy fix with ABC AFL Daily Podcast. Corbin Middlemass and Ben Cameron are joined by a cast of AFL legends to pull apart the biggest stories in Aussie rules. Search for the ABC AFL Daily Podcast on ABC Listen.
This is the 2026 AFL Premiership season with ABC Sport.
Up they go. Good mark. Sharman has dropped a few. Clunked that one. Kicks inside 50. Ryan Marks, 48 out. Steps his man. Chips it short. No. Higgins is in the pocket. It overshoots him and tumbles through. Accidentally on purpose. It doesn't matter. Finally a major.
The AFL on ABC Sport.
On radio,
ABC Sport Digital Radio.
and ABC Listen.
Short and sweet was the only goal that was scored in the quarter of footy. St Kilda leading the game 1-7 over the Brisbane Lions, who are 5 behind. So 1-7 to 5 behind the score as it sits at the moment. Meanwhile, the Tassie Devils are playing Port Melbourne. So that is 16 minutes into the second term. The Devils lead by 16 points in their second VFL game. Our premiership pair, Adam Ramanauskas and Luke Ball, with their take on this opening quarter at Docklands, the Saints by 8.
Well, it could have been so different, Rama. We could have had a goal within 6 seconds out of the first centre bounce. De Koning, a big knock forward, and Nasiah Wanganeen-Miller, I think you'd kick 9 out or 9.5 out of 10 of those breaking the paint at 50 and without pressure. But after that, it almost set the tone, didn't it? Because after that, it was pretty lacklustre. And as you said, the Lions in particular just looked a bit sloppy and made some uncharacteristic mistakes. Invited St Kilda's pressure. And credit to St Kilda, they were up to the task. 21 tackles for the quarter is a good result. And in the end, it was an 8 scoring shots to 5. 12 inside 50s to 10. So the Lions actually had their chances and left a few out there as well. But definitely the Saints quarter. And you just feel like they haven't capitalised, as I said, with 8 scoring shots to 5. And the Lions will wake up at some stage. My AM start theory is well and truly alive. They looked a bit snoozy, the Lions, and a bit sleepy. And perhaps, who knows, perhaps the jumpers might have had something to do with that as well. But yeah, pretty scrappy, pretty lacklustre. No team really able to get into too much flow, I think. We know that the Lions like to defend with ball in hand to an extent. It's really interesting. The times where they look most dangerous, they caught a St Kilda defender napping and were able to shift the ball through kick mark down the ground and find a mark inside 50. So I mentioned that I think the long kick is going to be a real indicator for the Saints if they're to go on and be any chance or indeed win the game today. Forcing the Lions to kick long down the line is going to be a big part of it.
Yeah, look, I can't agree with the theory of the early start because all teams train at 10 o'clock in the morning. So
yeah, look, it's a fair debunk, but
they should be. As Benny
said, sometimes you can just roll up to training and take half an hour to get going from that point of view as well. So I'm going to stick with it, Rama.
Two things with that quarter. Brisbane's kicking efficiency was 62%, so way down. St Kilda's tackle pressure, which forced the turnover, 21-9.
Adam Ramanauskas and Luke Ball, Saturday Footy on ABC Sport. Brisbane with the first centre break here as Rayner gives it to Ford and then to Neil. Long kick inside 50. G. Allen got high. Heavy landing too as he crashed into Stocker, who's slow to get up. St Kilda win the footy. Silvani to Filippo, away by hand to Sinclair. He feeds it to Wood off the back flank. Kicks St Kilda up over halfway in front of the boundary line. Punched away by Leicester. Close to that City boundary line. Wilson keeps it alive. Gives a hand pass back towards Machito Owens, who bangs it inside the forward 50 and miskicks it. One bounce out of play.
That was terrific by Stocker to fall back into the hole, but just as good by Oscar Allen to really crash that pack in front of him. All completely legal. But Brisbane, that's not how Logan Morris plays. That's not how Ty Gallup plays when when he is forward. That's how Joe Danaher certainly played when he was forward. So I think Chris Fagan will be really happy with that contest from Oscar Allen.
St Kilda by 8 points from the boundary throw-in. Both rucks miss it. Out the back it goes. Lincoln McCarthy, clearing kick for Brisbane towards the middle of the ground. Knocked down there by Stocker, and Wilkie gathers, gets rid of it to Silvani, kicks the Saints up to half forward. Sharman overruns it. Hill worries Gardner out of it. Levi Ashcroft attacking it. Going back, McCarthy picks it up cleanly. Fend off, it was high, free kick. And Higgins to take it for St Kilda. Where is Joe these days? Rama, you were his agent.
No idea. Could be anywhere at the moment, Joe.
It's correct.
That's not even me trying to be funny.
Byron Bay, somewhere in Spain, anywhere.
Windhager sends the Saints to full forward, and Gardner's back there. Overhead mark, 20 metres out from defensive goal. St Kilda by 8.
Joe will call, and he'll be in the most random place you could think of.
Nicaragua.
And you go, what are you doing there? I've just come to check it out.
Fort to Leicester to Berry. Short kicking game in the defensive arc for Brisbane to Bailey. Isn't he an interesting watch? So Suitors reportedly during the week, 1.6 million willing to offer Zach Bailey, the two-time premiership winner. Short to Gardner. Long kick out of defence now. Heads towards Levi Ashcroft. One-on-one with Windhager. Ball hits the deck. Levi goes and gets it. Hand pass out the back, trying to get the advantage of Ainsworth. Has to try and shepherd the player and then tap it to the advantage of McCarthy in the process. Still a scrappy ball. Levi can't collect. Dane Zorko does. Still with Brisbane. Hand pass away towards McCarthy. Absolutely sold the candy to Hill, who bought it, went diving across the front of him, and they work it out. Brisbane short kick finds Will Ashcroft.
Too slow.
Dual Norm Smith medalist. Done it all before his 22nd birthday. An incredible resume. Finished third in the best and fairest in a premiership year. To Bailey, all the way back to Berry, and the switch is on out to that city wing for Leicester.
Throwing a knee reconstruction in there as well.
That's crazy, isn't it? Short to Berry on the logo. Runs, takes a bit of ground, and now the long driving kick inside the forward 50 through the hands of Morris. He got a shove. Wilkie was worried about it, and just into the numbers he went. And the free kick for Logan Morris, right half forward, 30 out.
It's really how you got to play against Cal Wilkie. He's so good at when that ball's high in the air, nudging his opponent under the ball, either able to spoil or mark the ball. So Brisbane will be aware of that matchup with Logan Morris. Morris loves to hit up at the ball, so that's going to force Cal Wilkie out of his comfort zone that he has to go with Logan Morris all day.
Talk about high achievers at a young age. This guy's 20. Was a leading goal kicker in a premiership year. Kicked 53 goals.
And he's undersized for a key position player. He's 192.
Kicked 3 goals, 2 in opening round, and then had that fractured hand. He's back today, Logan Morris, and he's hitting the scoreboard. He's got Brisbane's first goal 4 minutes into the second term. And it's just a 2-point game in a match dominated by the Hinds. 1-7 to 1-5. St Kilda still in front just. 2-point game, 4 minutes played, second quarter. Saturday footy on ABC Sport. Luke Paul, Adam Ramanauskas.
Good finish, Rama. And they just needed their key forward to go back and kick a goal, didn't they? And just get on the board and just settle things down a little bit. That'll disappoint the St Kilda coaching staff. That was a slow play. It was a switch. It was a double switch, really. The Lions using their kick mark, but really the slow play enabled 18 St Kilda players to get behind the footy. And so it was a beautiful kick by Jared Berry, but he found way too big a pocket of space, 25 metres out directly in front, and that forced the panic. Yeah, just looking at Ross now, really frustrated because that pocket of space should have been taken up by St Kilda mid or a ruckman even getting back, and in the end Morris wins the free kick.
Back underway in the middle, it's not coming out. Hodgie.
Just keeping an eye on Liam Stocker from the Saints, Benny. The doctor has been out after that stoppage from the goal just to check on him. After that, he was crashed in that first passage of play in this term. The doctor has left him alone, so he must be clearly okay.
Thanks, Hodgie. Great work down there. The Lions winning it on the wing. Levi Ashcroft away to Rayner. Kicks dangerously into the corridor. Works out. Zach Bailey marks. Gets rid of it to Zorko. Kicks up the middle. Berry takes it. He can give it off. Running by Fletcher. Fletcher kicks into the pocket. Looking for Oscar Allen. Dougal Howard could have marked. Elected to spoil. Punched it out. And a throw-in coming 35 around from the attacking goal for Brisbane. The Lockett end doing all of the attacking at the moment.
Love to see a defender just back himself and mark that, Remmer. Been out of the side, Dougal. First game back, so probably a little bit rusty. Low on confidence, but back yourself in and mark that uncontested mark.
Saints by 2. DeConey palms it down. Here's Filippo. Beats 1, beats 2. Gets it out of defence for St Kilda. Tumbles a kick up the wing. No one touched it. Last disposal out of bounds. Brisbane free.
It's actually what gets you back out of the team. You know, the coaches then look at that, go, well, he hasn't got the confidence to go and take that mark.
Answorth across the ground to Leicester. He's going to go all the way back to Fletcher, and the switch is on here as Darcy Gardner's all alone. Oh, the kick misses him. Gardner's got plenty of time to go and pick it up. Saints by 2 points. Lacklustre start, 6 minutes into the second term. Gardner down to half forward, over the head of his intended target in Allen. Cameron keeps it alive, paddles into his own advantage inside 50. Ran out of room, down to a throw-in forward pocket for the Lions.
Kilda leading by 2 points. Saturday footy on ABC Sport. Round 3 from Docklands. 4:50 stoppage here for Brisbane. The Koning taking it out of the ruck. Gets a handball away to Garcia. Tackled there by Will Ashcroft. Zorko demonstratively appealing for holding the ball.
Doing some umpiring.
Yeah, flapping his arms like he's about to take off.
He'll be a good umpire when he retires, Zorks. You reckon?
Got a bit of
chamber about him, doesn't he?
No doubt.
He's got a bit of chamber about him. Settle down, please.
We don't talk to each other like that. The Koning palming it down, coming through. Wanganeen Malera onto it beautifully. Rayner, left foot shot on goal. This would be special. Goes to the line. And it's there.
Oh,
they missed it on the line. Oh, it's hit the post.
No, he's paid a free kick.
Oh.
Right.
Yeah,
the goal umpire was signalling behind. They were hitting their chest as well, but the free kick supersedes that. St Kilda by 2 points.
The ball bounced up and hit the post off the deck, but as Dennis Cometti would say, the third of two options in the end as Brisbane win it back at high half forward. Levi Ashcroft, handball away towards Morris, short kick, turns it over. Sinclair, likewise. Brisbane back the other way. Berry to Bailey, now to Charlie Cameron against the boundary for Allen. What a kick from Charlie Cameron. Up against the fence, kicks it back to full forward, and Allen takes the mark full stretch.
Silvani was going to the goal square, and then Charlie Cameron just pulled that kick back to Oscar Allen, just right at the top of the goal square. So Silvani had to quickly try to change direction. Kick was just simply too good.
Big story of the off-season, of course, Oscar Allen. Perhaps it was one of the quieter stories of the trade period, given it was so well forecast a long way out.
And that's the sort of delivery he's been missing
Yeah.
in the last couple of years at the Eagles.
And what can he do on the end of this two-time premiership winning team? Oscar Allen makes it 3 goals in 3 games. And his new teammates rush to him. And the former West Coast skipper puts the Lions in front. 2-5-17, St Kilda 1-7-13. We are 9 minutes into the second term. Brisbane by 4 points. Lead change number 1, Saturday footy on ABC Sport.
Well, it's amazing, isn't it? We had Oscar Allen change teams as a captain. We had Jack Steele change teams as a captain. That never happened in the past. We just live in a different era now of player movement where pretty much your entire list is available at the right price. There might be 1 or 2 that are untouchable, but he was the prodigy at West Coast when he came through with Josh Kennedy as the understudy and Jack Darling, and it looked like he was going to carry that West Coast forward line for many years to come. You know, Brisbane were licking their lips when he wanted to come to them.
Out of the middle, Will Ashcroft coughs it up. Nasai Wanganeen Malera gets rid of it to half forward, hits the deck, picked up by Hall, off to Wood, flying shot on goal, left-hand side of the goalpost. So a minor score. Lions lead by 2 points, just on Oscar Allen as well, Rammer. He was the emergency for that 2018 grand final if Jeremy McGovern didn't get up.
Yep.
He didn't, famously. Started that chain that led to the goal for Dom Sheed.
Quickly up to the wing. Link McCarthy had it, lost it. Wood collects, hand passes, he slips over to Wanganeen Millera. Garcia clever, just a little tap to the path of Flanders. Shakes a would-be tackle from Bailey. Settles from 50 out, kicks for Cooper Sharman. Bounces off his chest, follows up. Sharman almost slipped. Third goal at it. Snaps and goals. Saints back on top. And now the goals are starting to flow. St Kilda, they move to 2-8. They lead Brisbane, who are 2-5, 11 minutes into the second term. Lead change number 2, Saints by 3.
Well, it was just a big contest win from Sam Flanders and really strong through the hips. That was part of the attraction, getting him across or getting him down from the Suns, of course. High draft pick, has a reasonably quiet start to the game, and Zach Bailey will want that moment again. It was a pretty poor attempt at tackle. In fact, there was a few from the Lions players, just little signs that they're not quite on. Again, Sharman stepping around Gardner, stepping around Jasper Fletcher, and then kicking the easy goal, but all started with some strong one-on-one work from Sam Flanders across half forward. Centre bounces are interesting, aren't they? Just even that little tweak to the ruck, it feels like teams are going to score so much more heavily out of them, so we'll keep an eye on that today.
I saw Collingwood do that last night.
Yep.
I think it was 4-3-27 out of...
Yeah, there's no other change to it, really, is it? It's just about kind of ruckman maybe having the ability to position it more down their midfielder's throat or out into space, I think, where their mids can run onto it.
Yeah, the centre hoist this year and the ruck rule. And no bounce, just straight up, and the ruck's unable to cross halfway. Kadeem Coleman winning the footy in the middle. All in the scrimmage here, though. Eventually, St Kilda pinch it. Wilson to De Koning. Handball into the mark. Picked off there by the Lions. Will Ashcroft taken high. Free kick. Going the way of the young Lions star. Centres it with the short kick for Darcy Gardner. St Kilda by 3 points. Last goal of the game.
Gardner to Will Ashcroft. Kicks laterally out towards the wing. Taken out there by Dunkley, who just pokes the kick back to Answorth. Dunkley, of course, one of 3 co-captains this year. Harris Andrews still out suspended. And the third of them also out. Hugh McCluggage still missing through injury. Across the half-back line to Gallup. Goes long to half-forward. Caught at the back, McCarthy. Gave away the freeze. He drags down Stocker. Bowman wanted to take the advantage, but... Oh, that's a dangerous kick. Stocker across the half-back line. Tried to feed it to Windhager. Got it to him by hand eventually. Windhager fumbles. Coleman goes and collects. Hand pass over his shoulder to Bailey. Half forward for Brisbane. Shakes a tackle. Shakes 2. Gives it to McCarthy from the pocket. Trying to bend it through. He's offline. Misses far side. 8 behind.
Jeez.
2-point game. 2-8 to 2-6. 13 minutes into the second. Saints by 2.
Ordinary decision by Stocker. Windhager certainly wasn't on. And it certainly wasn't going to be 15 metres.
Saints down the city wing. Long kick from Wood towards the contest. Broken up there by the Lions. Will Ashcroft knocks it down. Answorth back to Will. He gives it to Dunkley. Kick up to half forward for the Lions. Wilkie. The wall of Wilkie again, as he so often is, defending there for St Kilda. His short kick, not 15. Zach Bailey tackles. And the umpire crosses himself, says, let me have it.
They're onto it, aren't they? Yeah. Red hot on the 15. I like it. It's good. I mean, both teams trying to move the ball with short kick and mark. So the umpire's right onto it there, and that was a good call.
From the restart, comes off the bonce of Draper. Knocks down towards Phillippo. Hand pass a turnover. Here's Fletcher for Brisbane. Handball off to Leicester. Hurriedly kicks it inside 50 for Brisbane. Bowled out of the way, McCarthy. Gets a go off the deck. Collects. Tackled. Lost it. Saints win it. Stocker, hand pass, turnover. Levi Ashcroft gives it to Morris. Morris pokes the kick to Coleman, who finds some space and marks in front of the behind post.
The ability to stand up in a tackle, Remmer, so important these days, and shake a tackle. Both teams have been able to do it the last 5 or 10 minutes, but certainly the last couple of forays forward, it felt like the Saints had their opponents cold in the tackle. And
well, I think that was a free kick.
Yeah, it was.
And then Stocker took the advantage with a... I don't know what that handball was.
Coleman casually, so casual, didn't make the distance. Kicking from in front of the behind post, 15 out, snapped across the body, and it was marked on the goal line by Windhager, trying to exit. Sharman gives it back. Brisbane still going. Levi Ashcroft to Morris, kicks to full forward, and Wilkie takes it. Gee, this is error-riddled. 2 behinds the Saints lead. The kick finds Butler on the back flank.
Handball away to Sinclair. Short kick, just short of the logo for Marshall. He'll turn and kick long, looking for Liam Ryan, arriving late, Gallup. Ryan holds on to it.
Hate it. Oh, it's a great effort because it looked like Gallup had made the ground, hadn't he? That's a mark.
55 out from goal. Liam Ryan veers out to his right, chisels it into the pocket. Wilmot low down. Marks it in the back pocket for Brisbane. And St Kilda have learnt their lessons as well. A near carbon copy of that Kadeem Coleman snap against Melbourne. They had no one on the line. There's the kick here from Wilmot. He's nearly a cold turnover. It is in the end picked up by Ryan. Short to Wangane Malera. Snaps across the body and misses narrow. If anybody could, you'd think it'd be Naz. But he misses.
It's actually very difficult to call because there's so many turnovers that it's like, this team's got it and that team's got the ball. It's sort of
mistake-riddled game at the moment.
St Kilda by 3 points, quarter-hour mark, second term.
It'll be hard to watch and listen to as well for those of you out there. Saturday footy on ABC Sport, 2-9, plays 2-6.
Well, I think you hear all the moans from the crowd in the effects mic. That's just because there's so many mistakes for both teams at the moment.
Levi Ashcroft short to Bailey, has it on the back flank. Saturday footy on ABC Sport. Corbin Middlemass, Ben Cameron, Tim Hodges on the boundary. Adam Ramanauskas, Luke Ball, our premiership pair. Bailey short, not the required distance. Levi Ashcroft hands it back to Bailey, kicks Brisbane down to half forward. Draper flies for it, falls out the back to Morris. They got a man free downhill, it's Allen. He marks uncontested. Reveals open in the corridor. Oscar Allen says, pump the brakes. I'm going to have a look from a similar spot where Coleman didn't make the distance moments ago. 15 out, left forward pocket.
I think that's just the confidence thing, Benny. You're looking at us going, should have played on. But he's missed a lot of football, Oscar Allen. So I think any opportunity he gets to have a set shot at goal, he needs to take at the moment.
There's only been 4 goal kickers in the game, and he's one of them. So he may as well have a look. With 15 behind scored, Oscar Allen knows how to kick him. Hooks it through for his second. And Brisbane retake the lead. 3 lead changes in the quarter. The lead has swung on the last 3 goals. 17 minutes into the second term. Brisbane 3-6, St Kilda 2-9. Saturday footy on ABC Sport. Our premiership pair, Adam Ramanauskas, Luke Ball.
So you really flip it around this quarter, Bally. So St Kilda are only kicking out 52%. So they're just giving the ball back to the Lions at the moment. Inside 50s for the quarter, 10-5 in Brisbane's favour. So starting to sort of do the damage on the scoreboard now. 3 goals 1 to 1 goal 2 for the quarter. But you look at it, just starting to notice that Brisbane's talls just starting to get a little bit of dominance in the air. Draper didn't mark that ball, but he brings it straight to ground. And it's Logan Morris at the feet, who usually is flying for the football. So just a bit of aerial dominance now for the Lions.
Gardner into the ruck. Marshall in there for St Kilda. He comes down with it and kicks out wide. Hill marks between the edge of the square and the logo. Bradley Hill kicks inside 50. Coming across Ainsworth, hands to it, comes down for Fletcher. He's wrapped up immediately by Owens. Lions by 3 points, 18 minutes into the second term. Umpire puts it up. Slapping it down, Sharman. Zorko sharks it, rushes a kick beyond defensive 50. In they go. Dunkley always at the bottom of the pack. Flanders in there too. The umpire gets them to their feet to ball it up. Saturday footy on ABC Sport, round 3 from Docklands.
Fort. The 2-time premiership ruckman wins it down. Filippo tumbles a kick inside 50. Ryan on the end of it. Tumbles a kick to full forward. Naz waiting out the back for some reason. And Berry's in front of him. Grabs it. Kicks it long to half back but turns it over. Marshall takes the intercept mark. 3-point lead for Brisbane. 19 gone in the second.
Yeah, resting deep forward. Wanganeen Miller. Berry goes with him.
Let's see if he can get a ride here as Marshall just lays it up into the pocket. Offhand spills out the back to Ainsworth, who's there for Brisbane. And pass away to Berry. Runs in the defensive goal square. Runs a long way and then gets a long kick out to half-back. Charlie Cameron's got a bit to do. Does extremely well. 2-on-1. Forced it out of the hands of
not well enough.
Windhager illegally. So chopped the arms.
Maybe too high.
Hodgie, we normally ask Ray Chamberlain about free kicks. Did you think that was there?
Yeah, it was there. Yeah.
Windhager drives the Saints back into the pocket. Pack forms and Sharman stands in the pack and clunks it. 25 metres out, very tight angle, left forward pocket.
He's got the grippo on today, Cooper Sharman.
Look, he's had, even the second half of last year, I thought he was pretty good, Cooper Sharman. So, again, another undersized forward, but he can certainly mark the ball.
Deep in the left forward pocket, right foot snap is good. Cometh the moment, cometh Sharman. St Kilda by 3 points. 3-9-27 place, 3-6-24. Time on second term.
Well, and it's on down here, and there's a Brisbane Lions player on all fours being attended to by a trainer. I must admit I had my eyes on the Sharman celebration and that
very
brilliant sort of play on words from our caller. Who's that? No, he's up now.
Berry, who was down.
Berry's down. Yeah.
Holding his neck, so trying to protect, presumably Nasai Wanganeen Malira. They've gone after Berry and someone's got him.
Yeah, well, there's no free kick, so either the umpire has missed it or there wasn't enough in it. Let's have a look if we can spot it on the replay. Oh, that's
Liam
how can the umpire, he was standing
He's
right
right
there,
there.
miss that?
Free kick.
You cannot do that. I'm telling you that Liam Ryan will get. He might get a week for that.
What did he do, Ball?
He ran up behind him. It's terrible.
Oh, now Berry and
come
Masara
on.
going at it in the goal square, and they've paid a free kick. Berry's now been bundled over. Free kick will go to Brisbane in the middle.
Okay. I thought that was going to go the other way, but that's dangerous from Liam Ryan.
So Ford gets the free, kicks inside the forward 50. Coleman juggled effort, not to be. Ball spills out, comes the way of Bailey. Bailey can't trap it. Falls over to Loman. This game's gone up a notch. Picked up here by Draper. Gang tackled. Umpire says holding the ball. Free kick going against Draper and the Lions. And the Saints will get it in the defensive 50.
Red hot too. Umpire's going to control this one. Luckily, Berry looks okay, but that's dangerous. The whiplash effect there. When you get bumped in the back.
It's not tough at all.
It's really poor.
Filippo long to the wing, punched away by Gallup out of play. So did the umpire
protect your teammate? Stand up for him.
The umpire was right there.
So he
saw it.
So what? He'd already signalled the free kick.
Just let it go.
Or did they see it on the big screen like everyone else?
No. The umpire just let it
actually.
go.
Yeah, because I didn't see what happened down
Jarman
there.
was kicking the ball as that happened.
How do we have, essentially a rule change or an enforcement during the week noted that if you rub someone's hair, it's going to be high contact, and yet we have that happen and the umpire doesn't pay a free kick. St Kilda win it back on the logo. Hugo Garcia feeding back a handball away to Owens. Back to Garcia, back to Owens. Now some go forward. Kicks up towards Taru. Wide out of bounds on the full. St Kilda by 3 points. The crowd's got into this one, Hedgehog, haven't they?
Thank you, Ben. Yes, Jack Sinclair just went at his teammate Hugo Garcia for not giving it to him. It was as loud as I've ever seen any player go at his own teammate there.
Zorko turns it over middle of the ground. Hall got a hand pass away to his teammate, who's then tackled, taken the ground, and the ump says holding the ball. Didn't release it in all of that. Jack Carroll, and a free kick for Cameron. Carroll with out of disposal so far. Short kick from Cameron. Finds Zorko. Zorko looks into the forward pocket. Rayner leaps up. Nice work, Silvani. Punches it out of play. Throw in half forward for the Lions. Tim Hodges on the boundary.
Yeah, so Hugo Garcia went backwards to Mitch Owen there, put Owens immediately under pressure. He kicked it out on the full when Jack Sinclair was in the middle of the ground clear. So Sinclair, who's now one of the captains of the club, went at him verbally. So it was really filthy with him for not coming inboard to him.
Thanks, Hodgie. Slapping it down. Tom de Koning back towards the boundary line. Onto it, Rayner wins it for Brisbane. Handball back infield to Dunkley. To Levi Ashcroft. Flying shot, a goal. It all started with Cam Rayner, who kept it in when everyone thought it was going out and fired a beautiful handball. And the Lions, they snatched back the lead. 3 points to the good, 4-6-30. Face 3-9-27. Luke Ball, Adam Ramanaskas.
Well, if they weren't happy with Hugo Garcia before, they're going to be even less happy now. So should have taken that ball across the line for another throw-in, but he chose not to. And Rainey was good enough then to snatch the ball away, get it back inboards for an Ashcroft goal. So yeah, a couple of little errors there from young Garcia. I don't love the Sinclair spray to a young player, because Mitch Owen just simply kicked the ball out in the full after that. But yeah, that was certainly a mistake there by Garcia.
You know what we say about that player feedback in good teams? It's honest conversations. In bad teams, it's infighting. So it depends how it all shapes up on that front. Out of the middle, Neal got a hand pass away for Brisbane to Zorko. Long kick inside the forward 50 to full forward. Howard trying to cover across. Crashes the pack. Ball spills down to Fort. Handball to McCarthy. Trying to hook it through. Misses near side. And behind. Lead has swung on the last 5 goals in the game. Brisbane by 4.
I just don't see what's to gain by just giving a spray like that. You're better off in a moment where you can have a quiet word to him. Say, hey, I was open in the middle of the ground.
As someone that's given a few to Ben over the years, it feels good. I'll tell you that much. Tim Hodges on the boundary, Hodgie.
Just keeping an eye on Mitch Owen. So he did kick that ball out on the full. I think his mind's on other things. We spoke about his hand before. I thought it was a dislocated finger. He's had the strapping taken off. I think maybe it's a crack in the finger or maybe the hand. He's in real pain. I think he'd be subbed out of this game if we still had a sub. So he's with both doctors at the moment.
St Kilda quickly down the city wing, work it inside 50. Wilson over the top to Ryan, whacks it through. Lead swings again. 2 for Ryan and a 6th lead change of this match. St Kilda by 2 points. They went whooshka down that City wing. 4-9-33, plays 4-7-31, 26 into the second.
Yeah, went whooshka, capitalised on the drop mark. Noah Ainsworth, who again missed a lot of footage, a little bit rusty, just ran under it in the end and should have taken a pretty easy uncontested mark and let the ball over the back, and the Saints were off to the races and had the spare forward of the ball, as we see so often. And in the end, Liam Ryan almost went to, had Wanganeen Miller over the top, didn't he? But took it upon himself to kick the goal. So a little bit of momentum in the game, isn't there? Goal for goal in this last little period here of the second quarter.
Paulie, we've heard from Paul in Torquay again on the SMS. My apologies, gents. Such a terrible game. Can we go back to talking about the jumper clash again? From Paul, 0437 774 774. The game has picked up since then as Ford kicks inside the forward 50. Offhand, spills down to Cameron. And the speed wobbles, just overrun it, trying to collect the footy. Falls down towards Dunkley, tried to give it back to Cameron. They've coughed it up. Wilkie gives it to Carroll, his first disposal. Hand pass to Hill, kicks out of defence to Naz. And Messiah marks at half back. Got a hand pass away towards Flanders. Back to Wanganeen Miller. 27 gone in the second term. Saints by 2. His kick a turnover. Leicester for Brisbane. Across the ground finds Rayner. The lead has swung on the last 6 goals in the game. Short kick to Will Ashcroft. Tries to measure it through the middle of the ground to Wilmot, who marks, lays a handball away towards Zorko, goes deep for Charlie Cameron, threw his hand back, looking to take a one-hander, not to be out of play. Saturday footy on ABC Sport. Our premiership pair, Adam Ramanauskas, Luke Ball, Corbin Middlemass and Ben Cameron calling the footy. Tim Hodges on the boundary. Hodgie.
No, I got nothing for you, Corbin, sorry.
Sorry. I hope you own this one.
Oh, talk about hospital handballs.
Ben looked at me and pointed down to Hodgie.
And I threw blame as well.
I just meant don't forget Hodgie on the boundary. As Will Ashcroft swoops onto the footy and kicks it out of bounds on the floor.
You know what?
I'm about to be Hugo Garcia and Corbin's about to be Jack Sinclair.
At least Hodgie was honest.
This is not like the Friday night team. We all look out for each other. The Saturday sniping team, I love it.
Ben pointed to the bench. I thought, gee, I must have missed it. Hodgie's got something.
Always have something up your sleeve, Hodgie. You never know when you're going to get thrown to.
Don't make it up, Hodgie. Just be honest. I like it.
Hill on the back flank. Short to Sinclair. 2-point game. Saints lead. 28 minutes gone in the second. Long kick to the wing. Finds Carroll, who's got it, the former Blue. Long kick down to half forward. Oh, nice work. Butler as he edges. Gallop underneath the footy. Takes the intercept. Takes the mark. Looks inside 50. Trying to link up with Tom DeConey. Not to be. Spills down towards Ryan. Was he taken high? Says yes. Free kick for Liam Ryan. He's been central to a whole lot of action in this first half. He kicked the first goal of the game. He kicked the last, and now he's got a chance to make it 3.
I think it was there. He certainly made sure the umpire saw it. But, errant tackle from Ainsworth, who's just made a few blues this quarter. Noah Ainsworth. Took his second in a row here, Ryan.
He's pretty good on the chewing gum when he plays too, Liam Ryan.
I never understood that.
Yeah.
Playing chewing gum.
He's a pro at it. He's got a couple already. The Premiership Eagle. Liam Ryan on the drop punt. He's now got 3. And he's having a day out in his new colours. And St Kilda restore a little 8-point break. As it was at quarter time, the Saints 5-9. They lead Brisbane, the 2-time reigning premiers, 4-7. We are half an hour into the second term. Much more entertaining one. It is St Kilda by 8 points. Saturday footy on ABC Sport.
Yeah, so he's right in the game, Rammer, isn't he? But he's kicking them in different ways. I mean, the first quarter it was the one over the back that probably should have gone to Higgins. In the end, he gets a bit lucky. He gets on the end of one here off a line's mistake in transition and kicks one from 10 metres out. And that time, just getting into the right position at the fall of the ball and winning it and winning the free kick, forcing the errant tackle. So we know how hard it can be as a small forward at times in this game. 3 goals and a half of footy. That's a terrific return.
4 goals apiece in the second. Restart in the middle, slapping it down Gardner, but onto it Flanders. St Kilda inside 50 again. Long kick off the hands of the pack. Gallop cleans up for the boys in the old Fitzroy colours. Sweeps a handball. Hill there though. Saints with it again. Off to Ryan, who's been busy. Back feeds it to De Koning. Left foot kick towards the goal mouth. Up they go. And Gardner's back there juggling the mark. on the last line of defence for Brisbane. St Kilda by 8 points, 30 and a half minutes into the second term.
I don't know why they're booing Jared Berry.
He's been involved in the Barney, of course, with Naz for most of the day. He also got a bit of whiplash from Liam Ryan just clattering into his back when he wasn't aware of that.
Yeah, talk about that at half-time.
Short kick to Levi Ashcroft, who goes long to the wing, and now we've got a pack which forms on that City wing at the drop of the footy. Sinclair tackled by Dunkley. Are we thinking Levi Ashcroft, is he a natural blonde, or has he put a fair bit of rinse through that?
Bit of lemon juice.
Yeah, I know his brother obviously has at different times in Will, but if not, he's very regular with it. I'll give him that, Levi. He's had it since day one.
Brisbane's son.
Yeah,
yes.
Yeah, maybe a bit of both.
Okay. Free kick going Brisbane's way. Fought to take it for the ruck infringement, and that'll do us. So a quarter of footy, which had 6 lead changes, ends as it started. So Saints carried in an 8-point lead into the second term, and they lead by the same margin at the half. St Kilda 5-9-39, the Brisbane Lions 4-7-31. Half-time at Docklands, Saturday footy on ABC Sport. A double dipper here today. There's a game tonight between Essendon and North Melbourne. There's only 3 games on the Saturday slate, sandwiched in between over in Perth, with 35 mil of rain expected. Fremantle and Richmond. The goal kickers, Liam Ryan's got 3 and Cooper Sharman's got 2. So only 2 goal kickers for the Saints. They've got all 5 between them. Meanwhile, for the Brisbane Lions, 2 for Oscar Allen and 1 for Levi Ashcroft and Logan Morris. I don't know if I'm getting older, but I feel like the PA is getting louder. The Saturday afternoon here at Docklands with the roof on. Holy smokes, it's loud. 8-point lead for the Saints over the Lions. Half-time Saturday footy on ABC Sport. Adam Ramanauskas and Luke Ball with their take on that half of footy.
Well, look, certainly an ordinary first quarter of football, but you look at that second quarter there, 8 goals are kicked in that quarter. So both teams really got their offence going in that quarter of football. Brisbane really, it was sort of 3-1 in that quarter before St Kilda got going. Then it was 3-1 late in that quarter also to St Kilda's way. I like when Brisbane started to move the ball, and I wrote down their aerial strength. So Draper was flying for marks. Logan Morris was flying for marks. Oscar Allen was moving really well inside forward 50. So I think as the game wears on a little bit, that just might be a little bit of the Achilles heel for St Kilda. Dougal Howard looks out of confidence. You know, he spoils instead of taking a mark. Cal Wilkie's always been an undersized defender, but he's been so good at it. But other than that, they don't have really that much height out there. Going forward to the ball, it's interesting with Naz. So I love the idea of keeping your best players on the ground. But I think putting out full forward also gives him the excuse to not work as hard as he probably needs to inside forward 50. So rather than plonking him in the goal square, why don't you put him 30 metres out from goal, where he really then has to sort of fight like a half-forward flanker. Like you look at down the other end what Lohman, Zach Bailey, Link McCarthy are doing. They're getting their hands on the ball. Naz in the goal square, I don't think has been really effective.
But then he may as well come off the ground, yeah? Like, why don't you just give him a rest and then put him back in the guts?
Oh, I just think it upsets a lot of their structure when he does go forward. Sharman's been doing a pretty good job for him down there. He's taken a couple of marks, kicked the goal himself. So I think you can rest without resting, if you sort of get what I mean. You're still got to be in the game. I think him sitting in the goal square, he just sits in the goal square. So maybe that's something that Ross can look at half-time. Hugo Garcia's doing a really good job on Lachie Neale. Lachie Neale only had the 3 touches in that quarter, and then for the half, he's only had the 5 for the game. So,
wow.
Yep, okay, Garcia may have made a few blues in that second quarter as we spoke about, but in terms of the job that he's doing on Lachie Neale, he's doing it really well. Wanganeen Miller has had the 17 for the half. Jared Berry's had him for company. I've seen Naz play a lot better halves of football than that. So I think Chris Fagan walks in and goes, yep, okay, we'll stick with that sort of matchup. It's a hard one to toy because there's been just so many mistakes in this game. It's been mistake-ridden. Back end of that quarter, St Kilda start to get on top a little bit with a bit of ball movement. But I think I'm hoping for greater heights in the second half, Paulie.
Yeah, the Lions are playing like a team that are a month behind in a sense, getting obviously, and that stands to reason, coming off a second premiership and long campaign, they've just looked a bit rusty and sloppy at times, and some of their players have missed a fair bit of footy. It's interesting, isn't it? Just the footy that we've seen in the first 3 weeks of the season, and the best footy in particular has been really high handball, run and gun sort of play, hasn't it? Rebound off half-back. You look at the Lions, and we know that's... And they've got modes to their game, clearly, but we know that's not their one look. They like to play kick and mark and keep things off and work the ball forward and attack and use their foot skills. And it's 1 to 2. 2 to 1 kick to handball ratio. So we're just not used to seeing that from other teams across the competition. In fact, both teams, the Saints to an extent too, have been able to do that and take what the Lions have given them. So it's been a really high uncontested mark game. Both teams on track for well over 100 uncontested marks in this first half. So I think that's really meant that it hasn't been, as you said, Cor, been tough for the competition. Been sloppy and haven't had a lot of flow in the game. Both teams haven't attacked with any sort of real fluency. You mentioned Neil, down on possessions. I think Ashcroft's got going a little bit that quarter, and whatever stoppages they were, the Lions certainly started to get on top. They've had 20 clearances to 11. So even though we spoke about De Koning's being imposing in that centre bounce, the Lions have been able to get their hands on the footy a little bit more when there has been a stoppage. But a lacklustre first half of footy. Having said that, if you're a Saints supporter or a coach, you're not coming along here today to get involved in a shootout, are you, against this Brisbane Lions team? So in a sense, it's probably played out pretty well for them, albeit that the Lions, they're 25 inside 50s each, so the Lions have had chances. They just haven't looked fluent at all, and they've looked really clunky going forward. So if you're a Saints supporter and a Saints coach, you're absolutely happy with where things are at in the first half.
Stay there, Bawley and Rammer. 8-point lead for the Saints at half-time. Jared Berry spoke with Eddie Betts on Fox Footy as the teams went off at half-time. Here's a little of what he had to say.
You guys down here with Jared Berry, mate. You've got the toughest opponent on the ground. How's that been?
Yeah, no, he's certainly hard to get hold of. He's a slippery bugger, but I don't think you can stop guys like that. You just got to nullify their influence as much as you can. And I think a lot of his possessions are out wide. He's got me a clearance a couple of times, so just tidy up on that.
Is the instructions to go with him wherever he goes, on the ground, forward, back, and mid, all over?
Mainly defensive, so just make it hard for him.
So that's what we got. That was Jared Berry speaking at halftime to Eddie Betts. No mention of the incident with Liam Ryan, but it certainly caught your attention, Bawley, in that quarter.
It did, Cor, but I didn't like it. And the reason I say that, I've still got a sore neck, 20 or 15 years on from an incident. It was a pre-season game, actually. I was against my old team, and an old teammate got me from behind. Now,
name names.
Dave Armitage, and I've told him about it in the past. Anyway, when you get hit in the back like that with reasonable force, the whiplash effect, as I said, I've still got neck issues from it. Now, there's obviously no hard feelings, and we're mates and everything, but I just don't like that. Stick up for your teammate. No, it's not tough at all, but you've got to, getting a player from behind when he's not ready for it at all is really dangerous. So Liam Ryan's certainly got. It's a shame because he's been one of, if not the best player, the most effective player on the ground in this first half. Liam Ryan, he's kicked 3 goals and been involved in a few others. But
is it reportable?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah,
I
absolutely.
think
I actually think
a fine.
Yeah, at the very least, he'd be lucky to get a fine.
I have been big. I totally agree with what you're saying, and I love it because I think there's similar instances. I don't like it when someone runs someone down from behind and they're face down in the dirt and the player shoves them hard in the back. It's the same sort of thing. We saw it earlier today. Jack Silvani got, I think it was Zach Bailey, and just shoved him needlessly in the back. I mean, he's defenceless in that position. Yeah. I think it's the same sort of thing. I think
all for supporting your team, mate, but eyeball.
That's right.
You can't do it that way.
In the front, not in the back.
Yeah.
Quick ones off the SMS. Chris says, "G'day, fellas. Always love the call, but geez, this is sounding like a very ordinary game. What's going on?" From Simon in Adelaide, the hoist was long overdue. Mark Murphy's been big on no more centre bounce. We should call it the centre hoist. The Rucks have far more certainty as to where the ball will be in order to tap. The bounce had too much leeway. Great rule changes this year from Simon. Thanks, Simon. And also on the jumpers, by bagging majority white jumpers, you're getting all Victorian Swans supporters offside. Certainly not what I'm trying to do. That's an exception to the rule.
Yeah, that's always been their colour.
That's their traditional jumper, the South Melbourne jumper. I'm happy with that. I'm talking about clash strips where teams without a lot of imagination just go, right, we need a clash strip, let's just make it white and put a logo on the front or whatever. So that's what I meant by that. So apologies to all the Bloods out there, the old South Melbourne fans. Tough time here at Docklands. Saturday footy of round 3 is underway. This is ABC Sport. Second half is only moments away with the Saints 8 points on top. In the interim, let's see what's happening in the ABC newsroom.
ABC News with Satyam Weinstein. US President Donald Trump is continuing to insist that negotiations are underway with Iran to end the war in the Middle East. Iran denies any talks are underway, though Pakistan says it's acting as a mediator. It comes as Mr. Trump again extended a deadline for the reopening of the Strait of Hormuz until April 6, saying Tehran had asked for a grace period. Mr. Trump says Iran's been all but destroyed and is desperate to end the war.
Remember this, they lied about 3 days ago. I said, yeah, we're negotiating with Israel. We are not negotiating. They're being hit so hard, anybody would be negotiating. They are negotiating. They're begging to make a deal. They're begging to make a deal.
US officials say the personal email account of the FBI chief, Kash Patel, has been compromised. An Iranian-linked hacker group has claimed responsibility for the breach. Photos of Mr. Patel, work correspondence and what appears to be his CV have been published online. Australia will underwrite the delivery of additional cargoes of fuel to Australia to ease supply shortages. Prime Minister Anthony Albanese says the government's in discussions with suppliers to source additional fuel on the international market. Labor will introduce legislation into Parliament on Monday, seeking to grant the government new fuel security powers to underwrite shipments that might otherwise be too expensive. The legislation will involve changes to the Export Finance and Insurance Corporation Act, allowing the government to underwrite the extra cargoes. In WA, the Shire of Exmouth President Matthew Nicola says residents woke up this morning to a war zone after ex-tropical cyclone Narelle passed through the town yesterday. More than 2,700 homes and businesses were left without power from Port Hedland to Carnarvon, including 1,250 in Exmouth. Mr. Nicola says helicopters from Horizon Power are on their way from Karratha to try to fix the grid.
Currently, we have no power through the town because the grid is down. There's a lot of power lines, so not many people in Exmouth will be listening because we don't have radio. Like all the transmitters and everything are down as well.
Meanwhile, Pilbara Reports says there's been significant asset damage in its general cargo precinct in Dampier, suspending all general cargo import operations. The Dampier cargo wharf and adjacent floating deck facility are inoperable due to damage from ex-tropical cyclone Narelle. The Port of Dampier reopened this morning, but access is currently restricted to key personnel. The Port of Ashburton near Onslow will remain closed until it's safe for teams to inspect the facility. A surf club on the New South Wales south coast has been damaged by giant swells in the early hours of this morning. Surf lifesavers in the Illawarra region say 4 to 5 metre swells have damaged roller door at the Thirroul Surf Club, which allowed water in overnight. Anthony Turner from Surf Lifesaving New South Wales says the ocean has inundated entire beaches in the Illawarra region and people should stay out of the water.
The high tide at this morning at 5 o'clock inundated some of the parts of the surf club and run down around the back of the surf club, a lot of sand and water. So it's the power of Mother Nature with that swell and large high tide, and it's just impacted a lot of our beaches.
Former world number 1 golfer Tiger Woods has been charged with a DUI following a crash in the U.S. state of Florida. Chantal El-Khoury reports.
The 50-year-old was arrested and charged with driving under the influence after he crashed into another vehicle, causing his car to roll over. The golfer blew 0 on a breathalyzer test but refused a urine test. Sheriff John Button-Sykes says investigators believe he was impaired by drug or medication.
And so he's been charged with DUI, with property damage and refusal to submit to a lawful test.
No serious injuries were reported. His last speeding crash in 2021 led to serious leg and ankle injuries. Chantal El-Khoury, ABC News, Washington.
A manhunt is underway for a prisoner who escaped a low-security correctional facility in Queensland's Scenic Rim. 35-year-old Nathan Kendrick absconded from the Pellan Creek low-security correctional facility at Rathdowney earlier today. He's serving a 14-year and 7-month sentence for aggravated robbery. He has numerous distinctive tattoos, including a 1991 tattoo on his cheeks. Anyone who's seen the man is being urged not to approach him and to contact police. And police are appealing for witnesses after a suspicious fire at Blackrock in Melbourne South. Emergency services were called to the fire on a business at Tulip Street near George Street about 2:30 yesterday morning. The blaze destroyed the building. No one was inside at the time of the fire. You're up to date with the latest from ABC News.
Get your footy fix with ABC AFL Daily Podcast. Corbin Middlemass and Ben Cameron are joined by a cast of AFL legends to pull apart the biggest stories in Aussie rules. Search for the ABC AFL Daily Podcast on ABC Listen.
This is the 2026 AFL Premiership season with ABC Sport.
Bailey kicks Brisbane down to half forward. Draper flies for it, falls out the back to Morris. They got a man free downhill. It's Allen. He marks uncontested. Reveals open in the corridor. Oscar Allen says, pump the brakes. I'm going to have a look. Oscar Allen knows how to kick him. Hooks it through for his second.
Winhager drives the Saints back into the pocket. Pack forms and Sharman stands in the pack and clunks it deep in the left forward pocket. Right foot snap is good. Come at the moment, Thomas Sharman slapping it down. Tom De Koning back towards the boundary line. Onto it, Rayner wins it for Brisbane. Handball back infield to Dunkley. To Levi Ashcroft. Flying shot, a goal. It all started with Cam Rayner, who kept it in when everyone thought it was going out.
Oh, nice work. Butler as he edges. Gallop underneath the footy. Takes the mark. Looks inside 50. Trying to link up with Tom De Koning. Not to be. Spills down towards Ryan. Was he taken high? Says yes. Liam Ryan on the drop punt. He's now got 3.
The AFL on ABC Sport.
On radio.
ABC Sport Digital Radio.
And ABC Listen.
Sounds there from the second term was much more entertaining. We had 6 lead changes, so swung on the first 6 goals of the quarter. The lead, and in the end, Liam Ryan kicked the last 2, as you heard there, of that first half to give the Saints an 8-point buffer. Well, it was all for nothing in the end. The Saints led by 8 at quarter time. They lead by 8 at the half. Just 3 games on this Saturday footy in round 3, so it starts here, it ends here with North Melbourne up against Essendon later tonight, and then sandwiched in between 35 mil of rain expected, Fremantle and Richmond. You'll hear it all right here on ABC Sport. Earlier today, for those of you that weren't with us, we had AFL Saturday. It was a truncated edition, given the fact that it's an early start. 12:35 opening bounce or opening ball up here at Dockland Stadium. But Craig McRae was our feature guest, and I don't get too much bigger than the coach of the biggest club in the land, the Collingwood Football Club, on the back of their Friday night victory. And we asked him about Scott Pendlebury, who, of course, sat out the final quarter last night with Achilles soreness, and his impending milestone.
There's what the team needs, and then there's, clearly the milestone's a significant one. So I'll just have those conversations with the Pendles when we get to that, if that was the case. If he didn't want to play, I don't know. I listen. This guy deserves to be listened to. He's such an incredible role model for our footy club, and we want to celebrate it. We want to create an environment where, I say openly how lucky we are that we're playing, and I'm coaching this guy, and Scott Pendlebury's in our building. Wow.
So he's 5 games away from breaking the record. He's 4 to equal it. McRae's basically put the pen through both him and his captain, Darcy Moore, from playing on the short turnaround up in Brisbane on Thursday.
I thought that was a really telling and interesting grab from Craig McRae. So modern leadership is very much about, you don't have to have the answers to everything. You can show your vulnerability, and that, you can lean on other people for other answers and lean on their experience. And I think even the way he answered that was an example of that. Pendlebury might know mid-forward connection better than Craig McRae, and that's okay. Even though he's a senior coach, he doesn't have to be the most knowledgeable in every area in the building.
He went on to talk about the interest in Nick Dacos, or he was asked about it, that's why he talked about it. The interest in Nick Dacos really by the sports media at the moment, and the fact that Tassie's coming into the competition, the link between the two, the comments from his agent in Paul Connors, but then also the fact that he's got 4 years to run on the current deal that he signed, which takes him out past Tasmania joining the competition. Here's what McRae had to say about that.
He's got a 4-year contract. It is quite surprising that we're talking about it. It's 4 years to go. And so it's sort of narrative around it. Maybe he's out next year or whatever it is. But he's got a smart manager. Like, let's be honest. This manager's very good at what he does. And so he's promoting opportunities maybe. I'm not sure. I don't live in that space. I don't live in list management. I live in coaching this group.
So it's a storyline that is surprisingly noisy early in the new season, given the status of his current deal for the Collingwood champ, Dacos.
Either way, Collingwood hold the whip hand. If Tasmania want him, they have to trade for him. Now, they've got a bounty of bits and the like. So if Collingwood turn around and go, well, are we going to rebuild or not? Now, do I advise trading your best player? Probably not. But if your best player is going to get you this...
Well, they've got to trade 3 of their top picks, Tasmania.
They've got a lot more that they can trade as well. So they've got plenty of space to trade. So it's smart commentary by the coach.
I don't doubt that Nick's management are the best of the best, but it feels like a miss, the contract extension beyond Tasmania's entry, doesn't it?
Yeah. Yep.
Surely you would line it up with them because they got $5 million of signing bonuses. You'd want him eligible for that. Maybe he still will be, but it'll be harder.
ABC AFL Daily is the place to listen to it, so just go to ABC AFL Daily wherever you get your podcasts, and Craig McRae on this week's episode of AFL Saturday. We're at Docklands for Saturday footy on ABC Sport. It is the Saints by 8 points as we start the second half.
Tom De Koning wins the tap. Will Ashcroft gets it off to Dunkley. Quick kick to half forward for Brisbane. Bouncing ball. No one gathers it cleanly. Hill paddles it out. Sinclair for St Kilda off to Flanders. Turnover. Coleman pinches it. And a short kick. Perfect for Cameron. 35 out directly in front. He'll kick for goal.
Sorry, Benny. I'm going to give Sam Flanders the benefit there and say he was a victim of the jumper there. The jumper clash in traffic. Just flicked the ball out.
Straight to him.
Yeah, went straight to Kitty Coleman. And again, we spoke about it in that first quarter. Hasn't had a huge influence, but makes those kicks inside 50 count.
Dual All-Australian, 4-time leading goal kicker at Brisbane. Charlie starts the second half charge. Back to 2 points, 5-9-39, plays 5-7-37. Less than a minute into the third term. Tim Hodges.
Hey, Ben, just one for Rammer and Bawley. That's as late as I've ever seen a team emerge from the rooms after the halftime break. The Saints basically ran out onto the ground into position. During the kick for goal, the medical team was still just walking around the boundary to get to the bench. Could that have impacted in that opening, horrific opening 45 seconds of this second half? They just weren't switched on or their head wasn't in the right space.
Yeah, well, it certainly won't help, Hodgie. So you sort of, as a player, you want to get out there and just roll the legs over again a little bit and at least do a couple of run-throughs. So, I noticed that myself. A little bit bizarre by the Saints.
Adam Ramanauskas, Luke Ball, your premiership pair. Tim Hodges on the boundary. Ben Cameron and myself, Corbin Middlemass calling the footy. Out of the middle, De Koning down to Wanganeen Miller up. There's $3.7 million bucks worth of the salary cap. They get it out the middle towards Wilson. Spears the kick into the pocket. And a good mark for Higgins. Just centimetres off the turf. Takes the sprawly mark left forward pocket.
So De Koning influence again. Jumping high at the centre bounce. Rush kick by Wanganeen Miller, but you take your yards. You got one-on-ones ahead of the ball. It was a really good 50-50 win from Darcy Wilson, who's had a pretty good day on Darcy Wilmot there, and scrappy kick. But Higgins, like a good forward, in front, first to move.
So Higgins runs around to the right, trying to bend it back. He does so expertly. Higgins pops it through for his first of the day. It's been a bit of a theme so far. Every time Brisbane have got close, the Saints have had the answer. They remain in front with a bit of breathing room. 8 points, St Kilda's lead, 6-9 to 5-7. 2.5 gone in the third.
Well, Bawley mentioned De Koning in the centre bounce, and you look at his taps. Certainly getting over Sam Draper, certainly getting over Darcy Fort, but it's just over the ruckman's head, and so he's not trying to go left or right with his hits too often. So you're getting sort of you're getting a St Kilda player coming in, going the opposite direction, then feeding the handball out. So, look, when you've got an asset like that, you need to maximise it as much as you possibly can. And they certainly are at the moment.
Played game 150, all things remaining equal next week. Jack Higgins, restart in the middle. Draper trying to take it out of the ruck and go forward. That went about 8.5 metres, his kick to Reville. Reville, driving ball into the pocket. The kick for Rayner, perfect. Rayner sticks out the Jukes and it sticks in the hands.
That's a beautiful kick by Reville. Just patient, fat side of the ground where the space was. Mason Wood tried everything he possibly could.
Remember last year too, Jack Higgins basically was asked how much he loves Adelaide. He's going to play his 150th there. I notice he's doing some tourism ads now for South Australia, so maybe played it perfectly.
Yeah, it was all part of the plan.
But they spent a week there, I think, either side of Gather Round, and he said he never left the hotel room.
Cam Rayner trots in. His drop punt, perfect. And Brisbane hang around. Back to 2 points. 6:9:45 plays 6:7:43. 4 minutes into this third term. I'm not sure what the celebration was from Cam Rayner.
He'll pop the collar job, I think. They've got the collars on the old jumpers, the Lions. 3 goals in 3 minutes to start this second half as the clock just ticks over 2 o'clock on a Saturday. Again, more credence to my theory that the early morning start had him a bit sleepy.
He popped the collar.
He did, yeah, popped the collar. You're right, though. Beautiful kick. I watched Bruce Reville in the warm-up. Yeah. Just off one step. Absolutely chiseled 5 irons. And that was another great example of it there. Got a bit lucky, you're right. That kick to him went about 8 metres. But well done, Sammy Draper. Just fought back there. Competed a lot better in the ruck and followed up and won the first possession.
Golf will be a good topic. We might have a return of a saga for the loyalists from last year too, Corbin.
Tom DeConey palms it down. Bailey coming in for Brisbane. Hand pass away to Berry. Short kick to Neal, trying to draw Sinclair on the mark. And in the end, he holds his positioning.
He should have given it. It's just a bit cute there from Lockie.
Comes wide to Bailey. Just checks his kick over the top to Berry. Good contested mark. Had to deal with Carroll coming from the other direction. And Berry, spending the wars today, takes the mark right half forward and now 50.
Well, let's have a look at this one. This one might look a little bit soft. I think maybe they're feeling a little bit bad for missing the one they should have got. But
they gave a 50 for that contest.
Yeah. I think.
Or was it language?
No. I think the inference is he was holding his head, Berry, so the score might have got him a little bit high, but there wasn't a lot in it, was there?
No, very little in it.
Smart kick from Bailey, though.
Just the second time today, the Lions with back-to-back goals as Bailey thumps it through and turns the lead around. The 2-time reigning premiers put themselves back on top. 7-7 to 6-9. Brisbane by 4 points. 6 minutes into the third quarter. No, say Berry?
No, you said Bailey.
Oh, I meant Berry.
Yeah, get away with anything here, Bobby.
How am I going?
Hey, battle lines were drawn earlier.
There we go.
Battle lines were drawn. You don't get away with anything.
I just saw you pointing to your page. I thought, that's Barry.
You know what?
Bailey had the goal assist.
We all make mistakes. Ben doesn't, so clearly.
Oh, hey, plenty. Don't worry about that.
So you look at
I was trying to help my teammate out.
Fair enough. You look at the matchup now. So Berry's had 16 possessions and a goal. Wanganeen Miller has had the 18 possessions and 2 behind. So, look, really good battle there. And simply, Wanganeen Miller had just dropped off Jared Berry in that contest.
So 7th lead change of the afternoon. Saturday footy and ABC Sport. Strong tackle in the middle coming from Will Ashcroft. Teus Filippo picking up some of the red paint. On the forearm, DeConing slapping it down. Filippo shoveling out a handball, turnover. Zorko dumps it on the boot up towards half-forward Sinclair. Leads Coleman to the ball and marks and killed a ball. Retreats inside the defensive arc. Lions by 4 points. 7 into the third. Wilkie sells some candy. Gets around Rayner. Goes for a run and stabs it out wide to Carroll.
Carroll kicks down the line and leaping for it. Sharman takes a nice mark.
Well, that's 50 then.
So he got some contact from Gardner on the way down. The wasn't buying that. Sharman takes it between wing and half forward. Kicks inside 50. Owens crashes the pack. Spills down though towards Leicester. Get out of here. Kick for Brisbane. Up towards Coleman. No mark. Falls to Wilkie. Hand pass for St Kilda to Windhager. Got to move it. Hurried kick picked off. And Bruce Reville takes the intercept mark. He's got it centre half back for Brisbane. So 4 point lead for the Lions. 8 minutes gone in the third. They've kicked the last 2 in the game.
Reville switches it away to Darcy Gardner. He takes the mark and will move it out wide for Levi Ashcroft with the blonde locks. Ignores the lead of his brother. Lions on the back flank wearing the old Fitzroy jumper today. They lead it by 4 points. 7 lead changes. Kicks around the wing. Up goes Lohman over his head. Out the back. Wilkie picks it up on the deck. Loses it. Lockie Neal coming through. Had a quiet day. Gets rid of it to Coleman. Coleman will veer out. He'll kick to centre half forward. That's exquisite. And Reville takes it 49.5 metres out.
Well, he's playing on that wing, that far wing, the city side wing. Takes the mark in defence. Then was able to switch the ball and he just drifts down forward all by himself. So not sure his direct opponent is. We'll find out if he does kick the goal, but very, very poor checking by the Saints.
And this is the distance he was just drilling them from in that warm-up off 2 steps, so no issue with the distance.
Twirling the footy in his hands. Boot the ball from the edge of the centre square. The drop punt. He's in the rough on the left-hand side of the fairway with that 5-iron ballie. Just to behind. Brisbane lead by 5 points, 9 minutes into this third term.
No problems with the trip, though, was it?
No.
Still 4 rows back.
Powerful kick.
5-point lead. Brisbane on top. They've kicked 3 of the first 4 goals to start this third quarter. Long kick out towards half back for the Saints, but it's coming back. Reville again. Long towards a one-on-one. Loman and Sinclair in the pocket. Ball spills out towards McCarthy. Keeps it alive. Back to Loman. Tackled. Umpire right on the spot. Says I'll have it. Ball up.
Great couple of contests from Jack Sinclair there. He looked out of position. Strong through the trunk.
Brisbane lifting. Saints have got some work to do here deep in defence. Allen palms it down. Takonin picks it up. Allen tackles him and we'll have a ball up. Same spot, just inside the boundary line. Left forward pocket for the Lions. They lead by 5 points after Berry kicked the last goal. Rayner and Cameron also with some early majors in his third term.
Koning goes early, tapping it down Allen. Clearing kick from Dougal Howard. Still inside attacking 50 for Brisbane. Fletcher wins it off to Neal. Steps his man, gets rid of it away towards Fort, who gives it back towards Gallup. High ball inside 50. Scored away by the Saints at the 4. Butler worried out of it by Cameron. McCarthy picks it up. Handball for Rayner. He can't take it cleanly. Ball on the deck again. Levi Ashcroft goes in low. No free kick. Pinched there by Hill, who goes back to Howard. Sinclair caught by Bailey, holding the ball. A calamitous moment from Jack Sinclair. And Bailey will go back and kick from 7 metres out, slight angle.
Just a closing speed, wasn't it, from Zach Bailey? He was one of the players who just looked a little bit off in that first half from an intensity point of view. Had a few broken tackles, but that's a Zach Bailey at his best.
In he comes. Bailey slams it through. Brisbane lifting. They lead by 11 points. 8:56, plays 6:9:45, 11 and change travelled. Saturday footy on ABC Sport.
They just got it wrong there, Jack Sinclair. So they worked it out. They worked it backwards beautifully to their kicker. And Sinclair clearly didn't like what he was seeing on that city side. So feigned to come back inside, and Bailey just held his line and was able just to lay that tackle. So yeah, a bit disappointing there. Sometimes you just got to kick the grass ballie. You know, if that ball trickles out of bounds, and okay, yep, it's Brisbane's free kick.
Yeah,
it's better than the alternative there, which is Zach Bailey getting hold of the ball decision and the Lions kicking a goal.
Yeah, it's a team lifter that too. Yep, see the flash to the bench, and that was a very popular bit of play. So Saints got to hold up here.
Brisbane's biggest lead of the day. Out of the middle goes St Kilda. Filippo with a long kick inside 50. Oh. Good grab. Machito Owens leaping up and rips it down.
Oh, that'll help. Again, centre bounce clearance. One-on-ones ahead of the footy. Ryan Lester there, who is such a good one-on-one player usually against a similarly matched player in terms of height and athleticism, but Owens had a good leap at the footy, full extension and very clean hands.
Coming off 1 goal, 2 last week.
Yeah, just his set shot goal kicking is the thing that can let him down a little bit.
5 goals, 6 on the season. How does he finish here? Well, straight through it goes. And St Kilda answer back. 1 score game again. So Brisbane by 5 points. 8:56. They lead St Kilda, who moved to 7:9:51. Saints led the entirety of, they led for the majority of the first half. And after 6 lead changes, Brisbane got out to their biggest lead. They led by 11 points moments ago. It's back to 5 now. Saturday footy on ABC Sport.
It was good work in the middle there. It's a little handball by Garcia. And he just got that. Looks like he got a little boost, didn't he, in that marking contest. But you look at Owens and Taru and Max King if he ever gets back. You go, yep. I think St Kilda can work at the forward line of that. Taru is raw, and I think he'll be a swing player where he can go back and forward. But Owens and certainly King, if he does get back, could be a really terrific combination.
Winning the tap down Fort, but into the congestion. Pinched back by Dunkley. Reveal cluttered into by Filippo. Holding the ball. Chase down tackle. Free kick to St Kilda. Riding their own little wave of momentum.
It's a good couple of moments here, the young Saint.
Not his best kick, but it goes a shallow inside 50 entry. Mason Wood juggles it down. And the umpire wants to ball it up. Edge of the attacking arc here for St Kilda. The lock it end of the ground in the third term. Slapping it down Fort. Hugo Garcia, I think it was, who hacked it out of the air. Bounces inside 50 and over the boundary line. There was a Brisbane boot that was flung at it as well, but I think it was off Garcia's. So a throw in 45 around from the attacking goal here for St Kilda. Lions by 5.
Boundary throw in. Fort palms it down, but the Saints come up with it. Here's Windhager. High bomb to full forward for St Kilda. Gardner punches it away and out of play. 5-point lead for the Lions. 8-8 to 7-9. 14.5 gone in the third.
Good response around the ball, hasn't it? Since the Lions kicked that goal, it just felt like they were getting on top. But Windhager, Philippou, a couple of the young guns for the Saints are getting involved. Good response.
From the boundary throw in, it's a little shallow. Ball hits the deck. Scooped up here by Neal. He gives it away to Reveal. Short kick finds Levi Ashcroft. Marks told to keep it moving. Hand pass away to Fletcher. High up and under. Out to halfback Morris. Gee, got good hang time. Couldn't quite complete the mark. Spills down towards Wilkie. The Saints work it out. Flanders to Hill to Garcia. Caught. Ran into a dead end. Ball comes out. Said he got a handball away. Hill to Flanders. Saints keep it moving. Marshall to Sinclair. Now to Wilson. Still at half forward St Kilda. Hand pass away to Hill. Kicks inside 50. Owens forced to spoil. Finds the boundary line. Does he? Not quite. Still alive. Forward pocket for the Saints. They're going to work it out, Brisbane. Fletcher, get out of here. Kick to half-back.
Outside of the boot, and it bounces through the pack. There's a free kick, though. It'll go to St Kilda right as Brisbane were about to take off down the wing. Oh, chaining handballs. The umpire will bring it back, and Sinclair the recipient. Lions by 5 points. Game has been scrappy, but it's close at the moment. Kick inside 50. Taru off the back of the pack. Sharman's kick smothered. Great desperation from Wilmot. Back to Sharman, and he whacks it through. 8th lead change. St Kilda back in front. There might have been a throw in amongst all of that.
Might have been.
There was. It's like the Benji Marshall flick pass from the 05 West Tigers grand final from Higgins.
Yeah.
Jeez.
Anyway,
I'll tell you what, Alex Taru, that was a huge climb. But we're just watching the replay here. oh gosh, that's a bad one.
Well, anyway, I just mentioned though.
Take the luck in the game.
Take the luck, and it's been a really good response since that goal was kicked to put the Lions 11 points up. They won 2 centre bounces. They've turned up the heat around the footy, and that time it wasn't pretty, and they get a bit lucky, but they keep forcing the ball forward, and Cooper Sharman gets on the end of one.
Looked like it was going one way when Bailey kicked that goal, didn't it?
Yep.
Out of the middle, Brisbane get it. Here is Bailey right on cue. Kicks down to half forward for Brisbane. Offhand spills the Lions' way. McCarthy at half forward. Gives it to Coleman. Hand pass to Lohman. A little casual. Goes and gets it. Got to beat Flanders. Kicks for Morris. Hand on it. Not to be. Falls down to Sinclair. Saints work it out. Gives it to Carroll. Dumps a kick out of defence. Bailey picks it off. He can go in. He's looking in reverse.
Free kick.
And there's a free kick deep forward here for Brisbane. It's way away from where the ball carrier is.
And it's there.
Yeah, it caught my eye too. Yeah. I think it's against Wilkie, or is it Stocker?
Stocker.
Yeah.
It's going to go to Morris.
Too physical, trying to block the leading pattern of the key forward, and umpire was right there, so they see that one. They missed the rugby pass.
How about
back pocket, but
This game started 6 behinds to 5 behinds, Paulie. From that point on, it's 8-3 to 8-3. So if you wipe out the inaccuracy at the start, it's been largely goal for goal throughout. Well, 8 lead changes.
12:38, 12:30 start. We'll do that.
You're on form today. The jumper clash, the early start theories. Morris to goal. He does. And another lead change. Brisbane back in front. Morris with 2. Lead change number 9. All after quarter time. We're 18 minutes into the third term. Brisbane by 5 points. This is Saturday footy on ABC Sport, 9-8 to 8-9.
Well, I think what you do with an argument, you persist until everyone believes you, and that's what Paul is clearly doing at the moment.
Wasn't a heap in at all.
Wasn't a heap in it, but it's just not necessary. It's just, well, he goes at him. He changes his angle, Liam Stocker, to make sure that he puts the bump on Logan Morris. Logan Morris is just going to reposition himself as a forward, and then Stocker steps into his line and lays a bump. Yep. Did Morris exaggerate it? Absolutely. But most forwards would have.
Ross wasn't happy. Had to go to the binos to check it out.
Certainly animated.
Free kick in the middle going the way of Draper. I get the feeling Borley's a slow mover in the morning.
He went the torp.
Draper shanks the torp out towards half forward. Lohman taps it down. Berry there. Kicks inside 50. Good spoil from Dougal Howard. Closing late. St Kilda ball back flank. Flanders. Away to Butler. Kicking around the wing. And here goes that man Draper trying to make amends. He does. He marks in front of Marshall. Just behind the interchange gates. Neutral territory. Dockside wing. Brisbane by 5 points. Nearly time on third.
Draper contest kick to half forward. Lohman flies from the back. Ball hits the deck. Here's Morris. Hand pass close to the boundary line. Scooped up by Garcia. Saints with numbers. Gives it to Naz by hand. Turns in corridor. Good kick. Finds Hall. All alone he marks. Just forward of halfway. Ugly kick inside 50. Bounces in front of Wood, trying to reel it in at half forward for the Saints. Paddles it out to the advantage of Wilson. Somehow got a hand pass away, but straight to Leicester. Leicester intercepts for Brisbane. Hand pass in front of Zorko. Bit of space in front of him. Takes a bounce, kicks down to half forward. Allen marks.
Out the back.
He's one kick from goal. He turns, puts it in the corridor, turns it over.
Oh, he thought Morris was coming back to the ball.
They were on. Flanders takes the intercept mark, and now it's the Saints' turn through the middle and Marshall.
They're absolutely on. He goes short to Hall, and they are breaking everywhere inside 50. Hall wants to drive it deep. Has a lateral lead from Owens and gets it onto his chest. It was a perfect kick. And a good lead from Owens, 45-degree angle. Mark set 25 out.
He needed to be because his previous kick inside forward 50, Hall was terrible. Then he burnt Mateus Philippou there with the handball overlap where Philippou could have potentially run in and had a shot at goal. But that was a terrific kick going inside forward 50 to Owens.
I'd be looking at Max Hall if I was a rival club. They're paying a lot, St Kilda. Easy one you can pry out. Owens comes in and misses badly. To the near side. Lions by 4 points.
What are you playing him as? A mid or a half forward?
Doesn't matter, Rod. Wherever.
Okay.
Bit of both, yeah.
Well, he needs to lift a bit. He hasn't had a great day. Having said that, he's a player that the Saints need to have a big quarter and a half here.
Wilmot played on from the kick out, then slipped over. Hurried handball back towards Levi Ashcroft in front of the behind post. Short kick to Fletcher, not the required distance. Back to Wilmot. That mark's paid. On the behind line, long kick out wide, gallop up strong, heavy landing, spilt the footy on the way down, the ump says no mark, falls to Sinclair, spears it to his fellow Jack, and Higgins marks at left half forward, he's got it, 40 out.
That's a mark.
Yeah, of course it is.
That's just poor umpiring.
Is that a mark, Hodgie?
Yes, I believe it was, and I'm pretty sure Chris Fagan thinks it was as well.
Controlled it all the way down. Still, opportunity to capitalise. Jack Higgins, you'd like it from here.
He's already kicked one in a similar spot in the quarter. Higgins moves in on the drop punt. Kick fades. They all fly for it right on the goal line. Ball stays alive. Zorko just taps it down to Berry, and he exits out to half-back for Brisbane.
Looking for Rayner. Lohman coming in from the side. Silvani brings it down. St Kilda ball. Wangani Malera off to Windhager. He kicks a low ball inside 50. Gallop has to smother it. Brings it down in front. Leicester away to Wilmot. Off the side of his boot. It will come down. Touched on the way out by Fletcher. Avoids the last disposal out of bounds. Throw in half forward for St Kilda. This is high octane, still slightly calamitous. And Brisbane leading by 4 points. Late in the third term. 23 minutes into it anyway. Saturday footy on ABC Sport. Draper and Tom De Koning. De Koning slaps it down to Ryan. Boundary side goes back to Hill. Hill will kick inside 50. Short ball. Zorko on the spoil. Now arriving. Will Ashcroft. Windhager beats him to it. Handball away to Ryan. Chips it inside 50. Ricochets off the shins of ball. LBW now to play at ricochets and a throw in. 40 around from the Saints goal, doing the attacking at the moment.
9 lead changes all after quarter time. Saturday footy on ABC Sport. Lions by 4 points. Late in the third. Draper and De Koning. Draper wins it down. Had it, Dunkley lost it. Likewise, Wanganeen Millerer still there to be won. Hall scoops it up off his knees, gives it to Windhager. The Viking flies through the sky, takes a hanger on the shoulders of Ainsworth and unselfishly hands it off, and Mason Wood makes sure of it. Pumps it up into the top tier.
It's got to come back. It's got to come back. Yeah, Noah Ainsworth, who was the step ladder, got the knee right in the back of the head. He's down on all fours in the hands of the trainer.
He's got that in his game, Alex Taru. They call him the Flying Viking for a reason. And he had a proper sit there.
Oh, yeah. Terrific mark. Ryan Lester owes Noah Ainsworth a beer there. Just was asleep, caught napping, Lester. Taru unimpeded, run and jump. Terrific hanger. And Ainsworth's probably going to have to come off. Well, definitely going to have to come off here and do a concussion test, you'd think. He's really sore.
I think this is one where it's almost, don't worry about the test. Clearly,
yeah, straight off.
He's done.
Yeah. This last year, of course, with that Achilles injury and after winning a premiership the year before.
Or if you just cop
one in the
right in the middle of the back.
Yeah.
Which is really
can be worse at times if you get in the wrong spot. But
he does not look well, does he?
I mean, just such rotten luck, hasn't he, over the last couple of years, Noah Ainsworth. He's a heart and soul player. Just hope that he's okay. But he looks really proper. He's really sore, doesn't he?
What do you make of Tyrell as a forward? So kicked 2 last week. Obviously can take a catch. They need someone down there that can do that.
Certainly worth a, whilst Max King's still out.
Down to Hodgie in just a moment. Taru's been given the Sharon, and Ainsworth still very, very proppy, making his way off. Taru, I think did that clip the post? Goal umpire doesn't think so. He's caught at 4 points.
Smashed the post.
Zorko went to go and take the footy. Everybody set up for a kick out. The goal umpire has said that is 4 points. He waves the flag. Surely there is a review coming, and the players are... They're not taking that goal umpire seriously at all. They're set up for a kick out. Zorko's got the footy, and the goal umpire's just had an absolute blooper. Every goal is reviewed, and so the players aren't even bothering getting in position. The umpire's trying to reset the field for the 6-6-6. And I think even Alex Taru knows that that's gone off the inside of the post.
Well, the good thing is the ball's all the way in the centre circle, so we'll get overturned here, and then we'll have to run it all the way back, another 150 metres back, and now we're going to review.
Really?
How does the goal umpire miss that one?
I think it's obvious from our vantage point.
That's a human error.
Yeah,
that's,
We can see the ball deviates
with the,
after making contact
with the snap
with the
as well.
goalpost.
Yeah, it's hard to get. Yeah.
I know what you're saying, Corb. I get it, but there's human error in everything we do.
The players have made a lot of them today.
We'll get Corby down to the under 16s in the white coat.
Hang on, you called Zach Bailey from the goal square when it was Jared Berry.
I knew it was Berry, I just said the wrong name.
Well,
maybe he knew it was a behind and he just signalled the wrong score.
Actually, when you use me as the example, Rami, you make a great point. It can happen to the best of us.
Correct.
It's a behind, so 3
and that's why we got technology.
Brisbane by 3 points, 28 minutes into the third.
It's been that sort of game, though, hasn't it?
Zorko brings it in to Oscar Allen, who moves it on to Berry. Lions chipping it around. Tim Hodges, just Noah Answorth. He was in the almost C shape as he came off. He was hunched over as he walked off, coughing and spluttering. It didn't look good.
Yeah, so he's not returning because he didn't exit the field through the gates at the interchange. So they brought him all the way around the bench and then took him off straight down to... come back to me. I'll go back to you.
He might be off to hospital as the kick goes inside 50. Bouncing ball coming through McCarthy. McCarthy gathers in the pocket, jams it on the boot. Across the goal mouth, out of bounds on the full. Hodgie, it wasn't your most subtle exit.
Oh, sorry. I thought Berry was going to kick it long inside 50 then. So he came off not through the interchange gate, so he can't come back on the ground. He's not coming back on the ground anyway. I mean, I fear for ribs if what Rammer and Bally said about the knee in the back. Like, he couldn't straighten up. He was in an awful way. So I wouldn't be surprised if the paramedics who are here take him to the in the ambulance to the nearest hospital just for scans. So, yeah, that's a horrible look that Noah Answorth was in. Exiting the field has gone straight to the rooms.
Thanks, Hodgie. 3-point game. Brisbane still on top. Footy here at half forward for the Lions. Picked up by Coleman. Hand pass away towards Levi Ashcroft. Kicks off the left, inside the forward 50. McCarthy hands to it, no mark. He's getting the free. Had his arms chopped, so Link McCarthy will get it left half forward for Brisbane.
Well, at the time the umpire was right there and had the best position. Jack Silvani just adjudicated to have chopped the arms there. It looked like McCarthy was going to lead out and take the mark. So, again, a scrappy 5 minutes, hasn't it? But McCarthy with an opportunity here to kick a settler. Coleman involved again. How many score involvements has Kitty Coleman had? 4.
He's kicked 2 behinds today. Link McCarthy. Boundary line 10 away on his left. The drop punt is superb. He's on the goal kickers list now. McCarthy goals and Brisbane out by 9. Half-hour mark, third term. The Lions 10-8. They lead St Kilda 8-11. Just repeating moments ago, an absolute hanger for Alex Taru, and the man who was the step later, Noah Answorth, came off worse for wear. He was buckled over, walking off the ground. So fear of maybe some rib concern for Noah Answorth. He's off the ground with the medical team. The Lions by 9 points, approaching three-quarter time.
It's stiff for Jack Silvani. I get the rule of the chopping the arms, but imagine the amount of goals that Tony Lockett and Jason Dunstall and Gary Ablett, etc., would have kicked if chopping the arms. Like, defenders got to be. It's not too high. It's not a push in the back. A defender's got to be able to still defend. Players have got to be stronger in terms of taking the mark.
Tapping it down to Koenig in the middle. Filippo gets it back towards Windhager. Kicks to half forward to Max Hall. Maybe he is lifting here, Bally. Marks 53 metres out. The Lions by 9 points. 31 minutes into the third. Thought about giving it to Wangane Malira. Elects not to. Ball kicks to full forward. Marking contest down there. Skims off the knuckles of Gardner. Slides through for a minor score. Brisbane by 8 points. Still 3 minutes away from three-quarter time here.
If we didn't disincentivise it, though, Ram, of the game, it'd be pretty horrid, though, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
The defender's just whacking the arms of the forward in every contest as Coleman takes some ground, and then a long kick up towards that City wing. It's not going to trickle out. Ryan's going to keep it alive. Kick 3 in the first half. Liam Ryan along the boundary line finds Hall. 8-point game. Lions on top. After St Kilda led by the same margin, 8 points at quarter time and at the half. Hall kicks into a crowded forward 50 for St Kilda. There's a few that can run and leap. They all run underneath it, and Gardner stands at the back, takes the intercept mark. 32 minutes into the quarter, Brisbane by 8. Short kick finds Coleman back pocket.
Coleman backpedals and just absorbs a little bit here. Long left-footed kick up to a contest through the hands of Morris out the back. Losing it, Mason Wood there to pick it up quickly. Sinclair for the Saints. Handball away towards Wangane Malira. Gets a handball out. Sinclair trying to keep it in, can't do so. Throw in 60 around from the attacking goal here for the Saints.
Yeah, they have lifted the Saints leaders and good players. Sinclair up to 9 for the quarter. I think Windhager's been really good. 7 possessions, 150 metres gained for the quarter.
6 goals to 3 the way of the team in the tricolours today. Tom de Koning powering it down onto it. Dunkley gets it on the boot and a quick kick up towards the wing from Kitty Coleman. Knocked up there by Carroll. St Kilda go back the other way. Inside 50. Contest. Wanganeen Malira doesn't quite bring it down. Got a good ride. At ground level, Wood extracts it. Handball errant. Sharman tackles Zorko. Ball spits out. Allen's kick partially smothered. Away towards the boundary line, and Hall keeps it in. St Kilda left half forward. Hill with the centering ball towards forward Wilmot. Defensive mark for Brisbane, and they steady again.
Courageous mark, isn't it? Deep in defence. Isn't it a great day, Darcy Wilmot? We're going to have to hold up the play a bit here too.
Yeah, St Kilda player.
Sharman, is it?
Yeah, Cooper Sharman. Slightly worse for Webb.
He looks really sore
on his haunches at the moment and feeling the back of his head, so
might be another little whiplash incident.
Big 3 goals today, Cooper Sharman. St Kilda only have 4 individual goal kickers making up their 8 goals. 3 for Ryan, 3 for Sharman, Owens and Higgins. Lions by 8 points. What are you saying, Bawley?
This is Darcy Wilmot came down. It was error. It was accidental, just the marking motion. Came down and really compressed the back of Cooper Sharman's head. So another little whiplash type incident that can really hurt. So he's come off for a spell.
Allen's down in defence. This is customary late in the quarter to go and help out. As Wilmot shares it with him. Allen long down the line. De Koning and Marshall spoil each other in the air. Ball hits the deck. Silvani has done some good things. Kicks into the shins of Morris, and that's the lasso rule. Last disposal out of play. Free kick for the Saints. The rules there basically the same as what it would be in the goal mouth. So if it came off the shins of Morris, it would be a goal, which means it's last touch out of play. Taru flies, as did Ryan. Ball spills down the Lions' way, but there's a free kick in all of that. And I think it's going to go to Taru.
No, I think it's... Well, I thought it might have been Liam Ryan who was unfairly nudged under the ball. Is it Ryan?
Well, I think Taru was about to take it.
Taru's saying it's mine, and Ryan's just holding on to it.
Well,
Ryan was with you, boy. What happened to him?
Yeah, he got pushed out of the contest unfairly, I thought, by Ryan Lester. But umpire's gone for his younger teammate. Well, he's got an opportunity here, the post in his last shot.
Already got a highlight reel grab for the day. Alex Taru, the second-year Saint. The teenager is the youngest Saint out there.
Great kick.
With the biggest kick of the day for the Saints. It's a good one. Gets them back on the doorstep. Lead cut to 2. Right on the stroke of three-quarter time. And that is a lifter for the home team. 9-12-66 St Kilda. Brisbane 10-8-68. The Lions by 2 points, 36 gone in the third.
I like the move of him forward because they're just starting, or certainly in this second half, these Lions key defenders, or undersized defence, without Harris Andrews, are looking very vulnerable when the ball comes in long and high. Darcy Gardner, that time, giving away the free kick. I thought Ryan Lester also gave away a free kick in the same contest. So the long high ball to advantage. All of a sudden this Lions defence, as I said, without Andrews, young Gallops down there, looking quite vulnerable.
Hodgie?
Just an update from the Saints bench. They've just let the interchange steward know they're taking Cooper Sharman down for a HIA. So it's a concussion test more than a neck that they were worried about before. So he'll be out of this game for just a little bit.
Thanks, Hodgie. Doesn't really clear the vicinity from the restart in the middle.
And that's the beauty of Taru. So Sharman goes off for 20 minutes at least. You swing Taru forward and he's looking really dangerous.
High free kick to Tom De Koning in the middle, and he's pointing at the shot. Kick for goal.
Go for it.
So he's going to take the shot. His spiral will go into the pocket and it will not score. As you would expect. So 10-8-68 plays 9-12-66. Brisbane lead by 2 at the final change. The goal kickers for St Kilda, 3 for Sharman, who's undergoing that head injury assessment at the moment. Liam Ryan with 3, Taru, Owens and Higgins with singles, while for the Lions, 2 to Allen, 2 to Morris, and then it's all singles. Berry, Ashcroft, that's Levi, McCarthy, Rayner, Charlie Cameron and Zach Bailey.
So both players one short on the bench. As you mentioned, Sharman there, the HIA and the Answorth incident with his ribs being looked at with the medicos. There have been 9 lead changes in the game, all of them after quarter time. So 9 lead changes, Brisbane in front by 2 points. The Lions haven't won either of their final quarters so far this year, so they've been overrun in both games. Sydney outplayed them throughout, and then, of course, the Western Bulldogs finished over the top back in opening round. Brisbane by 2. This is Saturday footy on ABC Sport. Dan from East Perth. Every game this week so far has been pretty low quality skill-wise. Surprising, given the last two have been played under a roof. Dean off the SMS. The majority of the rain has passed through Perth already this morning, so thankfully it might just be a sprinkle at worst during the Fremantle and Richmond game. Thanks, Dean. Appreciate that. The local perspective. We had the Flying Dutchman, now the Flying Viking. Long live the Specky from Neil in Coburg. And John from Melbourne asked what you guys think about the Silver Bombers top with the red shorts. Silver Bombers top with the red shorts. This might have been the old silver jumper. They haven't worn that for a few years now. They're clash strips. The inverse, which is basically instead of the black with the red sash, it's the red with the black sash, which we saw them wear last week over in Adelaide. All right, it's not half time, it's three-quarter time. There's only one quarter to go. Brisbane by 2 points. You're listening to Saturday Footy on ABC Sport.
Who will win the AI race? Has gambling become our national sport?
Questions. They've never been more important. So the one thing we'll never question is our duty to keep asking. ABC News. Keep asking.
This is the 2026 AFL Premiership season with ABC Sport.
Omniconi wins the tap. Will Ashcroft gets it off the Dunkley. Quick kick to half forward for Brisbane. Bouncing ball. No one gathers it cleanly. Hill paddles it out. Sinclair for St Kilda off the Flanders. Turnover. Coleman pinches it. And a short kick. Perfect for Cameron. Dual All-Australian. 4-time leading goal kicker at Brisbane. Charlie starts the second half charge. Kick inside. Taru off the back of the pack. Sharman's kick smothered. Great desperation from Wilmot. Back to Sharman. And he whacks it through. 8th lead change.
Draper wins it down. Had it, Dunkley lost it. Likewise, Wangan and Miller still there to be won. Hall scoops it up off his knees, gives it to Windhager. The Viking flies through the sky, takes a hanger on the shoulders of Answorth. Taru flies, as did Ryan. Ball spills down the Lions' way, but there's a free kick in all of that. And I think it's going to go to Taru. Teenager who's the youngest Saint out there with the biggest kick of the day for the Saints. It's a good one. Gets them back on the doorstep.
The AFL on ABC Sport.
On radio.
ABC Sport Digital Radio.
And ABC Listen.
0437 774 774, the SMS number. That's 0437 774 774. Brisbane by 2 points over the Saints. After this, we'll take you to Perth for all the build-up. Fremantle and Richmond. You'll hear from the senior coach of the Fremantle Football Club, Justin Longmuir, as part of our pre-game. So stand by for all of that. Saturday Footy on ABC Sport rolls on. For now, our premiership pair, Luke Ball, Adam Ramanaskas, with their take through three quarters, the reigning champs by 2.
Well, she's up for grabs, Rama, three-quarter time. Obviously, the scoreboard reflects that, but it was impressive from the Saints because when Zach Bailey kicked that goal to put them 2 goals up, it's been a low-scoring game, but you just felt like it was all one way. They controlled ground or field position for the first 10 minutes of that second quarter, and you felt, okay, is this the time where the reigning champs just flex their muscles and the cream rises to the top a little bit? The run-down tackle from Bailey on Sinclair in the goal square. And from that point, it was really it was more about the Saints. And I thought they really lifted around the ball. I thought young Philippou had some good moments. I thought Windhager's quarter was terrific, getting in and winning the ball and penetrating. And then that pressure resulted in a few shots at goal. And they had a little bit of luck, a little bit of rub of the green as well. But it was a pretty good effort, I thought, from the Saints at a moment where the Lions maybe felt like they could get... And in the end, it was 2 free kicks. The Lions' last 2 goals were from 2 free kicks. And you could see the real frustration from Ross in particular and the Saints coaching staff. So, but for those, they probably turn for home in front of the Saints. So absolutely up for grabs. We just keep waiting for the Lions to click in a gear. It feels like they're in about second gear. And you know, at times they've been able to shift into third. They're nowhere near their best, we know. I mean, Neil's been down a little bit on his usual output. Wilmot, I mentioned, has been down a little bit. Dunkley's been a lot quieter than usual. Bailey, that quarter started to get going. Berry's had a good battle but had his hands full. So we just keep waiting for that class to rise to the top. But the Saints, to their credit, have dug in and fought on pretty well, and it sets up a pretty exciting finish.
I think what would worry Chris Fagan is the run of St Kilda, and I think what would be worrying Ross Lyon is the ball use of Brisbane. So it's sort of, well, how can each counter that? So I think in terms of run, well, it's stopping that handball for Brisbane, but ball use is a tricky one. So what happened in that quarter is it was 17 tackles to 11, but in Brisbane's favour. So for St Kilda to win this game, they have to lift their tackle count in this last quarter and apply enormous pressure when Brisbane have the ball.
Deep entries too. It did feel like Brisbane, or they are vulnerable in the air, especially with Taru going forward behind the footy.
Game on the line, final term underway. The Rucks leap at it, no clear take. Trickled away by Neal towards Levi Ashcroft. He gives it to Dunkley. Brisbane away. Hand pass to Berry. Floats a kick down to half forward. Bounces towards the 50. Wilkie punches it back in the other direction. Scooped up by Flanders. He's tackled, taken to ground. Hump says holding the ball. Just surrendered in the tackle to Morris. And now Morris can put the Lions inside. Levi's got to go outsized and outnumbered. In the end, Wilkie picks it off, takes the intercept, goes all the way back to Dougal Howard, who marks at fullback. Still the only Dougal in the league. 2-point lead for Brisbane here, early stages, final quarter.
Short to the pocket for Sinclair. It was once one of many Jacks, the Jack Pack at St Kilda. Disbanded largely now. He pokes it beyond defensive 50 and finds a teammate there in Garcia.
What are they down to now?
Make that Carroll rather.
He's one.
Yeah.
Higgins.
They're about 3, aren't they?
Okay.
Maybe 4. Yeah, 4, I think. As he kicks up to a contest on the wing and it's punched out of play, throwing City side of the ground. Saturday footy on ABC Sport. Brisbane by 2 points. As Corbin mentioned, 10 lead changes in the game. All of them after half-time. All of them after quarter-time, I should say. There's still 9 lead changes, Corbin. I got that mixed up because of the Taru poster. Had me confused as Lockie Neal's on top of the footy here. Throwing, ball up on the logo.
It's been a day for errors. It's been contagious today.
That was 3 in one passage of commentary.
It's been that kind of day here at Docklands. Just trying to race away with it. Heavy tackle. And that he's holding the ball too, as Bailey tried to get booed the ball and Hall just ripped him down. And Hall's going to get the free. So St Kilda footy on the outer wing. Lions by 2. Give you an idea on what we've had. The day started with 11 behinds. It was 6-5 the score. St Kilda's way before the first goal. There was only 1 goal in the opening term. We've had 9 lead changes after quarter time. We're now early in the last. Lions by 2. 68 plays 66. 10-8 to 9-12 on an error-riddled day. Silvani off the back flank. Kicks beyond the wing. Spills off hands through to Butler. He can put it inside 50 for the Saints. Get him back there neatly. He's fought. And the ruckman holds it down. Goes short for Brisbane to Zorko. He swings it to Dunkley, who marks it right half back for the Lions.
Pokes it beyond the defensive arc, and Levi Ashcroft comes up to mark. Brisbane by 2 points.
He's been good today.
Yeah, been busy. Goes short back to Dunkley. Right back pocket for Brisbane. They lead by a couple of points.
Had 21 Levi, 6 score involvements.
Only just turned 19 in December as well. Goes short to Leicester. Kicks up the middle here for Brisbane. Mark taken by Morris. Looks up to centre half forward. Lohman reaching for it. Doesn't quite mark. Sinclair right there with him. Spits out a handball. Pinched by Flanders. St Kilda ball. Handball charged down. Neal after it. He's wrapped up. And a ball up between wing and half forward here for the Lions. Tim Hodges.
Ben, Cooper Sharman from the Saints remains downstairs having a concussion test. Noah Answorth from the Lions officially out of this game with concussion. So he'll miss next week, but the fear is he might have some rib damage as well.
Thanks, Hodgie. Appreciate that. Oh, there's another man down in all of this as Brisbane get the footy away. Gardner gave it to Gallup. Kicks through the middle of the ground. Gardner slow to get up. Brisbane win it through Berry. Hand pass feeds Lohman. Kicks to an unguarded goal square. He's got it. Lohman goals. There's bodies down everywhere. Gardner's down. Also Cameron and Hall as they pick themselves up through the middle of the field. And Kai Lohman puts the Lions back on top by 8. So a bit of breathing room for the reigning premiers. Gardner rode the hip and shoulder from Liam Ryan.
And in trouble.
And he is sore too, picking himself up, Darcy Gardner. And then we had the collision between
That's a big hit.
Cameron and Hall. And after all of that, Lohman goals. 4 minutes into the last, Brisbane by 8.
That looks like a collarbone, doesn't it?
He's cradling it, the right arm already, Darcy Gardner. So
at best, AC joint. Yeah, that's a classic. And that look, fair bump.
Yep,
fair bump. Got him nice and cleanly. Oh, yeah, you can actually see his collarbone out of place.
Yeah, that is when the AC joint snaps. It's like that too,
pops
doesn't
up,
it?
Yeah, so that'll be a bit of a nasty one. Without being too graphic or dramatic. And look, he's in good spirits. He's a tough bugger, Darcy Gardner. But, he'll head straight down to the room. So they get the goal to lines. An opportunity here for the Saints with another key defender down.
Tom De Koning tapping it down to Windhager, who's in the middle. Dribbles a kick up to half forward for St Kilda. Onto it though, Berry, and he was shoved in the back as he got the handball away to Zorko. Brisbane by 8 points. 5 played fourth term. Berry just pokes it over the top for Coleman. Oh. He drags down the mark as Butler either infringes him or mark either way.
So he's the one, Coleman's the one that goes back and they shuffle around the defence. This is where I'd be really putting them to the test. Get De Koning or Marshall down there with Taru. Sharman's, of course.
Kick up to half forward. Dunkley gets clattered into by Rayner. He's down sore now. Saints win it. Handball away towards Windhager, who's tackled down, and Dunkley, as tough as they come, he's on his haunches. Tim Hodges.
So the fear with Gardner, that shoulder was actually out, so it had popped out. So that's going to be difficult for him to be returning today, and then it's the question of what they do going forward. So that's it could be even worse for the Lions.
Think about Andrews still out suspended. Obviously, Payne's on the injury list. Throw in on top of that, Duday coming back through the VFL. That's part of the reason Gallup's already down there in defence. Gardner back from suspension today and now out hurt as the Saints down to half forward. Wanganeen Miller dumps a kick to the goal square. Out the back's Higgins. Higgins can run it in. One score game again. Higgins has got 2. And this game is separated by only 2. Brisbane 11-8-74, St Kilda 10-12-72. 6.5 gone in the final term. What he's turning into a game of attrition.
Well, smart kick by Wanganeen Miller.
Torp, wasn't
it? Yeah, Torp, but saw the space, and I saw one-on-one matchups inside forward 50. And Higgins there, he was just quicker than Wilmot. So here it's a kick and hope really from Wanganeen Miller. But Gallup couldn't get into the contest. Marshall couldn't get into the contest. Goes over the back. Then it's a foot race with Higgins and Wilmot, and Higgins wins.
You know, Dwayne Russell, chaos ball, working a treat inside 50. Back to 2 points. In the middle, Tom De Koning with the tap. Out after it though, Will Ashcroft picks it up, slides through a couple. Handball to Neal, who's taken quickly by Windhager. They're playing with spirit, St Kilda. They all got around Naz and celebrated that goal. Tapped down by Marshall. Away to Windhager, who gets it off to Wanganeen Miller. Kicks inside 50. Tom De Koning brings it down. Butler's onto it. Centre half forward for St Kilda. Owens likes the look of it. He's kicked. He's there. His second. And St Kilda are back in front. A 10th lead change. The number on Machito Owens back. St Kilda by 4 points. Tim Hodges.
The degree of difficulty gets worse by the minute for the Lions. So Noah Answorth, we know, is out with concussion and rib damage. Darcy Gardner is now officially scratched from this game. It's an AC in that shoulder. And just news through from the Saints as I speak, Cooper Sharman has failed that concussion test, so he won't be coming back into this game. So the Lions down to 3 fit men on the bench. It's going to be a challenge these last 20 minutes.
Well, that's why we've got an extra, well, not an extra, obviously we had the sub, but 5 on the bench. But real test of the reigning champs medal here. Saints have got a sniff. The good players are playing well. Wanganeen Miller into the centre, involved in the last 2 goals. Lockie Neal, Ashcroft need to respond.
Draper hooks it down to the 2-time Brownlow medalist. Neal gets the centre break, timely. Out to half forward, wants Rayner close to the boundary line. Silvani forces it out. And you just know that, fast forward 25 minutes, there's going to be one of these 2 teams that are going to be thinking, how did we not get out of there with the win? This game is right there to be won. There's been mistakes both ways throughout. Both have lost key personnel. But the game is on the line right now. 9 minutes gone in the last. St Kilda by 4. From the boundary throw-in, half forward for Brisbane. Draper down to Neal, gives it to Reveal, kicks into the pocket, 1 bounce out of play. throw in forward pocket. Annie off the SMS, all a bit too grim on the injury front today. Thanks, Annie. From Robin Greensborough on Ballie's early start theory. Don't forget Bris Vegas is an hour behind.
No, that's what I meant. Absolutely. No, they started at 11:30. So that was the AM start.
It was factored into the premise.
Yep.
Throw in forward pocket for Brisbane. Allen down for Lohman. Slick handball. Bailey's there. And they snatch back the lead. This seesawing battle. And the Premiers show why they're that. They're back in front. Out by 2 points, 2 for Bailey, 12-8-80, plays 11-12-78. Rammer and Bawley are premiership pair, 10 into the fourth.
Just watching this replay here of the stoppage, and a number of St Kilda players just flat-footed at that contest. That's where you just got to have arm across your direct opponent. Lohman flies through that contest and is able to get the handball to Zach Bailey, but just far too many St Kilda players ball watching at that contest.
Yeah, Windhager in the end. It was a little handover. Windhager, that player, such a clever player. Manganese Miller just got caught ball watching a bit. Lohman was brilliant. The goal assist, and Zach Bailey just far too much space.
2 lead changes in the final term. Lions by 2. To Koning, grabs it out of the ruck, kicks it down to half forward. Levi and also Wilson tracking the footy close to the boundary line, half forward for the Saints. Eventually one of them collects. And then the other tackles, and we got a ball up just inside the boundary line as Wilson grabs it, and Ashcroft's right there with him. 1 in from the boundary line, City side, and half forward for the Saints. DeConey wins it down, but straight to Bailey, who's been excellent. Kicks forward, looking for Morris, slips through his hands into the path of Stocker. Stocker bowled over, wins it off the deck for St Kilda. Hand pass in front of Wilkie. No one can grab it. Now Hall does. He's gang tackled, holding the ball.
Get the fundamentals right under pressure here. Keep your feet, clean hands.
Zorko around the waist. It was McCarthy over the top, and Hall was caught. Across the ground goes Zorko to Leicester. Long kick inside 50. Lohman had a fair piece of it, not to be. Tackled by Silvani. Ball comes out. Half forward for Brisbane. Morris keeps it alive. I think he was looking for the deliberate out of bounds or the last disposal, trying to get it off the shins of his opponent. Howard coughs it up. Berry at half forward for Brisbane. Gives it to McCarthy. Kicks to full forward. Cameron goes to ground. No free kick. The numbers went out. And Carroll takes the intercept mark.
Saints want to take it city side of the ground. Short kick for Wilson from Hill. Wilson loops it for Wilkie. Beyond the defensive arc now. Wanganeen Malera on that City wing. Handball to Filippo. Back to Wanganeen Malera. Naz goes for a run. A couple of bounces. A third through the middle of the ground. Driving kick inside 50. Brisbane get back. Taru also down there. Woody can't mark. Slips through the fingers. Out the back. Wilmot for Brisbane. Gives it off to Allen. Tight roping the boundary line. Short kick for Brisbane. Clean bowls Draper. There to pick it up. Will Ashcroft. St Kilda come back and get involved. Turn it over though. Bruce Reveal wins the footy for Brisbane again. Gives it back to Levi Ashcroft. Back to Allen.
Allen. Contest kick down the wing. Morris the target. Punched away by the Saints, but straight to Levi. Hand pass away to Reveal. He gives it to Will Ashcroft. Handball further forward to Morris. Now between wing and half forward. Back to Reveal. Back to Will, who's got it here. 60 metres out. Ashcroft off his left. Overcooks the kick. Lohman leading at him. Howard takes the intercept mark.
Lucky Howard took that mark as Berry had slipped out the back. That ball would have went straight to him.
13 gone final term. Howard with the footy. Long kick out wide for Sinclair, who marks between wing and half back. Brisbane by 2. 13 gone final term. Saturday footy on ABC Sport.
Sinclair's kick nearly a shocker. It works out. Silvani saves him with a good hand. Off to Windhager. He kicks up to half forward. That's a turnover. Brisbane back the other way on the Leicester kick. Zorko winning the footy. Tom de Koning goes in, taps it away, picked up by Reveal. Bailey's kick dribbles 3 metres. Coleman makes it good. Wins the footy. Brisbane through the middle. Neal to McCarthy. Back to Kitty Coleman. His shot is a goal. Kitty Coleman, not John Coleman. An important goal. And the Lions back out by 8 points. 13-8-86, plays 11-12-78. 14 into the fourth. Luke Ball, Adam Ramanauskas.
Well, both teams had the opportunity in the middle of the ground. So Coleman just wins a hard ball there. And then it's just a chain of handball from Brisbane where St Kilda just couldn't stop. They couldn't come up and put that frontal pressure on to stop the handball. We know how good of a ball user that Kitty Coleman is. That's why he's such a welcome addition to this team for 2026.
That was a great goal because he won the critical. He won the 50-50, the ball, and everyone was messy. He was clean. He bent down, picked it up, broke a tackle, and then kept running and got the overlap. Neil involved. Good handball from Lincoln McCarthy just to set him on his way. Breaks the paint and kicks the goal.
Turns 26 on Tuesday. There's a little gift for him early for Kitty Coleman. Brisbane get it going forward again. Dunkley soccers it into dispute. Rayner just moved out of the way. Stocker gets him out of there. Dunkley wins it back to Levi Ashcroft. Handball away towards Draper. Tumbles a kick to full forward. Punched away by Howard. In the pocket for Brisbane. Lurking Cameron. Tackled. Taken to ground. Carroll. Nice work. Holds him up. Ball up. Left forward pocket for Brisbane.
A lot of tied plays out there, isn't there? You know, there's a few down, or one down from the Saints, two down for the Lions. It's been that sort of fight, scrappy sort of second half in particular.
Neither ruck decisive. Coming through Berry. He leaves it behind. Ball spits out. Jasper Fletcher swoops on it. Running snap. That is class. His father's son. That is as good as it gets. Brisbane by 14 points. 14-8-98. Plays 11-12-78. Quarter hour mark in the fourth.
Bit of a cruel twist if the father-sons are the ones that bury the Saints here. But that's just a brilliant goal, isn't it? Something out of nothing. And that's what it's going to take even. You know, there's still plenty of time left, so Saints need to keep at it here. They've seen they've been able to score, particularly out of centre bounce, very quickly. Just the last couple of bits of play. It's just been a bit of class and a composure, hasn't it?
I just want to say as well, his mother's son too, because Narelle was pretty handy also.
Well, just that little handball out of that contest by Link McCarthy.
That's 2 goal assists for McCarthy.
Yeah, just that's the little things that people don't notice, but he's on his hands and knees digging that ball out to put Fletcher into space.
Not to mention his dad, Adrian Fletcher, played for both these clubs, or all three of them perhaps. The Bears, the Brisbane Lions and the Saints, as the kick goes out wide from Will Ashcroft to Cameron. Deflects off the boot of Cameron towards Will Ashcroft. Hand pass away to Berry. Kicks into the pocket. In front is Wilkie. Takes the intercept mark. One-on-one with Rayner.
Exit that. Strong.
Margin's out to 14. That's a new game high either way. So 14 points, the widest margin of the day. A match which has had 11 lead changes. Wilkie to Sinclair to Hill. So with the game on the line, the Lions have lifted. But the Saints got an answer. Hill in the defensive 50, short to Howard. 17 gone in the last. Lions by 14. Next stop on ABC Sport, over to Perth for the Dockers and the Tigers. And then back here at Docklands tonight, the Bombers and the Roos.
Double dipper here at Docklands. We got warned on the way in, Court. We've got to be out by 4:30.
So Oscar Allen's gone back for the Lions.
St Kilda ball up the middle. Turnover. Windhager can't take the mark. Berry comes up with it. Has to rush a kick under pressure. Straight up and down. Up towards half forward. Heading back Garcia. Knocks it away to Dougal Howard. He puts it on the boot. Straight up and down. Inside 50 for Brisbane. Loman's onto the footy. Gets rid of it to Bailey. Twisting, turning, snapping. Cleverly. And Rayner marks. 25 out. Slightly left of centre.
It's just been the clever half forwards the last 6 or 7 minutes for the Lions. McCarthy,
Loman,
Bailey, Rayner. Coleman went back, but just those real sort of the flanker type players that you need. Now, they've been so effective in the last couple of grand finals for Brisbane. They've been a difference in this last quarter.
Cam Rayner has 1 goal today. This would make it very difficult for St Kilda. He sneaks it through. Rayner goes and the Lions are pouring them in. 20 points the lead, 15-8-98. Plays 11-12-78, 18 and a half into the fourth.
Yeah, it's a good call, Rammer. And you're looking for the game on the line. They looked for all intents and purposes, like they're up against it. Darcy Gardner goes down. The Saints have got momentum. The crowd's involved. And then you look around the ball and Lockie Neal is by his standards, an average day. Ashcroft's the other one, out of the centre bounce. Dunkley, and then the class getting involved forward of the ball. Loman, Cameron, Kitty Coleman bursting through for a goal, and Zach Bailey just showing his absolute class in the last 5 minutes. I mean, there's still plenty of time. It just feels like it sucked all the spirit and energy and momentum out of this game. Can they get one here out of the centre bounce? Wanganeen Miller goes in. Garcia's in there, the coning. What can he do?
Well, the Saints didn't finish well last week either. They stopped all walk against the Giants. Will Ashcroft clean out the middle, got it to Neil. Kick was perfect for Draper, just spilt it straight through his hands. Saints under pressure, trying to clear. Carroll can't link up with Wilkie. Cameron lurking, collects, goals. And the Lions have finished all over the top. They have run amok with their game on the line. Falling behind in the final term, Brisbane have responded with 5 on the bounce. 16-8, 104. St Kilda 11-12, 78. 20 minutes gone in the final term, and he's the best of Brisbane back amongst us.
Well, it's 5 goals in 10 minutes, so they've just really put the foot down. Will Ashcroft's had 9 for the quarter now. 4 of those have been ground balls, 3 clearances, and they've been centre clearances. Yeah. So that's where he's just done all his work. That ball to Lockie Neal out of the centre, it's such a one quick grab, then the ball's out of his hands. It was a perfect kick by Neal.
Yep, so strong.
But then ground ball inside forward 50. St Kilda just can't defend it.
The margin had basically been single figures all day. Now out to 26. Hall out of the middle for St Kilda. Inside 50. Chopped off by Leicester. Not paid the mark. Where he is in the end. So the free kick will go to, or the mark to Leicester. 20 out from his defensive goal. Kick short. Away to Wilmot. Wilmot pokes it beyond to Levi Ashcroft. Just beyond the defensive arc. 21 minutes into the fourth. The Lions will improve to 1-2 on the season should they win. St Kilda slipping to 1-3. Contest kick on the wing. Fourth the big ruckman, supping it at ground level. Neil gathers the footy away to Cameron. Trying to break through the tackle, can't do so. Goes back to Neil, back to Dunkley. Away to Draper, kick inside 50 for Brisbane. Morris can't mark, Wilkie gets involved. Zorko pinches it, coming through Will Ashcroft. Knocks it down to Logan Morris. He snaps on goal, bouncing ball in the pocket. Close to the boundary line, Reveal fighting after it. And he's hatching an egg in the end. Out of play. So a throw in left forward pocket. Lions by 26.
It's just got away from St Kilda with the game on the line in the last 12 minutes or so. 5 unanswered goals for Brisbane. Draper wins it down, picked up by Morris. Hand pass back to the corridor. Reveal. Hurried snap goalward, misses near side, and a good cover defensive effort by Hall to lay the tackle.
It's still 7 minutes, but have they got any run in their legs at all? Wanganeen Miller takes the kick out. Got to go corridor now. Take a risk losing by 6 or 7 to see if you can get yourself back into the game. Not a lot of run left though for the Saints.
Wanganeen Malira, driving ball out to Mason Wood. He wheels and goes, knows the equation. Looks for Owens, he marks, high half forward, loops it over the top to the runner Bradley Hill. Half forward, driving kick to full forward. Higgins in good position. Wilmot getting back, gets a spoil on it, brings it down at ground level, and the troops arrive. Levi Ashcroft away towards Ryan Lester, his kick errant, and Jack Sinclair will win it for the Saints.
Might be the spoil of the year from Wilmot as Higgins, who was hurt, and then he picked himself up off the turf all alone. And as Higgins was sort of nursing his shoulder, jumped back to his feet, realising there was a chance to take the mark. And you wouldn't believe who bobbed up in front of him again as Wilmot comes across to take another defensive mark.
That 30 seconds of Darcy Wilmot will be shown all week by the Brisbane Lions. Just 2 outstanding defensive efforts.
It's a great example, is it? Because he hasn't had a great day. No, hasn't been his best day at all. In fact, made a few blues in that first half. But
the 2 guys that don't get a lot of shine, but Jasper Fletcher has played 71 consecutive games from debut, and Wilmot now is 86th consecutive game. So once they've come in, they have not missed. Held it down in that back 6 at a young age, Wilmot and Fletcher. A long kick down the line ends up out of play off hand, so we'll have a boundary throw in on the wing. Jasper's waiting to come on beneath us.
Well, Will Ashcroft has had 10 possessions. Nobody's going near him. Well, Maxwell's just got to him now at this stoppage.
What a role he's played in that 10-minute burst where Brisbane have busted this game wide open from the boundary throw, and we'll have a ball up.
It's still like Maxwell just let him go into that contest.
Brennan from Hobart tells us the Devils have just beaten Port Melbourne, so an 8-point win for the Devils in the VFL as Will Ashcroft quick kick forward, but Flanders the intercept mark.
Disposal number 11 for Will Ashcroft. Saints ball though. Flanders to Wanganeen Miller are kicking inside 50, and Wilmot again reaching over Hall, punches it out. Throw in right at the elbow of 50 in the boundary line. At half forward for St Kilda. 25 into the fourth. Lions by 27. Last 5 goals of the game. By way of the reigning premier twice over. Neil down in front, receives the tap from Fort, shovels out a handball. Lions get it moving forward, sliding in Marshall. Knocks it away towards the Lions, ends up with Draper. Now coming through McCarthy, has to get a handball out, and it works out for Morris. He gets through a couple of tackles, kicks dangerously into the corridor, and the Saints have the numbers. They'll win it back through Dougal Howard.
Gives a hand pass away, Wood to Garcia. He works it out wide to Wilson. Drops the kick short to Higgins, not the required trip. Higgins rolls around on his right boot, looking for number 4. Gallop on the line. Leaps up in the air and punches it into the cheer squad. And a rush behind. Makes it a 26-point margin, 25 gone in the last.
Well, you look at the last 2 minutes of defensive efforts by Brisbane, and that's the difference in this last quarter. St Kilda just simply couldn't do it up the other end.
Lions by 26, time on final term.
Looked okay, Gallop, behind the ball. Yeah. You get the feeling he's going to get a decent run at it now with the injuries, the players out. That's right.
Jack Payne.
Lions to the wing, Rayner. He kicks towards centre half forward. Nobody there. Marshall goes and gathers for St Kilda. Handball away to Butler, dispossessed, coming through Zorko. Toe poke inside 50, lands in the lap of Lohman, who puts the finishing touches on it. A goal. And he pulls a few faces of the St Kilda fans in the crowd. Lions by 32, 26 into the fourth. Luke Ball, Adam Ramanauskas.
He did. Cheeky, Kai, but it's the game's really opened up now. And Brisbane forward, smart forward, just sneaking forward to the ball. Zorko, he's had a good day, Zorko. He just keeps doing it, doesn't he? What's he had gained? That's for the quarter. And he's at 24 for the game. So 623 metres gained. So it's that experience behind the ball. Again, without Andrews and Gardner going down. Oscar Allen's gone back as well. That's the benefit of bringing him across. Jasper Fletcher. So just the class and the experienced players in this last 15 minutes, stand up and win the game.
Finished all over the top here, Brisbane. Last 6 goals of the match. Draper palms it down. Guess who's got it at the coalface? Will Ashcroft extracts it with a hand pass. He's getting a free, though, as he's legged. Amongst all of that, I know he can cop some criticism for some empty calorie possessions at times, but he has been enormous, Will Ashcroft, in the last. Shares it with Dunkley. Kicks to full forward. Spills front and centre. Saints cough it up. Rayner shoots, misses. Wrong side of the post.
Well, he's had 11 clearances for the game, Will Ashcroft. Huge. 5 of those have been out of the centre.
Margin 33 points Brisbane's way, 27 gone final term.
Right up until the 16-minute mark of this final quarter, it was a single-figure margin game for the entirety. Brisbane have piled on 6 consecutive goals, and they lead by 33. They're inside 50 again, and Fletcher's kick is a good one for a leading Logan Morris.
It was Ashcroft. Yep. Ashcroft again. That man involved 2 possessions, so it's a good call, because you're right. You tend to think of him more as that silky outside player, possessions like that. But in this last quarter, when someone needed to roll their sleeves up and go and win it, he has been as tough and as clean inside as anyone. It's been a huge performance. Berry's been good too, copping that knock early, but he's continued to fight on.
Logan Morris puts his laces through it from 50 and out of bounds on the full. Lions by 33, 28 played, 4th term.
Razor from Rockingham. Hi guys, loving your coverage. Listening from, I think it's Amaru in New Zealand, in the South Island. You're our Kiwi expert, Ben. Is that how you pronounce that?
I'm not sure.
Thanks, Razor. Appreciate that. Nice to hear from you. Simon in Adelaide says, what have you thought of Lockie Neal's game?
Better in the second half. Garcia clearly beat him in the first half, but he's been much better. He's had 14 possessions, I think, in the second half.
Saints through Flanders and then Sinclair. Short kick to Filippo. Flanders got a 50 as the man on the mark didn't come back from the marked kick out in the back pocket. Filippo, the lefty, inside the forward 50. Hands on it from Higgins, not to be. Falls down to Wilmot. It's a get-out-of-here kick. Just jams it on the boot. Now towards half-back. Rolls away in front of Silvani, one of the shrinking jackpack. according to our man Ben Cameron. Retreats back to Wilkie. Wilkie kicks into the pocket and bursting out on the lead. Liam Ryan takes the mark.
Hasn't been sighted much in the second half, Liam Ryan. 3 goals in that first half.
Now he's racing the clock too as his game is well and truly drifting away from St Kilda at speed. Ryan hooks across the body, misses near side. We'll make the margin 32, half-hour mark, final turn. And Simon's on you about that as well, Ben.
Yeah.
The St Kilda Jack Pack is not entirely disbanded. Carroll, Silvani, McRae, Sinclair, Higgins and co.
Stronger than I thought, to be honest. After Billings had departed, and I think maybe one more.
Jack Loney.
Yeah, Jack Loney. So I felt like it had disbanded, but they've recruited.
Jack Loney, that was 5 years ago.
Yeah, but that was the origins of the Jack Pack. The Lions chipping it around inside defensive 50. Wilmot goes the corridor and it works out. Zorko over the top, gets it to Coleman. Coleman waits a kick for a leading laterally Cameron. 45 out, slightly left of centre. And Charlie Cameron trying out another to his growing tally today.
It's unbelievable. You add Coleman, Draper and Allen. McCarthy to a premiership team, effectively.
Good performance this, isn't it? They were tested and they struggled to really click into gear in that first half, or first 3 quarters really, but again, it's been their leaders and class players.
Cameron's drop punt is away to the right, off hands, it's through for a minor score. Brisbane by 32 points, nearly 31 minutes travelled, fourth term, Saturday footy on ABC Sport.
It's been a big finish for Brisbane, looking for their first 4 points of the year as Draper knocks it away into the path of Wilson, who collects for the Saints. Handball to Hill, handball to Marshall. Hand pass out in front of Wilson, 70 metres out, kicks inside 50. Higgins tracking the footy back, but the Brisbane numbers close in. Berry tackled by Higgins, ball comes out and Higgins collects again. Dishes out a hand pass to Ryan, back into the ruck of players. Collected here by Gallup, handball away to Reveal, to Berry, who's copping the jeers. He handballs away to Zorko, and that's a long kick out of defence, up to the wing. Rayner slipped over after giving a shove to Flanders, and the umpire was all over that. And a free kick for Flanders on the wing.
Flanders sends it back inside 50. And the Lions' premiership defence is underway. Their first win of the season. While for St Kilda, they're left with faces marred by dust and sweat and blood. That's all they've got to show for it. The Lions by 33.
That's why we wear the colours, maroon and blue. We will always fight for victory, and we'll always see it through. Win or lose, we do or die. In defeat, we'll always try. Fitzroy, the club we hold so dear. Premiers will be this year.
So the old Fitzroy song rings out around Docklands. The Lions win by 33. They kicked the last 6 goals of the game. Before that, we had 11 lead changes. It was almost entirely a single-digit margin, but they broke away late, the Lions. The goal kickers, Lohman 2, Allen 2, Morris 2, Rayner the same, Charlie Cameron and Zach Bailey, then singles to Coleman, McCarthy, Levi Ashcroft, Berry and Fletcher. While for St Kilda, 3 to Sharman, 3 to Ryan, 2 to Owens, 2 to Higgins and a single to Alex Taru. The Lions by 33 points.
Oh, that's why we wear the colours, maroon and blue. We will always fight for victory, and we'll always see it through. Win or lose, we do or die. In defeat, we'll always try. Fitzroy, a club we hold so dear. Premiers will be this year.
The old Fitzroy song, 30 years since the merger in 2026. They're wearing the old maroon jumper today with the FFC monogram in the white. The old colours of the Gorillas from all those years ago. The Lions by 33 points. There is an expression in boxing in the fight game that class tells over time. And it reminded me a lot like that here, where the champs challenged late in the piece. Ultimately, the class shone through. They kicked the last 6 goals after St Kilda challenged them in that final term to finish all over the top. Adam Ramanaskas, Luke Ball on ABC Sport.
Well, St Kilda kicked that goal at the 8-minute mark of the last quarter and go 4 points clear. And then it's 6-0 after that. So it just, you're right. Class showed out at the end. I thought in that last quarter, Will Ashcroft was amazing. 15 possessions, 5 clearances, 4 of those centre bounce clearances, 5 ground ball gets, and the list went on in that last quarter. Lachie Neale was terrific. Zorko was terrific. Kitty Coleman had some really, really big moments in that last quarter. But then Bailey got involved. Rayner got involved. Cameron got involved. Lohman got involved. So all those sort of, they're classified as outside players, but just the ground ball game in that last quarter, St Kilda dominated. Brisbane dominated. They were plus 10 in ground ball gets, and they were plus 6 in clearances. So, when the game got tough, when the game got tight, when the game needed 50-50 balls to be won, Brisbane were just simply better. They were just simply better in the last 15 minutes of this contest. Before that, it was back and forth. There was lead change after lead change, but that's what the champs do. Yep. When it's time to, to put the pedal down or start to land a few punches, they landed more than a few, Brisbane, and I think that would Craig McRae sitting a couple of boxes over from us would be sitting there going, okay, that's what I remember how they play. That's what we're coming up against on Thursday night. St Kilda on the other, they'll be a little bit disappointed, I think, with that. They had many opportunities in that game. Obviously, the first quarter was error ridden, lots of behinds. The first half, you could say that they missed some opportunities, but you look at it, it's the usual suspects. So Wanganeen Miller is at the top of the page. Sinclair's at the top of the page. Wilkie had another terrific game down back. You want others. I want to see Philippou. I want to see Darcy Wilson. Hugo Garcia, I thought, did a terrific job on Lachie Neale in the first half. Kept him to 5 possessions, but then for whatever reason, in the second half, he's not playing on him. Lachie Neale goes and have 15 in the second half.
What was the thinking there?
I don't know.
Yeah.
He went to Ashcroft, I think. Right. In the third quarter, he went across to Ashcroft, and then in the end, it looked like in that last quarter they released everything, didn't they, to try and win the game. But you're right,
that's hard to do as a tagger, isn't it?
No doubt.
Yeah,
you want to set
yourself done somewhere, and
you've set yourself the whole week. You've been told you're playing on Lachie Neale, and then at half time maybe that goes and changes slightly. So it's sort of like, well, I've done the job for a half. Let me do it for a game.
It's like the game of whack-a-mole, where you sort of all of a sudden you feel like you're covering one guy, and then you go and
and that's the strength
bloke
of
you were
Brisbane
covering
team.
gets let off the chain.
That's the strength of this Brisbane team. You can't keep them all down, and you're right. At certain times throughout the day, it was Levi Ashcroft getting involved, wasn't it? Zach Bailey, you mentioned all these guys who we know have still got their best footy for the season in front of them. Given the deeper finishes, I guess, over the last couple of years, and the fact that we're only in March, really, so that they're going to get better and better. But I just thought you're right, when they were challenged, they're the ones that, because it would have been easy to say, oh no, it hasn't been our day today.
Bit hard
and
today.
Darcy Gardner, it's a little bit hard. We'll be okay, but no, they screwed their guts up and rolled their sleeves up, as I said, and got to work. And that was the powerful lines that we've seen over the last couple of years in that last 15 minutes, and unfortunately for Saint supporters, just shows the gap, doesn't it? I think that they're trying to really bridge. I mean, you probably think, gosh, if we can't get them today, given the stage of the season and a bit of personnel, when are we going to get them? But they know that the journey they're on and the gap that they're trying to bridge, as I said. So sometimes you just got to get over the line, and great for Oscar Allen to get his first win, and he ends up going behind the ball to join Ty Gallop. So, they're going to be tested, the Lions, I think, and from a personnel point of view. But it looks like they've been able to build such a deep squad, doesn't it? That they within game were able to shuffle the magnets and find a way. And think about Darcy Wilmot's couple of efforts in that last 10 minutes. So dual premiership player, still only 21.
That's the difference between the two teams.
That is the difference, and that's why they're the reigning champs, and still you would think still entitled to be the premiership favourites this year.
We've got another half an hour, so plenty of time to pull it all apart. 0437 774 774. The votes coming up. More from Borley and Rammer. Of course, the first leg of the double dipper. They don't wait long here. You can see the cleaners already in.
Here come the Yellow Jackets.
Trying to move people out of the way, and all of a sudden they're picking up sort of bottles and everything at your feet.
Crowd too. Did we get a crowd in the end? The third level was pretty full.
31,854.
Okay. Yeah,
so they saw the Lions finish over the top and kick the last 6 goals to get their first 4 points of the young season. Let's go into the winners' rooms. Tim Hodges is down there with the reigning champs. Hodgie.
Corbin, it is funny, the double dipper. The Essendon and North Melbourne, the off-field teams are outside the rooms waiting to come in even just to decorate the rooms, which is going to happen as soon as they shower and get the Lions out. The Bombers will move in here. So the last of the Lions just coming in. Josh Dunkley will be the last in the queue. We'll talk to Cam Rayner after this. So Sam Draper and Oscar Allen getting doused with sports drink as we speak after first wins for the Lions. They're arm in arm now and they'll sing the song. So a 5-day break for the Lions until Collingwood, their biggest home game of the year, next Thursday. Darcy Gardner was in the song with his wrecked shoulder, and Noah Answorth is going to be taken to hospital with, he's got concussion, but also the fear is internal or rib damage. So there's a big wash-up for the Lions. I'll bring you Cam Rayner, who probably had the best celebration of the day, putting the popped-up collar with these new Lions jumpers. I'll bring you Cam very soon as he wanders over.
Awesome. Thanks heaps for all of that, Hodgie. We'll get back to you shortly. You had Jack Silvani at different times throughout the day, and what a fun battle that was between the former number 1 pick and the 2-time premiership winner, Cam Rayner. This is Saturday footy on ABC Sport. Brisbane by 33 points. They kicked the last 6 goals after falling behind in the final term to win their first game of the young season. I find this a fascinating stretch of the season. So you've got opening round, we've got all these buys, which we've spoken lots about and everything else, but then we go Easter weekend into gather round, and then basically we have one more round of regular footy, all 9 games, and then it's the Anzac Day weekend. So it feels like that month of the season is such an important stretch. And how often do we say early in a new season that, you can't win the premiership in that kind of period, but you can certainly not so much lose it, but fall way off the pace. And it feels like that month of April in particular is critical to try and set up your whole year.
Yeah, I think in particular too, the interstate teams who, the benefit of a home final is so much more critical for them. So, I sort of feel like this Lions team, we were talking, half-time call, they almost need to give the competition a 3 or 4 game head start, don't they? But having said that, they do need to win games like this just to bank them. And we know that they'll be timing themselves and their best footy for the back half of the year. But coming down and winning games like this, it could have gone either way. Really, really, really important.
Lions by 33, kicking the last 6 goals of the game. Let's go back to the winners' rooms with Tim Hodges.
Cam Rayner, Corbin has been good enough to come over and join us. We appreciate your time. Is it relief? That was a bloody hard Saturday at the office, right?
Yeah, mate, we expected it. St Kilda have looked pretty good, and we know how good their early starts are. So we set that out before the game to make that a big focus, and they really brought it today. And it was good for the new boys and just that synergy of the group to get the first win.
And when it clicks like it did in the last quarter, that 10-minute patch, it just showed that when you go, you're still as good as anyone.
Yeah, mate, and I feel like that's a little bit of our game style. It's like, we preach pound the rock at this footy club. It's just keep bringing the pressure, keep bringing the intensity, and hopefully we can grind away on teams. And when we have those little patches, it's exciting footy.
Before I send you upstairs to the boys, can I just ask you on Noah Answorth? We were just talking about before they threw down to us. It was the same round, same venue, same team last year where he did the Achilles. And now, not only is it concussion, but the fear is some rib damage. It was an unbelievable mark by Alex Taru, but he just can't take a trick, can he, Noah?
Yeah, and I guess he's a victim of his own courage a little bit, Noah. That's why we love him, and that's why he's been such a good player. But obviously it's devastating to see him go down again. But it's him doing what he does. He goes back with the flights and he puts his body on the line. As we did last year, we'll get around him and support him, and fingers crossed it's the best result possible.
Cam's got the cans on, guys. I'll send you upstairs, Adam Ramanauskas and Luke Ball.
Oh, well done, Cam. Great win in the end. Tough win, yeah. So Ainsworth goes down and Darcy Gardner goes down. The Saints hit the front, that 10-minute mark of that last quarter, and the ability to settle from there and just shuffle the magnets as well. I think, Ty Gallup has to go back, and then the beauty of getting Oscar Allen across, he goes behind the ball, so you lose a few of your forward teammates, but you must just have such great confidence in the depth of your squad.
Yeah, us forwards make a joke about it, but we'll just keep sacrificing our players to help out the back line. But no, it's great, and I think it's always been one of our strengths. Even when I first got to the club, I feel like one of our main priorities were to be able to make sure you can play dual positions, and I guess when there's circumstances like that, that proves really, really helpful. But talk about Oscar, he's fitted in really well, and even for Ty, I don't think he's played a game in the back line and has trained with the forwards the whole pre-season. I thought he was really solid down there today. So, yeah, it's a great effort from the fellas.
Okay, so any chance we might see you sort of drift back behind the footy, Cam?
I did a couple of years ago, but then I came out and kicked a couple of goals and I said, yeah, that's enough for me out there. So I went back down the forward line. But I'll leave that to all those boys down there. They seem to have fun down there, and I'll keep having fun up the forward end.
Cam, it's a growing grudge match between St Kilda and Brisbane. I've had a bit to say about the footy club and the supposed advantages that the club receives. Does that live with you or the playing group at all?
Nah, not really, to be honest. I think as a group we were more focused about coming out and trying to play our football. I feel like we did it really well against the Bulldogs in the first round, and we probably let one slip, and that first quarter last week kind of let us down 2 weeks ago against the Swans let us down. So the main focus this game was to come out and try and play our footy, and I feel like in that last quarter when we started to string things together, that looked more like our Brisbane style of football.
Cam, it's nice to add Draper, Allen, Kitty Coleman, and there's one more on Link McCarthy, to an already back-to-back premiership side. It must, obviously you want to continue to win, but having those guys that are just hungry and chasing for it must make you particularly want to get it, particularly for Link McCarthy, who's missed the last couple.
Yeah, mate, definitely. I feel like the year before we had a few players that missed out as well in Darcy Gardner and the Big O, and obviously not looking too far ahead, but it's a little bit of a theme that we've spoken about in pre-seasons. We want to make sure that we're, the success and excitement that we've had as a group and been able to experience, we want to share that with the rest of our team. And yeah, it's awesome. And you see Link come out, he, I guess, nearly 2 years out of the game and just comes back and throws his body in as hard as anyone. And, the rest of the boys really complement the group really well, and it gives us a lot to strive for going forward for the rest of the season.
Cam, just hang with us for 15 seconds. This is what we call in the radio game a release. We've got some of our audience that are about to depart, and then we'll keep chatting to you in just a moment. But the Brisbane Lions kicked the last 6 goals of the game to win by 33 points. So for those of you, appreciate your time this afternoon. And for everybody else, we carry on. Cam Rayner with us in the rooms on ABC Sport.
Cam, you're a young veteran now of the team, of the competition. Where do you take your game? What do you want to do next? You've played a couple of great final series. You're a 2-time premiership player. Is it more permanent midfield? Is it more permanent? What do you want to do with your game moving forward?
I guess when I was younger, I probably used to think about trying to get more into the midfield, and I was probably more worried about disposals. But I guess at this stage of my career, all I really care about is winning. I want to do what I can for the team to win. I guess today I was looking more dangerous deeper, so I played a little bit more time out of the square. But there's going to be games where I feel like we might need something, a little bit of a change up in the middle, and I'll be able to go in there and do that. But I guess the beauty of this coaching staff and the team around me is they'll support me in the decision which we work towards throughout the week. And I don't really want to put any limits on where I'll be playing for most of the game. It's more about where I can help complement the rest of the boys.
So over the pre-season, what did you go to work on? I saw you're doing, I know you love your boxing and the like, so I saw you in the gym quite often doing that. But what did you really focus on over the off-season, pre-season?
I was working on going to half-back, actually. Just probably a little bit more with that power endurance. I guess that's the way my football is. I'm a bit more of a burst player, which can go and have impact. So I guess putting myself under strain in those boxing sessions was really helpful, and then I would go and do touch after that to get that fatigue and try and use that explosiveness the whole time. So it's just little things that I can keep chipping away at in my game, and I'll continue to go to work on that. And I guess I've got great players at this footy club that can really help me with that, which is really good.
Cam Rayner with us, the 2-time premiership winner with the Brisbane Lions, a 33-point win over the Saints. Couple of fun ones to finish, Cam. Our man Luke Ball up here has been running a couple of theories One was about the sluggish start from both teams, about the early start time, not just 12:35 local, but before noon on your body clock as Queenslanders. How did you go with the early jump?
Yeah, it was a little bit different, but to be honest, I actually don't really mind it. It kind of takes that waiting out of the day. I feel like when we play those night games, you sit around all day and wait to get there, and it wasn't too bad, I guess. The scoreboard didn't reflect that well. I think it was 2 goals, 7 to 0 goals 5. But I didn't mind it. It was a little bit of a change-up, but it wasn't too bad.
The other one was the jumper clash. So we love the Fitzroy jumper, but was this the right opponent to wear it against? It looked, at least from our vantage point at times, that there was a lot of sort of dark splash with white out there on the field. How did you find it?
Yeah, in reflection, I might use that as an excuse for a couple of my turnovers, actually. I didn't really notice it as much on the game, but... yeah, I actually really love the jumper. I think it looks awesome, and it's great for the Fitzroy supporters who are always coming out in high numbers down in Melbourne to be able to wear that for them.
You had the best celebration of the day, I think, to go along with it, Cam. Nice little pop collar.
Yeah, I know, it's fancy. I said, if you're not going to look good in this jumper today, then I don't think you're going to look good in any footy jumper. So I told the boys today, I said, if I kick one, I'm going to pop the collar for the Fitzroy people.
Well, you're going along swimmingly, Cam. Congratulations on the win today. Incredibly, you are... younger than the merger. So that happened 30 years ago, and you're still quite a few years off hitting the 30s yet, but playing fine footy, Cam. Appreciate your time.
Nah, thanks, Vales. Appreciate it. Enjoy the rest of the Arvo.
Cam Rayner with us inside the victorious Brisbane Rooms. Appreciate his time. We're on ABC Radio across the country. It's great to have you with us. This is Saturday Footy on ABC Sport. We lost some of our audience halfway through that interview to News Radio, but we'll catch them up, I'm sure, on the votes when they come to hand. Plus, we'll get some reaction from what's happening with the Saints on the back of their third loss to the new season. So they're 1-3, just that slender win over GWS to show for their first month of footy. They head into the bye, and the next time we'll see them is in Gather Round, where they play the curtain closer in Gather Round, the Sunday night fixture against Port Adelaide, which whenever you play one of the local teams in Port Adelaide, in Gather Round, one, you can consider yourself a little unlucky because it's a neutral game where you play a team that sleeps in their own bed. But it means you're going to play in front of a pretty good audience, of course, with a packed house expected. While we'll see the Brisbane Lions Thursday night at the Gabba against Collingwood. Should we go to the Saints? Anything else on the Lions? Covered it from most angles.
Yeah, look, I think the hard part for them, Harris Andrews does come back. Yep. Darcy Gardner is down now, obviously.
He's got one more week, Andrews, doesn't he? Sorry.
Round 5.
One to go. Yeah.
Jack Payne's obviously a fair way off. It's probably how they shuffle the chairs behind the ball, what they do with their key posts behind the ball. You know, they've clearly got the class there. So Wilmot's there, Zorko's there, Kitty Coleman's back now. Ryan Lester's a bit of a Swiss Army knife what he can do, but I think they'll be a little bit concerned about the key post.
Hipwood mid-year coming back from the knee. McCluggage only one away, the All-Australian and one of their co-captains.
He'll sneak back in.
Yeah. Gee, it's a good problem to have, isn't it, when they try and get them in. The guys they lost today, concussion for Noah Answorth, so he'll miss next week at least. It looks... he looked sore coming off the ground as he was crunched after Alex Tauru took a hanger on his head. And then the AC joint injury for Darcy Gardner. What would an AC joint injury be if it's your stock standard?
To me, it looked like a full displacement, so like a grade 3, which usually requires surgery. So if you can get that sewn back up, then it's probably a 6 to 8er, I think. If it's anything less than that, sometimes you can strap it up and even put a bit of pain-killing stuff into it and play on. I remember a grade 1 year rammer, and you can sort of play through it a bit. It's not ideal, but
sore.
And then it's sore during the week. So I would suspect that was a big hit. It looked like it had been displaced. So without sort of wanting to pre-diagnose too much, that'll be a 6 to 8er, I would think.
Tim Hodges might have some more for us. He's still in the Brisbane Rooms. Hodgie.
I do. I'm just standing right behind the paramedics who remain in the Brisbane Lions room. So they're going to take Darcy Gardner, is the one who is going to hospital, and they're just waiting for him to come out. He'd already had his shower and put the civvies on. He's just the doctor's just grabbed him now, so he's walking over with the paramedics. He's going to be taken to hospital. So it is a right AC, a really bad one, as you just said. They're saying 2 to 3 months, so that's horrible for him. I think there's good news for Noah Answorth. So he's not required to go to hospital. So they don't think he's suffered broken ribs or any internal damage. They're confident it's just a serious concussion. So he's obviously out already for next week. but it's not as bad as we first feared for Noah Answorth, according to the paramedics who have ticked off on him not having to go to hospital. He'll travel with the team on the bus, which is outside. Like, it's amazing they're getting rid of this team so quick, and shower and straight on the bus, straight to the airport and home, bearing in mind they've only got 5 days until the Magpies. And as I said before, the Bombers are waiting outside. I can see them outside with even the sponsor boards and everything that has to come in. So they're waiting to come in. So not good news for Gardner. Slightly better news, if you can say that, for Noah Answorth, whose wretched form continues. How is that record? It was the same opponents in Kilda, the same round 3, the same venue here at the Docklands last year when he did the Achilles. And now 12 months later, he's been KO'd, and certainly it was feared that it was going to be worse with the internal damage, but that's been given the all clear.
Thanks, Hodgie. Appreciate that. I remember that fixture. We did that one. That was Saturday afternoon. The Lions won by 45. The thing I remember most from the game was, remember Hugo Garcia got subbed out in the first half tactically, and then he actually came out and won the Rising Star nom the following week. But the Lions won that game as they did here. So 45 points then. It was 33 today.
Just to give people an idea of this double dipper and the changeover that Hodgie's explained down in the rooms, the tarpaulins that go up where they run out in the races, they've already changed. The Brisbane banners come down. All the red and black for Essendon's gone up. The same for North at the other end of the ground. Our man Fitzy, he's been out there playing traffic cop, just directing a lot of people around and looking busy.
Well, he looks, he's up and about. He looks like a proud father almost to see everything happening, doesn't he? At his ground, his deck. She's the... if it's a bit of an omen call, the red and black's gone up really quick. The Kangaroos are just putting theirs up now, so I like this. They mean business today, the Bombers.
Look at it, efficient football club.
They're here early, they're waiting to bump in, they're ready to go. So that's a good sign, I reckon.
I like it.
If they started playing now, it might not be enough.
The one thing that would be hard to... easy, Ben. Jeez. Shots shy.
Parting shot.
Subiaco.
The Gatorade sports drink on the ground, they're going to have to try and clean up as well.
Mop that up.
That'll be pretty damp down there. And change rooms do have a particular stench to them. So I hope someone's got a bit of Glen 20 as they're just going around to try and freshen them up. As you just had a whole football team in there for a few hours, and now the next team's got to bump in. In between that, we're going to Perth. Justin Longmuir is going to be the feature guest as part of the pre-game coverage. So looking forward to hearing from the coach of the Fremantle Dockers, Clint Weldon, and Akash Fodder to call the footy. Chris Waterman and Cara Antonio, your experts, with Bridget Lacey on the boundary. So Fremantle and Richmond were about a dozen minutes away from taking you to Perth. Off the SMS, 0437 774 774. Lads, planting winter veggies in the Melbourne drizzle. Great fall as always. 1-0 games at the G from Tom in Wheelers Hill.
He's going to dominate those veggies because it's getting a lot of rain, obviously, today, yesterday, and maybe a bit tomorrow. And it's 27 in the middle of the week. So
perfect timing.
He's dominated. Now, no games at the G. They could have played the Shield final there, Corp.
Jim Maxwell would have been happy.
He
sent me a text message saying, why isn't the Shield final at the G?
There is one game there tomorrow, so Carlton obviously will come up against Melbourne. People actually asked me this week, why are they playing 2 games at the same day at Docklands? And we lived it last year, didn't we? We had Fitzy in the box with us, it told us. So basically with the Thursday night's been a regular event because Thursdays are every week, and yet the CBA says every team's only allowed 2 5-day breaks. It gives them greater flexibility in the fixture. So... say once upon a time if you couldn't play 2 Docklands games on the same day, one of these matches might have had to be on Thursday night or on Sunday, for example, to try and spread out those Docklands games. If you can play 2 on the one day, perfect.
It just means they can manipulate which fixtures are the night fixtures and the prime times a little bit better.
Well, I think people were sick of seeing the Docklands tenants on Thursday and Friday night.
Yeah.
Given, unfortunately...
We're on the weekend.
Unfortunately, Essendon, Carlton and North... in particular had been battling for
the
a while.
AFL own the ground now, so revenue becomes important. The MCG, obviously, they'll get their suite of games as they always do, but the more games the AFL play here, the more money they make.
Yep.
Pretty simple.
Greater flexibility of the fixture available to them, so 2 games on the same day. You'll see it a couple of times this year. Fitzy did tell us that they were looking at a ticket model where perhaps you get a ticket for both games and you can stay in the precinct. I'm not so sure they've conquered that as yet, but it is in the works. You probably need 2, with all due respect, sort of lower drawing teams. So you need like a St Kilda North back-to-back. The problem with an Essendon home game, for example, they bring so many of their own ticketed members anyway.
Yeah, you and Rama are sticking around to watch Essendon.
Same with Carlton and...
I've got a basketball grand final to go to very shortly, actually.
Well, you're not sticking around.
I'll miss it. I reckon I'll miss it tonight. I might, yeah.
Even the true believers.
Oh, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to listen to ABC Radio. I think that might be a much better idea.
What a perfect way to do it. Anthony near Albury, love the call. More regional matches preferred over double headers at Docklands. That's Anthony near Albury, where South beat North in national round back in 1952. Thanks, Anthony, for a little history lesson there. I've actually been to Albury. I've called a Ovens and Murray grand final with you, Ben, a couple of years ago now.
Out in Lavington.
We took Brett DeLidio out there. He had a great time tells me he's a country lad still.
You know what does amaze me, though? The amount of rubbish that they've cleaned up. Like, people just can't put their rubbish in the bin.
Yeah.
Why does everyone just chuck it under their seat?
Well, probably laziness. One, because they don't want to get up and miss any of the game. But two, when they do leave, it's not hard to pick up your bucket of chips or your drink and just take it to the rubbish bin.
It's like I have to explain to Corbin when he gets out of my car. Just take your rubbish with you, please, Corbin.
You should see the state of his car. That's another conversation for another day. 0437 774 774. All right, the assessment of the Saints. So they hit the bye 4 games into the season, 1 and 3. Their losses to Collingwood in what was a low-scoring affair, and that the Pies had those high uncontested marks. You go to their next fixture, which was Melbourne. They got caught in a shootout, and Stephen King's team ran over the top of them to win by 13. So lost 2 games by a collective margin of 25 points. They beat the Giants. They were well and truly in control at halftime. Giants came rattling home, and in the end they held on to win by 4 in stormy conditions in Sydney. And then here they were in front in the last quarter against the 2-time reigning premiers, then concede the last 6 goals. How would Ross and St Kilda, or how should they feel about it through the first 4 weeks?
I mean, it is a win-loss industry, isn't it? Albeit that you're looking for progress. I think they would have looked at that, or the first block, the first 4 games into the bye, and they would have wanted to be at least 2-2, Ramo, if not 3-1, given the noises coming out of there in the pre-season. The fact that it seemed like everyone was fit and firing, and they were going to get a couple of teams who potentially weren't, and they'll probably rue that Collingwood game. They certainly had opportunities in that game to win it. And then the Melbourne game, you said, was a bit of a different game, an unusual sort of game in terms of the way that they've played in recent times, and they lose that one as well. So, and then again, I think today they were brave today. Just in the end, the gap in class and quality probably is what shone out. So, a disappointing start, first block of games, but there's a long way to go. I think the key is, I mean, we're getting to the stage where if we see Max King, it's going to be a bonus, unfortunately, isn't it?
It'll be a miracle.
Yeah, that's right. So, and he just hasn't played much footy at all in the second week. So, I mean, I think all the focus was on the key recruits that came in. I think they've all shown a bit, in this first month. I don't think they were ever going to be the difference between jumping from 12th to 4th, but certainly De Koning, I think's been really good over this month of footy. Albeit he's faded out of games, which he did today. I thought he looked good at times, but faded out a little bit in terms of his influence. I thought Silvani was pretty solid today, particularly in that first half. Flanders has his moments, doesn't he? But what he had 22 possessions, and again, when the game had to be won in that last quarter, it was the Brisbane midfielders that stood up and did the job. So, but that was Flanders, I guess, found himself out of the Suns midfield last year. So again. Take the price tag out of it. He was always just going to be a solid citizen. Liam Ryan showed something today, but faded out of it a bit in the second half as well. So probably in summary, they would have loved to have been 2-2, and they'll say that they're probably not going to judge it on wins and losses in its entirety this season, but progress. But you called it during the call, Rama, really. Those senior guys, you can't get too much more out of Sinclair. And so the best 2 players today are probably Sinclair and Wilkie, aren't they, at both ends of the ground? Yep. It's got to be Philippou. It's got to be Garcia. Sharman looked good today, but then goes off. Thought Windhager showed a bit. Hall shows a bit, but not over the 4 quarters. They're the ones that really have to bridge that gap, I think.
The vote's coming up quickly to the St Kilda rooms. Brisbane by 33. Saturday footy on ABC Sport. Tim Hodges.
Corbin, so Ross Lyon has gone into his press conference, so that's the end of media access. So we don't get to talk to anyone, but we probably don't have time anyway. The main news down here for the Saints who are bitterly disappointed. It was really just the 10 minutes that blew them away in that final term, is Cooper Sharman. So he is now in concussion protocols. The good news and the blessing for the Saints is they have the bye next week, so they don't play until gather round, so he will be okay for that. The only other injury concern was a badly dislocated finger for Mitch Owens, who came off multiple times to have it restrapped, but he'll be fine as well. So licking their wounds, the Saints, after putting up a hell of a performance, but just falling short in that final term.
I'm just not sure what's improved yet with St Kilda. That's what I would say. I don't think they're getting any more from De Koning that they weren't getting from Marshall last year, for example. Like Silvani, Silvani's a good player, but you know he's not changing. It's not a game changer. Flanders not yet. He's not a game changer just yet. So it's sort of like, well, you probably go, well, how hard now do we have to go up the draft for the next couple of years? We think we've got Wanganeen, Malera, we've got Sinclair, Wilkie. You know, we've got the senior guys there, but have we got the young talent there?
I want to see them come out breathing fire after the bye. So 1 and 3, they got Port Adelaide on Sunday night. It's an away game effectively and gather round at Adelaide Oval. Yeah. Then the Crows, so back-to-back Adelaide Oval games. Then West Coast back here at Docklands, then Carlton. So Port's around their station, you'd think, and then games against...
Three winnables.
Against the Eagles and the Blues, you think they'd be winning. They'll be an underdog against the Crows. But say they go 3-1 in the next 4, they get themselves to even after 8, and you're all of a sudden back in the season from there. The votes in the ABC Footballer of the Year.
Yeah, so again, given the game was up for grabs 10 minutes in the last quarter, I couldn't squeeze a Saints player in, and that's probably a reflection of what we're talking about, isn't it? You know, good moments across the game from a lot of those players that I mentioned, but no one was really able to do it for the 4 quarters, and in the end, that's why they end up losing the game like they did. You know, Sinclair was solid, and Wilkie was solid. Wanganeen Miller loomed, didn't he? Just never really, you know, he didn't hit the scoreboard. 29 possessions and 2 behinds. If you had have offered Chris Fagan that before the game, I think he probably takes it. And so I'm going to give 1 vote to Kitty Coleman. Just thought his moments, and that, you know, that was really that critical moment in the last quarter where he came through, won the 50-50, kept pushing forward and kicked the goal. That was a big moment. And even early, I thought his possessions were, in a game that was really scrappy and riddled with mistakes, I thought he was really clean. He had 21 possessions, a goal and 7 score involvements. So great to see him back out there. I'm going to give 2 to Jared Berry, who, not for the whole game, but certainly had the Wanganeen Miller match up early. And it was a good battle, wasn't it? Yep. But in the end, he's been able to have a triple-double. He's had 31, 10 marks and kicked the goal. And I just thought kept at it and was really strong in that last quarter. I'll give 3 to Will Ashcroft, whose last quarter ends up winning the Lions the game. He had 10 clearances, 29 possessions, and 8 or so score involvements as well. So class rose to the top today, Corb.
Great hit out, Bally. Thanks, Rama. Thanks to you, Ben Cameron, to Tim Hodges downstairs, Craig back in the studio, and Stu Birchmore on the buttons. We are done here from Docklands. Will Ashcroft, Besterfield. The Lions, their first win of the year by 33.
Hi, I'm Hamish McDonald. Join me to explore how big tech is transforming our lives and our minds.
We don't want to sleepwalk into a future that nobody wants.
The Matter of Facts. Stream all the episodes now on ABC iView.
ABC Sport.
On ABC Sport, this is the AFL.
The well-trodden path. Lockett, Hall, Franklin, and now Curnow. The grass is greener at the SCG.
Back, relax, witness the greatest. Don't get better than this.
On his left, he couldn't bang through a third, can he? You bet he can.
It's from 45 on the run. And they've made it 6 in a row. What a goal.
Nick Dacos takes the advantage, fires the goals and kicks it. DNA doesn't lie.
Want it down.
Sock it off the ground by Will Ashcroft.
He's a freak.
That is just that. Freakish.
Welcome to the 2026 AFL Premiership season on ABC Sport. On radio, on digital, and ABC Listen.
You take a seat because it don't get better than this.
No need for a rain check. We're going ahead here at Perth Stadium. It's Fremantle up against Richmond, and while the skies are still silver and there is a little bit of precipitation, it's nowhere near the 35 mils plus that we were expecting. For the Dockers,
hoping to continue what was a terrific win last week. Can they go 2 straight games with victories? While for Richmond, they're 0-2, and they come across missing so much experience. From this side, 591 games and 8 premierships missing from last week. There's no Broad, no Nankervis, their captain, and no Lynch. 4 changes in total when they come up against an in-form Fremantle side. Clint Wilden with you. Justin Longmuir, the Fremantle coach, will join us very shortly. I'm alongside Akash Bodadar, who's stepping in for Mitch Turner. Good to see you, Akash.
Good afternoon, Clint. Looking forward to this and how the sides handle the weather. We always used to think Fremantle struggled a bit in the wet, but they turned that around last season. So I'm expecting them to do the damage. And really, we talk about, can they be ruthless? Can they think about percentage? And for Richmond, I think the big question is, what will we see from their next generation of leaders? You mentioned the experience that's missing, that next group coming through. We know they've got young talent, but can that next level of leaders stand up for them?
So trainer Alga, Fall and Gray coming in for the Tigers. The Dockers have made 2 changes, and if anything, makes them a stronger side. Nathan O'Driscoll, unlucky perhaps to miss out, and Oscar McDonald has a calf injury. But Jager O'Meara, the big body in the wet conditions, returns from a hamstring problem, and Brennan Cox back from a calf injury for this Fremantle side, who were impressive in the first quarter against Geelong before losing in their opening game, and were terrific last week. A blistering start against the Demons. They were never headed from quarter time onwards. Let's hear from our experts. It's a big one for both of these clubs. Fremantle just have to get this game won if they're to be the side that we hope they're going to be. Dual premiership player Chris Waterman, alongside him, former Dockers AFLW captain and All-Australian Cara Antonio. Welcome to you both.
Thank you. Thanks for having us, listeners. Fremantle were impressive last week. I was on the call and just loved the way that they moved the ball. That was probably the big tick for me in my box. 4-quarter effort. They kicked 7 in the first and 7 in the third quarter. And quickly. Just a different looked Freo. We know previous years, really slow ball movement from the halfback, but a lot of speed on ball last week, which gave their forwards best opportunity in first look to score. But you're right, Richmond are up against it today. The weather will play a little bit of a part. There is a little bit of rain coming in, so does that slow down Fremantle's ball movement. They're a high handball team. The first couple of rounds, on average, 465 metres gained by hand, so the 4th in the comp, and last year they only averaged just over 200 metres. So clearly a change and shift in their game plan, and looking forward to, I suppose, what Richmond throw at them today. But, yeah, how do they manipulate the weather?
Muddy?
Well, the weather's been the talk all week, but it's turned out pretty nice here. The flags are dead still up there. They're expecting 1 mil of rain, and this ground, it drains really well, so we may have to get that out of our vocabulary pretty early. We're expecting Cyclone Narelle to come past Perth, but nothing's happening. It's probably going to be a pretty fast game, I would have thought, and they are a pretty nippy side at ground level, Richmond. I'm just waiting to see how they set up. I'm expecting they might change a few things around, and we talked early on that Bolter could be the one that could go ruck or forward just to change it up. I'm just waiting to see what happens. And do they tag Sarong again? How does Paddy Voss come up after copying a little bit of attention during the week? I suspect he'll be Paddy Voss, just as per normal. But, it's a big game for Fremantle. I would expect 30-plus win, but teams like Richmond just somehow can turn it up. I mean, they lost their ruckman and their key forward midway through the game last week, and that hurts them. Not just the size of them, but the experience. So if they get through unscathed today, they might just hang around a little bit longer than everyone thinks.
A little bit earlier today, Chris Waterman, the West Glen Quartermain, and I caught up with the Fremantle Dockers senior coach in Justin Longmuir.
Thanks for having me on, lads.
Look, lots to like about the season so far. Some terrific first quarters, some thrilling football. Really enjoyed watching Freo play. What stood out for you as the Dockers coach?
Yeah, I think our top end stuff's been really good, and I've spoken to the players, like our capability in our footy has grown on the back of the work we've done over pre-season. For me, there's still some inconsistencies in our game, and I understand that we're not going to play like we've played in the first quarters the whole game, and momentum's going to shift. But there's just been times when we've gone away from our footy and haven't been predictable to each other, and I think every team and every coach should be saying the same thing at this time of the year as we build into the season. But, yeah, we've just been a touch inconsistent. But having said that, I think our best has been very good.
And some of the stuff that has been terrific, really impressive last week, the ability to kick goals from, starting at all parts of the ground, goals from centre bounces, goals from your defensive 50. That would seem, from where I'm sitting and watching, a real plus from what you've been doing. How did you rate that?
Yeah, you're right. We got one goal from centre bounce last week. Centre bounce has been a little bit light on for us, even though our mids are doing a great job, and we haven't quite capitalised on that work yet. But yeah, you're right. Like, we scored from our back half last week against Geelong. We scored from our back half, and probably most pleasing and an area of focus over the pre-season was our work forward centre. We've scored from forward half stoppages and for forward half turnovers. We've scored over 10 goals or over 60 points from that area of the ground in both our games. So it was a focus over pre-season, and it's coming to fruition, which is nice to see.
Justin, just on your midfield, you must be pleased. Caleb Sarong sat on quite well last week by Colton Tholstrop. No Hayden Young. Yet you've got depth in that midfield. Murphy Reid rolled through. I thought Shai Bolton was his probably best game for the club in my view last week. So you must be happy with how you're finding up. There are plenty of options for you through there.
Yeah, there is. It's something we've spoken about a lot. We obviously, early last year in particular, we relied on Caleb and Andy a lot through there. And when they got shut down, we weren't as strong, obviously. So, you've mentioned a few new faces that have gone through there. Jacko spent a little bit of time as a midfielder. And yeah, we've seen growth in Erasmus and Johnson in particular that have taken their games to another level and spent a little bit more time inside last week in particular with Young not there. So we've got some options and flexibility, which is always good to have as a coaching group.
Jackson, more midfield time. What's the plan now with Sean Darcy? 40% game time week 1, 50 something in week 2. Does he get more game time, or is this the evolution now of how you're using two rucks?
We'd like to get to the point we've probably got to back end of last year where we think Luke's athleticism early in games and his intensity at ground level gives us a real edge. But as the game goes on and he probably loses a little bit of that, we like Sean coming on fresh, and we feel like back end of last year when the two were playing together, Sean was a little bit fresher in the second halves. And played more minutes in the second half, and were able to wear down teams in the ruck doing that. It's a little bit horses for courses. There's going to be some times when rucks suit Sean more, or rucks. Jacko gets more of an advantage. So it's a bit horses for courses, but yeah, we'd like to get Sean's game time up a little bit more over the next few weeks.
JL, they're going to be a bit inexperienced in the ruck and with tools up forward. Have you, match committee, chucked up the fact that Noah Boulder could go up in the forward line today?
Yeah, we've spoken about that. I just feel like our